Our guy Chen wakes up from being completely knocked out, all thanks to some crazy loud noise. The absolute first thing he spots when his eyes flutter open is a massive fire. Squinting a bit, he realizes it is actually a raging bonfire with people totally throwing a party. Bro completely mistakes it for some wild frat campout and definitely wants in on the hype. Then the scent of roasted lamb hits him, making him super determined to crash this bash. Epic food and absolutely stunning ladies everywhere. But the second he tries to sprint over, he just faceplants hard quickly, realizing he is completely hogtied with thick rope. He is completely clueless about why he is tied up. Suddenly, this sick holographic screen pops up right in his face, showing a main mission to survive for 12 straight hours. While still getting hunted by primitive dudes, Chen spots some guys just chilling around that bonfire. He wonders who they even are and furiously tries to remember where a certain girl went. Chen actually tries yelling at the wild men, claiming there has been some massive mistake. But as they stomp closer, it finally clicks for Chen what actually happened. But wait, how did he even get here? We flash back 12 hours to a wildly desolate island, where Chen is casually drinking river water. He wonders how yesterday he was literally just out shopping for random stuff with Sister Jiang. Then he takes one nap and wakes up stranded on this totally unknown island. Chen questions if God is straight up punishing him. Suddenly, he spots some men and a kid. Figuring they are just hardcore cosplayers, he gets absolutely rocked when the kid attacks him with a stick. He bolts away, begging them to chill, honestly, thinking they are just filming some wild TikTok. Yeah, it definitely wasn't content. Within a few seconds, Chen manages to put some serious distance between himself and these savages. He smirks, thinking nobody can catch him since he is basically a goated track star. But plot twist, these primitive absolute units start chucking actual spears at him. Out of nowhere, a wild system screen flashes right up, revealing his first major main mission. He is absolutely shook and wondering what this means. Is it some kind of glitchy system? Did he legit isekai into another world? Still sprinting for his life, a spear connects and it is lights out. The next thing he remembers is simply waking up. Boom! Snap back to present reality. Chen stares at his system screen, showing he actually survived and secured that mission clear. For the big W, he scores a sweet survival package and gets one clutch attribute point. He quickly figures out this is a game system. Has he really been dumped into some sick VR world? Popping open that survival package, he finds a straight-up goated split mountain axe as his loot. He also levels up his proficiency in wild survival and basic medicine. Thanks to that, he can suddenly understand exactly what these wild cavemen are saying. He realizes he really needs to touch grass. This is literally a zero-civilization primitive world. Everything here is straight-up early access. He bets the whole game objective is to survive and basically speedrun building a new civilization. Chen daydreams about whether the system will eventually turn him into a prime minister or a literal god. He tells the system to dump that attribute point into strength and equips the split mountain axe. Just like that, Chen gets insanely buff. That ridiculous new strength lets him snap his ropes like they are absolute nothing. But his stealth is trash. He gets instantly spotted by tribal warriors named Stonebone and Langu. Stonebone barks orders at the others to grab Chen and block every single exit. Stonebone and Langu step up, taunting Chen that there is literally zero escape. Chen brings the main character energy, screaming, "How dare you peasants disrespect your actual god?" Stonebone looks confused about what god. Sizing up Langu, Chen figures that guy must be the actual raid boss. He tells Stonebone straight up heaven sent him down to absolutely dominate their tribe, and since they completely disrespected him, he has to dish out some punishment. Stonebone totally loses his mind at this and charges straight at Chen. Right then, Chen's system drops a quest. The goal is to flex on these cavemen, subdue them, and become the alpha. But the failure penalty is harsh. He would completely lose his goated split mountain axe. Chen immediately starts sweating bullets. Without that sick weapon, surviving in this primitive wasteland would be literally impossible. Refusing to take an L, Chen perfectly blocks Stonebone's wild swing. The raw force literally cracks the ground beneath their feet. Chen is genuinely shook by the impact these prehistoric dudes have some insane unga-bunga strength. But his own body is heavily buffed by the system, so he is no pushover. Going all out, Chen shoves back hard and actually snaps Stonebone's weapon right in half. The entire caveman squad stands there totally stunned by his wild flex. But that sinking feeling hits Chen fast. Something crazy is about to drop. Stonebone screams out, ordering the whole tribe to jump Chen all at once. Completely panicked, Chen just books it. I mean, what happened to the one-on-one duel? Now this entire gang is jumping a 24-year-old dude like absolute tryhards. One guy lunges in, but Chen smoothly dodges and counters with a swift strike. Getting heated, Chen yells at them to touch grass, swearing he will drop at least 5 guys before dying. He tells them to back up, because honestly, if these barbarians actually mob him, he's getting packed up in seconds. Then out of nowhere, every single barbarian gets super spooked and scatters like crazy. He stands there totally confused. Then his system screen pops up with a random side quest to help the tribe. The objective is to chase off a massive saber-toothed tiger, and the game auto-accepted it. Reading this, Chen is just baffled. But check this out, that confusion vanishes instantly when he realizes a literal saber-tooth is standing right behind him. The second Chen locks eyes with it, he bolts for his life. The absolute beast chases him relentlessly, swiping at his heels. Sweating hard, Chen wonders why everything in this world wants him for dinner. He has zero clue why the system would hand out such a troll mission. Just one bite from those fangs would easily delete half his hit points permanently. Suddenly, a heavy claw attack lands clean, and it actually hurts him pretty badly. He knows trying to brawl this thing face to face is a massive throw, so he forces himself to chill out and actually use his brain here. Spotting smoke from a nearby campfire, he remembers that even prehistoric cats are absolutely terrified of flames. Chen decides to use this big brain strat to kite his way out of danger. He stops and loudly dares the tiger to charge right at him. As the beast pounces, Chen attempts a slick downward slide dodge. But shockingly, the tiger just wall jumps right off his body like a total pro. Completely baffled, Chen starts sprinting again, definitely never trusting action movies ever again. With zero options left, he books it straight for the bonfire, ducking behind random bushes for cover. Dodging like a madman, Chen barely manages to reach the blazing flames. He quickly grabs a flaming stick, swinging it to scare the beast away. To his huge relief, the tiger is actually terrified of the flames. Acting tough, Chen yells out for it to come fight, while secretly praying it just backs off. But suddenly, a totally weird sound drops, and he nervously wonders if it was something even bigger pulling up on him. Hearing that distant roar, the saber-toothed tiger stiffened up real quick. The beast completely dips out in fear. Chen just stares. What the heck scared it? If that absolute unit is running away, he needs a game plan stat. Suddenly, his system pops off. Mission complete, dropping 2 sick attribute points straight into his lap. Hearing those sounds again, Chen decides to bounce. Gotta touch grass and prioritize staying alive. He dumps 1 point into strength and another right into agility. Feeling that speed buff, he full sprints back to the primitive squad. His legs are moving crazy fast, the agility boost is totally broken. Stonebone's jaw drops seeing Chen still breathing. He asks how he didn't just end up as a saber-toothed tiger snack. Chen just grins. He tells him that Tiger was basically a harmless little kitten. He claims he easily wrecked the beast, sending it running scared for the hills. Chen smiles to himself, definitely hoping these guys think he is absolutely goated. Boom, new system mission drops. He has to help these cavemen build homes, establish a tribe, and hit 50 population in just 18 days. Chen counts the group. There are only 15 people total, counting the kids. To hit that 50 cap, he realizes he has to absorb other tribes into theirs. Cut to nighttime. The whole camp is totally knocked out, but Chen is tossing and turning. The hunger is real, so he goes foraging. These primitives are absolutely wild, sleeping soundly without a single person on night watch. His stomach growls super loud. Finding food is currently the #1 priority. He remembers that leftover roasted lamb from earlier, but his gut is completely tied in knots about risking it. If a giant tiger got spooked, something seriously nightmare fuel is creeping nearby. Chen tries to gaslight himself into thinking the coast is clear, because he absolutely has to secure some calories tonight. Gripping his axe tight, he sneaks toward the spot where he saw that lamb. A bit later, Chen creeps up on the exact roasted lamb location. He moves in slow, checking his corners. Getting closer, he spots a whole bunch of other prey animals around. Playing the leader role now, he knows he cannot just feed himself, so he bags all the prey. Heading back, the vibe feels totally off, and suddenly he plummets straight into a pit. Furious, he yells out, "Who the hell dug a trap here?" But look closely at this dirt with me, he realizes this is no hole. It is a massive footprint left by some absolutely giant dinosaur-level monster. Meeting that tiger earlier was definitely a massive red flag. He should have known this isn't just a basic primitive world, it is Jurassic Park on hard mode. Sweating cold, he knows he needs to relocate the camp immediately before they get eaten. Come morning, the primitive squad is straight up brawling over breakfast. Chen gets totally fed up. He screams at everyone to stop snatching food like animals. These guys literally have zero concept of sharing or basic economics. He has got a massive amount of babysitting ahead of him. Chen lays down the law. Today's food goes to the hunters, who actually pulled up and helped. Stonebone chimes in, saying they usually take turns. Yesterday's hunting squad was just him, On, and Hanger grinding out the raw survival. Today, Luang, Hiju, Jia, and Langguo step up for the daily monster hunt. Stonebone mutters the whole crew wants in if their goated king leads out. Everyone nods along, but Chen locks onto the shivering kid named Sam, the same boy who tried to jump him yesterday. Sam looks absolutely terrified. Figuring the boy is terrified of a toxic grudge, Chen decides he really needs to hype this kid up somehow. Chen shouts out anybody who wants to touch grass and tag along is welcome. He is scouting a spot to build a legit base. A girl named Mia steps forward, dirt on her face, asking what a home even is. Chen says it is a safe spot to chill. A real community, acting like deep tree roots giving absolute security and solid food for the whole group now and forever. Mia totally lights up and tackles Chen hard, begging to move in with her king. Chen smiles warmly back at her, saying, everyone is going to be one massive family soon, all sharing the same sick camp. Mia loses her mind, screaming that the king actually wants to live with her and make babies. Stonebone cuts in, asking where they are building this epic house. Chen circles up the gang, explaining they desperately need some wide-open land. Mountains up north, rivers down south. Absolute perfect setup. That way they secure fresh drinking water and prime irrigation for growing their crops. Infinite firewood and heavy stone for building. Plus, it creates a super safe defensive zone, dropping the chances of getting randomly jumped. He adds they could scavenge plenty of seeds and prime timber for crafting legit houses right at the new drop zone. Watch this logic. Chen figures the absolute god-tier move is claiming the seaside. A river delta guarantees insanely fertile dirt and a perfect survival environment. For learning to sail later, Sam speaks up. He knows exactly where that is. That exact spot actually exists. Chen gets hyped, asking the kid to guide the crew. Sam mutters it is close, but heavily suggests they just avoid it completely right now, because a massive herd of wild cows camps there, acting like completely unhinged absolute beasts. Hearing this, Chen just blinks. Why fear some basic random cows? They literally drop high-tier meat and solid basic farming materials. So Chen instantly tags the herd as their next targets, telling the crew to gear up, pushing east to claim their new turf. The heavy forest scenery suddenly changes completely. Sam leads the whole team into the zone, swearing the immediate area is totally safe, so they can push forward without stressing. Chen pushes them to hurry up and move, and tells them to forget the saber-toothed tiger that thing got completely chased off. If it returns, he will carry. Sam points out that passing the top of the ridge unlocks the view of the cow's spawn point, reaching the high, jagged summit. Sam panics, hissing at everyone to duck because the targets are below. Chen wonders if any other wild mobs are lurking nearby. Suddenly, salty ocean air hits him. He commands his system to boot up the map. The layout looks like a massive W. Perfect city spot. Then Sam violently yanks him down into the dirt. He wildly gestures to shut up, terrified the massive herd is going to aggro them. Sweating, Chen pulls up his survival guide and scans 3 new local plants popping up, plus 2 beasts roaming ahead. The flora logs show green sunflower grass in the mix, dragon, wine, and massive subaki. The mobs are just gray squirrels and nasty pincer wasps. When Chen completely blanks on finding any info about them, Chen asks Sam where this so-called cow herd is actually hiding. Sam says they hang out in a little forest by the river bend, offering to guide the crew for a closer peek. Fast forward half an hour, and they finally hit the woods. Sam warns that pushing forward might pull the herd's aggro, but Chen is super confused. It is dead quiet out here. He really wonders why Sam is sweating over some basic beef patties. Then his system radar shifts. He completely tenses up, low-key panicking about giant monsters nearby. Good news, though, there is literally only a single animal in range. Chen asks Sam if his memory is just completely cooked. Before Sam even speaks, Chen spots a whole tree moving. Sam just says, "Look up." Chen checks it out and totally bugs out, wondering what kind of mutant this is. The system pulls up its stats. It is an iron blackhorn cow. Stonebone hides in the back, sweating, asking if they are seriously fighting that thing. Chen plays it off with a stiff yes, ordering the boys to set up an ambush. Watch this. He steps up to scout, and the squad thinks their boss is goated. Reality check. Behind the tree, Chen is literally crying. How did his life become this? He refuses to let his tribe wipe, so he just has to pray his agility stat carries. He takes another peek, bro. Even the cow's arms are thicker than his entire body. So he tries picking out the absolute smallest target. Chen tries dropping a chill hello, but the second the cow spots him, its whole vibe shifts. It instantly roars, and as he steps up, the entire herd completely loses it and chases him. He speed swims across the river, screaming for them to touch grass and leave him alone. Meanwhile, the tribe gets it completely twisted. They think Chen is bravely pulling aggro for them. They hype him up among themselves. Meanwhile, Chen just full sends it, leaping off the ledge and sticking the landing. Suddenly, the ground shakes, leaving Chen totally baffled about what is going down. He looks down. One of the cows totally face-planted into the mountain trying to break. Right then, a galaxy brain idea to knock them all out hits him. He notices these absolute beefcakes simply cannot climb vertical drops. He is stuck pondering his next move, since going back down means getting camped by raging cattle. Only one way out, up. Chen somehow manages to scale it all. Hitting the summit, the view completely stuns him. It is exactly the insane jackpot he wanted. He immediately decides to build a whole empire on this perfect turf. He is ridiculously hyped. His main character arc starts right here. Back on the ground, Sam notices the herd is actually backing off. He wonders what caused it and where their king went. Stonebone guesses the cows probably flattened him. So he climbs up a tree to look, planning to just loot Chen's axe. But the second he steps on a branch, Chen's axe comes flying and slamming right next to him. Stonebone totally freezes. Chen sarcastically praises the guy's insane nerve for assuming his king was dead. Sam and the squad let out a huge breath, super relieved. Stonebone nervously asks if those cows were crazy strong. Chen just flexes, saying he plans to use them as protein powder, asking if they want to taste too. Stonebone and Sam instantly reject the offer, knowing they cannot solo those beasts. They claim that even if they somehow won, they wouldn't touch that meat. Chen gets visibly pissed, asking if they are deaf, demanding a straight yes or no to his question. They all completely panic and agree to eat the beef. They were starving for it. Chen tells the crew he is teaching them weapon crafting and how to actually hunt. The game plan is to return in 3 days, to go completely savage on those cows. Next up, Chen absolutely slices a tree in half. The squad is hyped over his insane strength, but Stonebone steps up, asking, why chop a tree that doesn't even have fruit? Chen breaks it down for them. They need this wood to craft weapons, so everyone better lock in and take notes. He shows them exactly how to whittle wooden sticks into deadly spears. Chen realizes he gets a totally broken technology stat buff while crafting these. Then he gives a quick tutorial on how to actually chuck this thing for hunting. The tribe's minds are blown. Back in the day, they only gathered wood for fires. They never realized a literal stick could be this insanely overpowered. Now they are super hyped and begging to test out these new weapons. Chen lets Stonebone take the first swing. While he practices with the new gear, Chen speedruns crafting a whole arsenal. Soon, the entire tribe is grinding out spear practice. Mid-training session, Chen calls out Luang and Hiju Xiao, daring them to jump him. In a 2-on-1 fight, they both rush in swinging pure rage, but he easily ducks the hits and claps back, knocking Hiju Xiao out cold. Luang sees red and charges again, finally drawing a little blood. The crowd is shook. Chen flexes on Luang if he used the sharp end of that spear. Game over. Luang screams that their king is basically a literal god, and completely unbeatable. Chen breaks it down they are just spamming brute force, instead of actual technique. The whole point of a spear is that deadly tip. He tells them to lock on and aim that sharp edge perfectly at their targets. Chen tells the squad to touch grass and start grinding their throwing accuracy. He sets up a target dummy and has them yeet spears from super far away. Every single guy takes a turn, but their aim is literal trash. Chen starts thinking, maybe this whole team is just bad at the game. He feels way too rushed. His call. Suddenly, a spear absolutely drills the target. Chen is completely shook, and the rest of the tribe is going wild over that shot. Chen turns around to see Hang Shi just standing there chilling. He asks the kid if he made that crazy throw. Hang Shi simply asks if he won. Chen confirms it and hands over 2 spears as loot, but right on cue, a scout runs up screaming about a massive beast pulling up. Chen yells to gear up and for battle, though honestly, he is secretly hyped to use this exact hunt to farm some serious experience points. A terrifying beast crashes through the trees, roaring aggressively. Chen lunges straight at the monster, screaming that this thing is about to be their dinner tonight. The boss fight kicks off. Chen barks at everyone to follow his exact orders. Circle the beast and wait for his ping. Then he attacks it directly. The monster instantly catches a speed debuff. Chen orders Stonebone and Hang Shi to yeet their spears from behind. The ambush totally enrages the beast, and it blasts Chen backwards, straight up snapping his weapon. He knows he has to clutch this. Check this out. Hang Shi lets a spear fly, perfectly sniping the exact inside the monster's mouth. Chen is stunned by that goated aim. Gradually, everyone starts raining spears on the boss, while Sam is just camping up in a tree. Tanking massive damage, the beast tries to dip, but Chen completely blocks its only escape. He gives the word, Sam full sends it straight at the beast. A direct hit to the head. But the beast just gets big mad. Berserk mode activated. The whole squad is low-key sweating right now just watching it. Big danger. Sam is caught lacking, still holding his spear like a lifeline. But get this, Chen straight up yeets himself right in with an axe. Boom, massive explosion. The entire zone gets completely smoked out in seconds. The crew is stressing hard. Is their king cooked? But the dust settles. Chen tells everyone to chill out. He jokes, are you guys summoning ghosts? He hypes up the entire squad for carrying. Tonight means an absolutely goated feast. The vibe is flawless. Chen gives massive props to Sam for clutching up and officially names Hanger the most valuable player of the hunt. He promises moving forward, Hanger gets to be his main hunting bro, totally decked out with sick weapons to test out. Fast forward a little bit later, Stonebone is totally capping to the other tribes about how he carried Chen. Mia walks by with a literal chunk of meat. Stonebone instantly begs for some. Mia shuts him down real quick. That steak is reserved for the king. She hands it straight to Chen. But Chen is so confused, are we eating this raw? Mia is like, yeah, what is the issue? Chen says he distinctly remembers them cooking with fire before. Eating raw meat right now is just wild. Mia drops the bad news. They totally fumbled the fire source from last time. Zero choice. They eat it raw. Chen takes a second, realizing that fire is basically the ultimate civilization buff. It literally keeps the scary beasts away, levels up their base comfort, and makes their whole diet way less gross. Here is the crazy part. He decides to literally drop a fire-making tutorial. He calls the whole squad to gather up so he can show them the ropes. My guy grabs a broken spear and grinds it into a wooden block for sparks. He tells them to drop wood shavings and tree fluff right into the groove and roll it fast between their hands. That crazy friction is what ignites the flame. Seeing actual fire, the tribes completely lose their minds praising Chen. Stonebone screams that their king is a literal firebender, trying to hype him up. But Chen aggressively grabs him, telling him to shut up. Dude seriously needs to stay low-key. Suddenly, the system hooks him up with 10 tech points. He realizes farming these points is actually super easy. He had no clue what they did initially. But after some quick snooping, you can totally spend them to identify those hereditary plaques. One single check costs 10 points. While Chen is busy theory crafting, Sam rolls up and drops some major intel on him. While butchering the loot, he noticed the wild boar was definitely nursing some babies. He figured there had to be cubs nearby. After doing a quick sweep, he actually spotted them. Boom. Chen instantly gets a new side quest for those piglets. The goal is full domestication. The system hits him with the classic accept prompt. Chen tells Mia and Sam to team up and bring those little guys back safely. He warns them to chill and not hurt them. He wants the whole squad alive. Mia literally grabs Sam by the hand, and they sprint towards the boar cub spawn. Chen decides to speedrun building a pigsty before they get back, dragging Stonebone into it. After grabbing some grub for the upcoming work, the scene cuts straight to the evening, where Stonebone is hauling a ton of branches, totally confused about why their king wanted all this wood. Once they finally arrive back at base, he sees the rest of the crew crafting some weird new stuff. Mad confused, he asks Hangu what the heck is going on. Hangu says the king calls it grass rope, and it is way sturdier than those flimsy vines they used before. Hangu explains the whole process. You gotta smooth out the straw and weave it into thick ropes by crossing it. Stonebone gets super salty. His brain is literally glitching. Chen tells Stonebone to stop standing there like an NPC and hand over the cord and branches. He then hypes everyone up to grab the wood and tie the grass ropes in this one specific pattern. They need at least 5 of these wooden frames total. Next up, Chen tells them to drop those frames right into the pits he prepped earlier. After that, they gotta tie the frames together at the very top, forming a giant cage shape, and then cover the whole thing with straw super neatly. Now get this. The second it is done, the whole squad rushes the pigsty, literally throwing hands. Everyone wants to live there and have the king's babies. Seeing this wildness, Chen panics and yells that this pigsty is not for them. Right on cue, Sam and Mia return carrying the boar cubs. Chen tells Sam to toss those little guys into the brand new pigsty. Hearing that, Stonebone sprints at Chen, straight up crying and screaming that he cannot do that. Stonebone whines about how such a goated nest is being wasted on some basic wild boars. On instantly hugs Chen, backing up Stonebone and saying the whole squad wants to live in that sweet nest. Stonebone adds they just want a sick home to cuddle with their king. Hearing this cringe, Chen furiously shoves them off, loudly declaring he absolutely refuses to cuddle with dudes. He then snaps that he does not care if they want to live in a literal pigsty, but when they finally build comfy houses, neither of them gets a spot inside. On is totally shook by this threat and quickly suggests that if a better nest is coming, he definitely does not mind living elsewhere, and Chen can just let Stonebone take the pigsty. But of course, Stonebone refuses to live in the pigsty too. Chen then orders Sam to dump all the boars into their new pen. Hangu rolls up to Chen, asking why they even need to care for these wild boars if they are literally just food. Chen hits him back, asking if they seriously do not want an endless food glitch without hunting. Hangu gets hyped, hearing that, and yells yes. Chen explains that by raising these cubs and letting them spawn more piglets, they secure a permanent food source. Right after that, Chen gets a 6 system reward for taming those beasts. Popping the chest open, he scores a packet of salt and unlocks a bunch of new recipes for fried eggplant, stir-fried peanuts, fried eggs, roast lamb legs, and stir-fried clams. Mad confused by this loot, Chen wonders if the system is telling him to become a chef. Given their literal caveman tech, his system hints that cooking this stuff unlocks insane rewards. Looking at these recipes, Chen decides to just roll with it and cook. Late at night, everyone is knocked out cold except for Chen and Sam. Chen gives Sam props for his insane daily grind. Sam replies he felt like a total burden to their king back when they captured him, so he figures it is only fair he tanks some heavy hardships now. Chen hugs the dude, laughing it off and telling Sam they are completely cool. He then hits up Sam, asking if any other tribes are living nearby like them. Sam replies that they have actually run into a few, but they were all super toxic and look totally different. Chen tells him to drop the coordinates and explain where they live. Sam spills the tea on 3 nearby groups, starting with the Coconut Grove clan, the Bay clan, and the Giant Stone clan. He adds they are pretty far away, like a massive hike needing a full day and night just to reach their turf. Chen asks for the deep dive on every single group. Sam breaks it down. Coconut Grove has about 30 to 40 chill members who absolutely hate fighting and drama. They are crazy good at traveling, led by a boss woman. Next is the Bay clan, also rocking 30 to 40 members, but these guys look absolutely unhinged. He points out that the Bay clan is basically famous for fighting each other non-stop. Finally, Sam mentions the Giant Stone clan, literally the most goated group with the biggest population around. They usually camp out on a southwest mountain and rarely ever bother to come down to do anything. Sam says he heard a wild rumor about their clan leader, that the guy has godlike stats and easily solos tigers barehanded. Taking all this in, Chen figures that if Sam's info is legit, here is the big brain play. Coconut Grove is the absolute best target to recruit first. He figures the other groups are way too messy and bring way too much drama. He definitely needs a chilled, peaceful strategy to actually conquer them. Suddenly feeling someone creeping up, Chen turns around and spots Mia, hugging him from behind. She asks why he is still up, and if he maybe wants to do something spicy with her. Sweating bullets, Chen gives a hard no. Mia sits on the dirt in a weird pose, asking if she looks like a cute kitty. Chen feels. Needing to touch grass, Chen grabs Sam and bolts. He yells back that it seems like Sam really needs his help right now, so they will chat later. Mia feels pretty bummed about getting completely rejected. Cut straight to the next morning. Chen and Sam are camping out by the beach, waiting for the Bay clan to show. The Bay clan crew finally rolls up to hunt down a wild dodo bird. Chen is honestly pretty hyped. They actually came after waiting the entire night. But get this, the Bay clan immediately starts throwing hands with their own guys over the bird. Chen wonders if they can just absorb these guys, not just to boost their squad size, but also to secure epic loot like dodo birds. Sam replies that their squad is not even half the size of the Bay clan. They definitely cannot win a straight-up fight. Chen figures if they just craft some OP weapons, maybe they could actually clutch a win, but first, they gotta deal with that cow herd. After that, they can totally use the loot to craft some crazy powerful gear and equipment. They head straight back to base, and the whole squad gets hyped. Seeing Chen pull up safely, Stonebone admits they totally thought their goated king had completely ghosted them. Chen says sorry for stressing everyone out, explaining that they have a massive grind ahead. He tells Stonebone to start practicing his spear throws, and puts Hangshir fully in charge of teaching everyone how to aim. Chen gives Hangshir exactly 24 hours to get them leveled up. Suddenly, Mia pops up showing off a leaf, flexing how super soft it is for bathroom breaks. Chen just replies he needs help sharpening those spears, so Mia has to round up the women and grab solid rocks. Fast forward a bit, Mia heads back with the rest of the ladies in tow. They are lugging stones, and Mia asks if these rocks are good to go. Chen gives a big thumbs up. He explains they just need to grind them against a whetstone. Keep rubbing until they get a super sharp edge, then just tie that rock to a stick with rope, and boom, you instantly get a wooden stone axe. The girls are absolutely hyped, but Chen, he is raging because the system gave him one measly point. He tells the crew to follow his lead and show off whatever they end up crafting. Mia immediately calls Chen over, proudly showing off her finished piece. Chen takes a look and realizes she actually forged a dual-edged axe. He gives her major props. Hearing that praise totally makes her day. Right then, Chen unlocks a totally sick hidden system feature. It is called Talent Discovery. He glances at Mia, and a screen pops up saying she is a goated builder. Catching him staring, Mia gets super flustered and awkwardly asks why he is looking at her like that. Chen completely dodges the question, Instead, he just orders the ladies to grind out as many spears and axes as humanly possible. Before long, this squad manages to craft 30 entire weapons from scratch. Chen praises Mia again since she basically soloed more than half the workload. But then he spots her hands totally scratched and bruised from grinding those rough rocks. Seeing him actually worry about her makes Mia blush hard. But then the other girls swarm in. They tease him, asking if he cares about them too. Chen awkwardly stammers that it is a misunderstanding. They keep crowding him anyway. Panicking, he literally sprints out of there, yelling back that they are done for the day and everyone should just take a breather. Now get this, he heads over to the guys' training, only to be randomly ambushed by a flying log. He barely manages to dodge. Turns out, this is just their insane new daily training routine. Hang Shu has taught them right. Chen walks up and asks how the squad is progressing. Hang Shu proudly reports everybody leveled up hard. They can nail their targets with zero effort now. Chen checks talent discovery, and it shows Hang Shu is literally a throwing master. Hang Shu mentions that Langu has crazy raw strength, but his throw timing is totally off. He only really pops off when he teams up with his bro, Stonebone. Hang Shu admits Langu was actually the first guy to master the form. But here is the wildest part, the crazy effectiveness of Yellowstone and Wolfbone Hammer. By themselves, they are pretty mid. But put them together as a duo, they juggle 4 spears back and forth, scoring the absolute highest points. Chen is hyped. With stats like these, wiping out that horde of black bulls will be a total cakewalk. Stonebone asks if Chen is actually confident. Chen drops a firm yes, but just to play it safe, they are bringing out the secret weapon. Hang Shu looks totally lost, asking what kind of secret weapon he means. Chen pulls out weird black leaves and tells the whole crew to look closely. They need to forage as many as possible, but he seriously warns them to avoid touching them if they have any open cuts. These things are packed with a natural paralyzing drug. Cut to nighttime. Chen is out here smashing a rock, trying to carve a makeshift mortar. Mia walks up carrying all their finished spears. She asks why he is digging a tiny pit into a rock. Chen simply explains that it is a mortar. He promises she will understand its use soon. He tells her to gather the ladies, grab a stone club, and start mashing those toxic leaves right into the bowl. After crushing the herbs down, they gotta slather that mixture right onto their wooden spear tips. Luton pulls up and asks Chen about the guys, saying they are totally hyped to join the club. Chen tells them to just chill and rest up. He needs them fully energized for the morning hunt. A bit later on, we catch Chen straight up feasting on grilled meat and seasoning it with salt. Out of nowhere, Mia walks up and tosses him a spear. She confirms the poison is fully applied, so Chen stands up. He tells the women to stay back, they gotta guard the camp and the little kids. Then he orders the rest of the crew to follow him up the mountain, getting everyone stoked. They prep their weapons, ready to show these monsters who is actually boss. We skip ahead a little bit, and the whole squad finally hits the top of that mountain. A goon turns to the group asking if it is really safe for their king to play bait alone. He is worried sick. But Stonebone just claps back, saying their king is literally unstoppable, meaning there is zero danger. Sam then suddenly tells the whole crew to prep their gear. Because something is moving down by the river, Stonebone immediately barks orders at Mia and the ladies. He needs them handing out those weapons exactly on time, especially making sure Sam never runs dry on ammo, since their king is taking a massive risk. They absolutely cannot afford to lose the guy. So check this out. Here's what happened 10 minutes ago. Chen is creeping around the Black Bulls, thinking his best bet is escaping to Stone Mountain again. That worked perfectly last time. But playing it safe, he decides to aggro a tiny one first. He walks up to the smaller beast, chucks a rock at it, and yells that he runs things, basically telling the thing to come catch these hands. Hearing that, the Black Bull gets absolutely triggered. And boom, 3 massive bulls suddenly start chasing Chen out of nowhere. Mid-sprint, Chen yells at Stonebone to target that very first Black Bull. Still running for his life, Chen shouts at Stonebone to aim for the lead bull. Stonebone quickly tells the squad to brace themselves, then they launch their spears all at once. It totally works, wounding the massive beasts. Using that distraction, Sam starts yeeting his own spears. He aims for their necks. The monsters slam hard into the mountain. Chen jumps toward a ledge for high ground, but his grip totally slips right off the edge. Stonebone grabs his hand. Crisis officially averted. Chen orders the team to attack while the bulls are debuffed, so they just keep spamming damage. Stonebone completely takes charge and shot calls the strikes. Chen definitely notices those sick leadership skills. He finally sees why the guy is so naturally goated at commanding. He sees Stonebone is totally worth leveling up into a main squad commander. Stonebone then walks over, letting Chen know that the raging bulls are actually calming down. Chen is hyped to see the trank poison kicking in way faster than he planned. But suddenly, Sam screams out the rest of the herd is charging right at them. Chen is genuinely shook to see these monsters moving way quicker than he even calculated. He tells the squad to chill out and not panic. Everything is still going exactly to plan. They just have to finish off the 3 bulls down below and trap them for good. Those black bulls are trying to back up now, but they are moving so incredibly slow. Seeing this, Chen knows the poison debuff is fully active. So he tells the group to aim for their legs. Absolutely do not let them get away. Stonebone screams out, "Throw those spears!" And just like that, all 3 massive bulls get completely knocked down into the dirt. Chen tells them to stop the attack, but Stonebone says this is no time to act soft. They have work to do. To deal with those 3 bulls before the backup pulls up, Chen asks for a quick spear count. Mia calls back 28 spears total. So Chen tells Sam to scout exactly how many are rushing in. Sam gives him the bad news, roughly 20 of them. And that right there is exactly why Chen called a timeout. Their ammo is super limited. Hanger stresses out if they bounce now. Did they just waste all that effort stalling these 3? Chen hits him with a nope. This is all part of the master plan. Bro never planned on fighting an entire stampede with just his tiny squad. Since day 1, the absolute only goal was sniping the boss bull. Because once the alpha drops, the remaining black bulls will just panic and scatter. But you need bait to fish out a boss. That is exactly why Chen needs these guys breathing. He absolutely cannot let them run. Honestly, his original strat was using a single bull for bait, but juggling the extra 2 ended up draining a massive chunk of their spear stash. Out of nowhere, Sam starts screaming. He spots the boss, and this thing is an absolute monster. The boss lets out this insane roar, sending every single bull sprinting straight to ram the mountain. At first glance, Chen and the crew think these animals have completely lost the plot, but it hits Chen super fast. The boss is absolutely not trying to fight them. Panic sets in. They realize the entire mountain is literally caving in. Chen screams at the squad to fall back and find cover fast. But Mia is way too slow. She trips hard as the whole cliff crumbles around her. Watching this, Chen dives straight down without hesitating, yelling for Aeon to back him up. Hao Xiao and Lan Gu slide in right behind them to help out. You know how this goes. It is officially go time, ready or not. Hiju Jaya frantically asks Agun for the play. Do they jump in and fight too? Agun tells him to chill. No rushing in until the boss gives the word. Down below, Chen is sweating bullets, realizing this boss bull totally read his bait trap. It genuinely pisses him off how big-brained this animal actually is. Up top, Stonebone tells the remaining guys to get moving and protect their leader. But Chen screams for them to hold the line. They have to rain down those spears from above. And just like that, the bloodbath starts. Chen swings his axe, while the crew goes crazy with stone spears. By actually playing as a team and landing perfectly timed strikes, they manage to wound a bunch of bulls. Spotting the opening, Stonebone hypes up the mountain crew to start eating spears downward. With a few bulls completely floored, the entire herd suddenly slams the brakes. The boss bull literally barks some kind of order. Totally shocking Chen. The bulls actually start retreating. Watching them backpedal, Chen wonders if they just got the command to fall back, because the alpha himself is about to enter the chat. Out of nowhere, the rain starts pouring. The boss steps up, sucks in a massive breath, and literally starts spitting hot flames. Panicking hard, Chen screams at everybody to scramble aside and dodge that fire. This blast is so overpowered it punches a literal hole through the mountain, clearing a path upward. Up on the cliffs, the tribal guys are absolutely shook by that kind of damage. They have no idea if that was some crazy sound wave or just a roar. The sheer impact instantly tanks everyone's morale down to 0. Seeing his team breaking, Chen tells Aeon to rush Mia north while he pulls the boss's aggro himself. Getting the boss's attention, Chen tells Stonebone to hold up and wait for his signal. He steps up to the monster, declaring himself the main challenger. The fight kicks off instantly. Chen tries to tank the huge creature head-on, but it easily tosses him aside like trash. Chen quickly thinks about using the deep trench carved out by that heavy attack, but the boss chases him down, slamming into the mountain and causing a completely sick explosion. The squad immediately panics, fearing their leader just got wiped out completely. Instead of backing down, though, they brace themselves, absolutely hyped to fight this out. Bam. Chen's axe swings down, striking the monster right in the skull. He is totally alive. Turns out he dodged the hit by hiding in the mountain crater earlier. Chen actually taunts the beast, thanking it for sparing his life. Deep down, though, he knows his body is wrecked. Seeing him breathing gives the tribe massive relief, but Chen immediately yells at Stonebone to stay sharp and wait for his mark. The chaotic brawl resumes, with Agun and Hiju Xiao drawing the boss's aggro. This opens up Chen for a backstab. Agun bravely launches himself right at the beast, but he takes a brutal horn straight to the gut. Chen rushes in, slashing its face. He manages to knock Agun free. The boss instantly fires off another massive flame blast. Everyone barely dodges the heat, and Chen counters with a clean, heavy hit. The strike rips open a fresh wound on the brute. He immediately screams for Stonebone and Sam. He yells to chuck their spears right at the weak spot. They land perfect hits. The immense damage makes the huge monster stumble and crash down hard. The squad thinks they won and starts cheering for this goated victory. Chen stays on edge though, confused because the remaining herd is just standing there. They aren't even attacking after watching their main boss die. You guys aren't ready for this. The boss stands back up, blasting a furious flamethrower at Chen. Stonebone and Hiju Xiao are completely stunned, and Chen totally freezes up here. He definitely let his guard down too early. The monster's boss actually rips the spear out of itself. It hurls the weapon at Chen. Seriously injured, he just cannot move fast enough. He seriously thinks this is game over. But out of nowhere, Mia jumps right in front. She takes the brutal spear hit herself. Chen is absolutely paralyzed, flashing back to everything. All those moments they shared together. Suddenly, an incredibly heavy wave of pure rage takes over. Even with his system screaming about an overload, Chen violently launches at the monster. He swings his weapon with everything he has left, slashing the boss straight down. And this time, that insane strike chops the massive creature entirely in half. Chen is absolutely seeing red now, screaming at the rest of the herd to step up. He dares anyone with a death wish to try him. The wild animals just look around, terrified. The second Chen steps forward, they panic and immediately sprint away. The adrenaline drops, and Chen feels relieved, but his system flashes a fatal danger warning. He violently coughs up blood, his vision fading. The squad instantly rushes over to check him. Right before passing out, he stares at Mia, telling the others to grab something. He orders them to apply the hematic ointment. Cut to a few days later inside a pigsty, and finally wakes up from his coma. He slowly blinks his eyes open. He spots Au standing right there. Groggy, he asks if this is his actual pigsty setup. Au shakes her head, explaining they packed up and moved here after clearing out the herd. She tells him they built this specific shed just for his recovery, urging him to rest. She turns to go alert the squad he is awake, but Chen asks Au to wait. First off, he asks about Mia and Langu Chu. Au says when they found him, he was literally on 1 HP, but he bounced back super fast. Once awake, that dude has been standing guard outside Chen's room ever since. Au adds that Mia took heavier damage, but thanks to the boss's insanely goated meds, some extra rest is all she needs. The rest of the crew is chilling too. Chen breathes a huge sigh of relief. Ai totally agrees, noting everyone's health fully stabilized over the last 4 days. Catching that detail, Chen totally panics, basically needing to touch grass, asking what she means. He checks his system and sees 4 whole days actually vanished, leaving him with a measly 11 days left to beat this mission. Ai just stares, super confused why her king keeps zoning out and staring at absolutely nothing like a weirdo. He tries standing but totally fails. Au tells him to chill, but he stubbornly refuses, demanding she fetch Stonebone right now. She nods and sprints out the shed. Chen realizes that without his usual crazy combat stats acting as a deterrent, leaking this weakness means an instant game over for the entire mission. And here is the thing, since they just moved, they desperately need a fence around this base, then upgrade to solid wooden walls later. When Stonebone finally shows up, Chen tells the dude to stay outside. Stonebone listens as Chen whispers his orders, keeping it totally quiet so nobody else overhears. Then Stonebone heads out to tackle his secret assignment, but Chen quickly realizes that is just not enough. You know they absolutely cannot afford another fumble, so he has to make totally sure that this setup is 100% foolproof. Next up, he gives Langu Chu a job. He asks for details. Chen orders him to harvest the Black Bull King loot bones and hides, making sure those skins stay as pristine as possible. Blowing the guy's mind, Chen actually hands over his own personal weapon for this. Once the dudes leave, Au begs Chen to sleep. He flat out refuses, saying they really need to talk. He invites her completely inside for some private chatting, far away from prying ears. Once she steps in, Chen explains he ditched the guys just to give her a super important quest. Hearing that, Ai just nods and straight up starts taking off her clothes. She totally misread the vibe, thinking he wanted to get completely spicy right here. Catching the massive misunderstanding, Chen panics and yells at Ai to zip it back up. Au feels mad, embarrassed, instantly realizing her big mistake. Chen clears it up. He needs her to stage a play while he sends someone to negotiate with the Coconut Grove clan. The whole goal is persuading that specific group to fall under Chen's command. Au nervously asks if he seriously thinks a massive group like the Coconut Grove clan would ever agree to this. Chen says that is exactly why they gotta flex their team's 6 strength right now, to hype up their power and get the clan instantly on board. He picked Ai for 2 reasons. First off, that tribe is run by women, so she can naturally vibe with them way better. Second, she alone knows his current messy situation, since that last all-out attack completely wrecked his physical body. The ointment stopped it from getting worse, but the dude desperately needs real healing. AU smirks, asking if they are just going to bluff the Coconut Grove clan into submission. She promises she knows exactly what to do, telling him to finally rest. Leave the heavy lifting to her. We skip forward a bit, catching Sam and Au pulling up to the Coconut Grove clan. Sam gives Au a heads up. These Coconut Grove girls hate drama, but poking the bear right now? Totally a bad idea. She nods. Memo received. They keep moving. Touching down at the spot, Sam points out a spring where the entire Coconut Grove squad is literally bathing. He singles out the absolute head honcho of the clan, their main VIP target today. Mid-chat, they get totally busted by a few of the clan members. Huge yikes. Fast forward a sec, Au and Sam get dragged straight to the big boss, Lisa, the absolute queen of the Coconut Grove. Her girls report they caught these two just creeping around, claiming they pulled up as official envoys to see the big boss. Sam yells out they are not just randos, they are ambassadors, a sick title handed down by their king. Lisa just fully roasts them, joking that Au looks like a complete peasant, and the dudes are just literal fish food, serving as a quick snack for a few days. She orders Sam hauled away immediately. Au screams back she thought the Coconut Grove queen would have way better long-term vision, but clearly she is totally blind. Au loudly flexes that the massive mountain of meat he brought as a gift is going straight to the Bay clan instead. Lisa pauses her entire crew, telling them to hold up. She asks Au to repeat that mountain of meat part one more time. Au smirks and drops the tea, explaining they bagged a whole herd of massive black bulls chilling by the northern river. Lisa asks if they want to team up with the Coconut Grove clan to go hunt these bulls together. Au cracks up, telling Lisa not to play them like that, bragging that her squad already completely wrecked the black bull herd and that river turf is already their own personal property. The Coconut Grove women are entirely shook, their jaws literally hitting the floor, whispering that Au is definitely capping. They remember perfectly well how their clan nearly got flattened into pancakes by those exact same bulls last time. Lisa stands up, asking Au if she knows exactly what happens to dirty liars. Au stays unbothered. She proudly states the absolute biggest of those black bulls got entirely clapped by their king. She invites Lisa to go touch grass and see for herself. A random girl tries warning Lisa, but Au just laughs it off completely, joking that if their king felt like it, he could easily speedrun wiping their entire clan. Sam backs her up, saying they did not pull up for a fight. They brought hyped gifts and a VIP invite from their king. He asks why everyone is acting so sus about their vibe. Au snaps, adding that if the queen is too chicken to show up herself, she can just send an NPC to fetch the loot. Seeing Au pop off, Lisa gets a bit tense, but she still warns her that they better not be trolling. Now, watch closely, we cut to a tiny bit later, with Au and Sam walking back with Lisa's squad. Sam announces they finally made it back. Stonebone yells at Sam to stop being so extra about the whole thing and get back on the grind helping everyone build houses. Hearing this, a confused girl asks Lisa what houses even are. Right after, Au turns and informs Chen that the people from the Coconut Grove clan finally arrived. Seeing Chen, Lisa completely freezes up. His killing intent is radiating off him like absolute crazy. It literally feels like staring down a goated ancient boss monster in real life. Chen pulls up looking like a literal prehistoric beast. He gives Au a quick nod, telling her she did great. Lisa starts sweating bullets, stressed by his intense hardcore vibe. Then, a rustle. Someone is hiding in the nearby bushes. Turns out Mia, Langu, and An are just creeping in there. Chen had literally told the injured squad to stay completely out of sight. Agun admits he was just super curious and wanted to see the Coconut Grove clan queen for himself. Chen smoothly thanks Lisa and her squad for actually taking up his offer and trekking all the way out to their turf. One Coconut Grove girl gets totally salty, demanding to know where this promised meat actually is. Chen keeps his cool, saying it is right around the corner, telling them to grab as much as they can carry. Wait for it, they pull up and absolutely lose their minds over a literal mountain of meat. Chopping time. Hyujin and Luong are slicing it. One clan girl tries grabbing a piece, but the duo quickly warns her that this stuff is ridiculously tough to handle. She tries slicing it anyway, but her tool straight up snaps right in half from the pressure. Classic fail. Luong and Hyujin absolutely crack up. The girl starts yelling, demanding what is so funny, claiming they just got lucky catching those bulls during a fight. Hyujin gets totally heated and asks if she wants to throw hands. Out of nowhere, Chen smashes his heavy axe into the dirt, making all the Coconut Grove girls freeze up in panic. He basically chucked it to break them up before things got too ugly. Lisa nervously asks him what kind of crazy weapon that is. It is way more goated than their ironwood branches and bone knives. Chen smoothly tells her to just use his pangu axe to slice up some meat for the Coconut Grove crew. Hyujin is straight up confused why help these girls when they literally started the beef first. Chen barks at him to just follow orders. Hyujin does the heavy lifting, muttering that these girls got stupid lucky. Chen promises Lisa she can grab the meat drama free. He always backs up his talk that is just how he rolls, no cap. Lisa low-key panics, asking how he soloed that entire herd of massive bulls. Chen plays it cool, saying it all depends on if they vibe later or just throw hands. He tells Lisa to just pack it up, take her loot, and bounce. Lisa mutters that he acts super ice cold. But get this, Chen is actually sweating bullets. He realizes that last epic throw was way too big of a flex. Without that bull leather bandage, his old wound would definitely be gushing right now. Boom, it starts leaking a bit, and Chen low-key panics about his next move. Massive W for him though. AU distracts Lisa, giving Chen a second to hide the blood. Owl mentions they have some goated weapons they could totally pass over to the Coconut Grove clan. Lisa turns around and completely shuts it down, saying that heavy gear just isn't their vibe. She warns Chen that her squad is packing some secret, top-tier firepower too, and she seriously hopes they never have to use it. Lisa orders her crew to grab whatever they can carry and dip out. All yells out that if they need more, they can always slide back later. But they better show up early, since the other clans are starving for their cut too. While hiking back, Lisa casually checks in on how their secret investigation is going. Right on cue, extra girls pop out to report to their queen. Turns out, Lisa had her squad camping in the bushes the whole time, watching his every move. This girl Mia spills the tea, saying they caught the guys building some weird thing called a house, and inside, Maya reports there might be boars since they kept hearing loud growls. Lisa is totally shook. She wonders if you actually built such a goated setup just for boars. Maya spills even crazier news. She claims your clan has literally mastered the power of the fire god. Lisa snaps back, absolutely 0% chance. Maya insists her squad saw your people summon fire out of thin air to roast meat. She tries to add something else, clearly hesitating. Lisa barks at her to spit it out already. Maya nervously admits that your entire clan only has about 10 people in total, including little kids and old men. But she fully believes you are intentionally hiding your actual population size. Lisa aggressively asks why Maya didn't snoop around more carefully. Maya explains that since you chopped down the nearby trees, getting close meant risking total exposure. Because of that, her squad could only camp in the woods and observe from a distance. Coldly agreeing, Lisa suddenly starts lashing them with a brutal whip. She warns that if they make lame excuses next time, the punishment will be way worse than a simple whipping. Maya bows low, thanking Lisa for holding back on a much harsher punishment. Honestly, leadership is exhausting. You finally breathe a massive sigh of relief. Al walks over to check up on your health. You admit that fighting off that bull herd took a serious toll on you. You notice Al is actually pretty smooth with her words. She then playfully asks if you vibe with her more than that Coconut Grove queen. Tensing up, you tell her not to misunderstand the situation. You then ask AU to bring the guys hiding outside indoors so they can help you recover. You also decide to have Lang Gu guard the entrance until you are fully healed up. Au says okay, adding that you are looking absolutely sick right now. Hearing that compliment makes you completely embarrassed and blush. Suddenly, Sam runs up and calls you a total legend. Your suspicion was spot on. The Coconut Grove clan totally set up observation posts around camp. You immediately ask Sam about that side quest you assigned him. Sam says it is handled. He explains those spies only saw exactly what you wanted them to see. Nothing extra got leaked. You hype Sam up for doing such a solid job. Looking stoked, Sam responds that it was basically nothing. He then bounces, saying he needs to help Stonebone and the boys build the house. Once Sam leaves, Ao asks if you really think the Coconut Grove crew will willingly join up. You tell her it is way too early to tell since the master plan is only halfway cooked. You explain that when they visit next time, you guys will drop the second phase of this crazy strategy. You head back to your shed to crash and check on your supply stash. Reality hits only 11 days left, nowhere near enough time to fully heal from these brutal injuries. You command the system screen to pop open the warehouse. Brutal drop rates. You find only one salt packet and a single tube of hemostatic ointment left to use. But then the system shows your weapon just upgraded into the legendary axe of Pangu. Completely shook, you wonder when the heck that massive upgrade happened. Panic sets in. You totally overlook the stats when handing it to Lang Gu earlier this morning. You quickly inspect your stacked spears. Get ready for this. The activation requirement was a literal blood sacrifice. You realize the sick upgrade must have triggered when he took a massive L during that fight. Based on the stats, spamming creating the world needs perfect timing. You cannot just pop it whenever you want. That gets him thinking, if other weapons had goated hidden stats like his axe. But honestly, he quickly drops that idea. Every weapon probably has totally different unlock requirements anyway. Chen decides to just let RNG take the wheel. He checks his inventory and spots the hematic ointment. Yikes, he only has one charge left. He is definitely saving that clutch heal. For everything else, he can just rely on swinging his axe to farm the local mobs. Chen figures that all the meat the Coconut Grove clan swiped will only last 2 days. They are super pressed for time, so he needs Sam to clutch up. He tells Langu to go fetch Sam because he has a mission for him. Sam eventually rolls up, asking what the deal is. King Chen asks Sam if he remembers those black bulls they totally chased off earlier, and gives him exactly 2 days to track them down and report back. Sam accepts the quest and instantly starts sprinting, yelling back that he will secure those black bulls as fast as possible. Meanwhile, Chen realizes the whole squad has been grinding hard. He decides to craft some sick rewards for every single clan member. While Sam is out scouting for the remaining cattle, Chen focuses on crafting the loot. 2 days later, he checks his system interface and realizes he only has 9 days left to clear this main quest. He actually snags some tech points for making a stone spearhead, a bone whistle, and a bullhorn water flask. Chen plans to pass the whistle to Stonebone, making it way easier to call shots during massive clan battles. Those stone spearheads will absolutely buff the damage output of their basic wooden spears, boosting their win rate if things get ugly with the Coconut Grove clan. Finally, that bullhorn flask goes straight to Sam. Out of nowhere, AU runs up, dropping some massively hyped news their new houses are completely finished. Chen is totally down to check out the base. When he arrives at the location, Stonebone proudly shows off their handiwork. Then the big guy yells out, asking if this setup is totally fire. Honestly, Chen thinks it looks like trash, but he just nods and plays along. The squad gets insanely hyped hearing that, because nobody has to sleep in terrible cages or scavenge for random branches anymore. The vibes are immaculate, but Chen is silently cringing. Even so, Stonebone slaps the straw door into place, finishing the whole build. The exact second that door drops, Chen gets 10 tech points for base building. Check this out, Chen actually realizes his tribe has leveled up insanely since day 1. Back then, they were literal cavemen, basically just touching grass and wearing dirty fur. But now their intelligence is spiking, and they are acting like actual functioning people. Chen wonders if this massive glow-up is purely because of the game system, acting like a speedrun for human evolution. He tells the crew to ping him the second Sam gets back, then heads to his shed. Just then, Sam rolls up, yelling that he absolutely found the target. Chen praises his top-tier scout and announces to the whole squad they are finally pushing into Phase 2 of the strategy. He tells the squad to follow, then pulls Stonebone aside, saying they need a quick one-on-one. A few minutes later, Chen drops the intel and asks if anyone is confused about the strat. Stonebone nervously asks if this plan. He stressed out over the risks, but Sam told him to chill, promising he had it covered. When the moment dropped, Stonebone had to lead the rest of the squad with him. Then Chen tossed Stonebone a whistle, explaining that commanding the crew just became easy mode. He even hyped Sam up, mentioning a sick reward waiting for him post-mission. Sam was totally over the moon. Flashing a grin, Chen reminded the whole squad to stay sharp and remember that whenever his signal dropped, they had to move. Wanger, Sam, Stonebone, and Liang went straight to work on Chen's master plan. Our guy realized his manpower was looking seriously weak. He literally had no choice but to draft the injured members. Tough times, right? So Chen ordered IU to make Mia and Langwei build a massive bonfire right out front. But here is the catch, do not light it yet. IU wondered if this whole setup was for their incoming guests. Chen gave her a big yes and wondered if that bait from 2 days ago would actually work or not. After some time, a tribe girl was grinding away when she spotted a massive mob heading over. The Coconut Grove clan was pulling up in force. Sweating bullets, she sprinted back and warned Chen that the ops had officially arrived. Inside his crib, AU was pampering him like crazy. Honestly, Chen was living his best life, getting treated this well. Big brain moment once he completely wrecked the Coconut Grove clan, he wanted Lisa and AU serving him together. Hearing that the rival clan was at the gates, IU stepped out to play host. She casually invited Lisa inside the so-called palace, stating their king was waiting for her. Hearing the word palace literally left Lisa completely shook, wondering how Chen's group leveled up from a basic trash shed to a legit wooden house. Lisa forced a smile, taunting AU, "Is your king too scared to come outside?" She claimed they didn't want to bother Chen's tribe anymore moving forward. Sure, right. She then boldly demanded extra meat as compensation for their time. On top of that, Lisa claimed her squad just wanted to meet the neighbors, so she brought them along, hoping they wouldn't terrify Chen's people. IU just straight up laughed and said their king was light years ahead, already prepping 40 portions of premium meat in advance. Lisa could go ahead and take it all, but it seems she didn't even bring 40 people. Deflecting, Lisa asked why she hadn't joined their Coconut Grove clan if she was so worried, offering her a spot right by her side. IU responded that Chen's absolute goated power won her loyalty a long time ago, so she politely thanked Lisa but declined. Next, AU completely flexed on them, pointing out where the massive meat stash was. She told them if their inventory was full, they were welcome to binge eat as much as they wanted right there. She even offered extra help, saying if the Coconut Grove squad was too weak to cut it, they could just ask Chen's warriors to do the heavy lifting. Annoyed, Lisa ordered her lackeys to go eat quietly while she faced Chen. The moment she stepped inside, Chen warmly welcomed her. Lisa's face turned completely red. Seeing him in this sick aesthetic house felt incredibly impressive to her. Trying to play it cool, she asked Chen if this fancy spot was actually his crib, calling it halfway decent. Chen could tell Lisa was secretly quite blown away by the architecture, so he decided to flex his riz even harder, telling her this was just a temporary starter base. Once they finally built the real palace, he would donate this crib to the tribes. Lisa was absolutely speechless, asking if he really let his people live in such luxury. Chen confidently replied he knew it was. It's a bit basic now, but he's planning to build them some goated stone houses later. Out of nowhere, Lisa whips out her literal whip, ties Chen up, and gets uncomfortably close. Chen sweats and asks what the heck she's doing. Lisa smirks. Nobody understands guys better than her, and she has mad ways to make him willingly hand over all his sick loot. She figures this spicy tactic is totally enough to make Chen cave. Even though Chen is definitely sweating this, he keeps a straight face and just laughs. He asks if she seriously thinks a cheap stunt like this will make him submit, and implies he has some crazy backup plan. But honestly, bro is totally panicking inside because he literally has zero backup plan right now. The situation is completely chalked. His injuries are still dragging him down. A straight-up fight would be rough, and now he is caught in a massive trap. Thank goodness, Ao suddenly barges in to announce the big feast is finally ready to go. But seeing Chen and Lisa tangled up like that leaves AU absolutely speechless. She yells at Chen to stop doing totally weird stuff like that. Lisa finally unties him, and Chen quickly suggests they drop the whole conversation. Time for a barbecue instead. He smoothly pivots and asks Ao if the fire is lit. Meanwhile, Lisa tries to figure out how he resisted her intense pressure. Keeping that absolute poker face means he either has a god-tier strategy or he just completely lacks fear. Compared to the guys in her own clan, Chen's whole vibe is just wildly different. Heading outside, the girls of the Coconut Grove clan happily wave Lisa over to check out the food. The grilled meat is smelling absolutely top tier right now. Chen slides some salt over to Ao to pass around to the Coconut Grove crew. Ao hands it out, telling everyone to sprinkle that flavor enhancer straight onto their meals. Lisa furiously snaps, "What exactly are you sprinkling on that?" Ao hits back with major sass, "Don't eat it if you're so scared." But watching her own clan hype up the food, Lisa finally gets it. Chen smiles seeing them binge the food, hoping they completely stuff their faces right now. This stalls for time so Sam and Stonebone can finish their secret mission. Now watch this play out. We cut over to Stonebone's squad stalking the Black Bulls. Luong is super confused. Why are they hunting bulls when their inventory is already maxed out? Stonebone shuts him down. They definitely aren't here to hunt today. He tells Luong to just follow orders. Suddenly, Hanger tosses them a quick hand signal. They all chuck their spears right at the massive black bulls. Instantly, the whole herd panics and starts stampeding. Stonebone yells that they are charging Sam's way. Sam says chill out. He totally sends it, leaping from the tree to stab a bull's neck. Landing a direct critical hit with his spear, Sam yells out a massive victory cheer, claiming the beast as his own. But the injured animal immediately starts bucking and going crazy. Sam hypes himself up to ignore the fear. He knows his stats can handle this ride. From a safe distance, Hanger spots the whole herd drifting toward the east. Stonebone signals Sam, making him realize his pathing is completely messed up. He wrestles the bull to the right, forcing the massive creature to charge straight west instead. Cut back to Chen's base. The Coconut Grove girls are just chilling and enjoying their epic meal. Chen is quietly waiting for the big signal, until suddenly, a Coconut Grove guard comes absolutely sprinting toward the den. Lisa clocks her immediately. She demands to know why this girl is freaking out. The guard is literally in tears. Suddenly, someone yells that a herd of aggro black bulls just crashed their camp. They're absolutely wrecking the place, and the guards are getting totally clapped. Lisa loses it, springing to her feet and ordering everybody straight back to home base. She swears she will make those psycho bulls pay, but low-key, she is super stressed. They always steered clear of those beasts, so she is clueless about why this disaster just spawned. Meanwhile, over at the Coconut Grove clan camp, the girls are taking a massive L against these bulls. They try spamming slingshots, but it is just not enough. Zero damage dealt. So they decide to just rush in and take the fight close quarters. They gotta save their sisters down below. But the second she drops in, she gets totally rushed by the herd and is about to catch another massive hit. Thank God Lisa shows up, instantly wrapping her whip right around the bull's leg. The whole squad instantly gets their morale boosted. Lisa furiously screams at those unhinged beasts, asking how they dare touch her crew. She completely floors one bull, but that is not enough. The absolute unit just tanks it, stands right back up, and tackles her hard. The crazy impact sends her launching through the air, totally fumbling her whip. But Chen slides in at the perfect second to catch her, asking if she is alright. Lisa takes the L and says she is fine, but has no idea how they just magically spawned. But check this out right nearby. Hang, Cher, Sam, Lutong, and Stonebone are playing completely dumb. They keep hiding their faces, because these dudes are the ones who actually pulled all the aggro. Chen glares hardcore at the bulls, asking if they forgot the epic beatdown they took. Now that their HP is full again, the herd just roars and advances right at Chen. He gets tense, wondering if the herd does not recognize him. He thinks about whether his badass cloak crafted straight from the Black Bull King is just not giving off enough aura. Luckily, the beast backs off. Then Chen completely snaps and yells out that it looks like this crew finally got themselves a brand new boss. He roasts the new king for being way weaker, saying since he pulled up, he is staying right here. Zero hesitation, Chen's entire clan completely rushes the bulls. And Stonebone tells Sam to focus all his aggro directly on the boss. With Stonebone backing him up, Sam vaults over the beast and straight up tries to ride it. Chen realizes Sam is actually goated at fighting, while his boys try to tame the whole herd. Chen tells Lisa to bounce, but she stubbornly refuses, since the mobs have not despawned yet. He blocks her from joining the raid, warning her that she cannot solo these monsters. Plus, he did not bring enough backup, so charging in would be an instant game over. Lisa completely freezes up, not knowing what to actually say. Chen asks her again why she will not just crash at his base for a bit. They could heal up and camp there until it is time to take back their turf. He promises free housing, unlimited food, and total safety for her whole squad. IU chimes in, telling Lisa to look at her people, basically saying they are way too nerfed to fight. He asks if she seriously wants to watch them just feed in a useless battle. Finally, Lisa gives in and orders the Coconut Grove clan to grab the injured, and fall completely back up north to Chen's territory. Hearing this girl On gets super salty, but she definitely cannot defy her queen. She grumbles and tells the injured to follow Chen's crew. Chen then tells IU to take on the massive responsibility of escorting the Coconut clan back to base, while Chen and Stonebone stay behind to stall for time. IU agrees, and they all dip out. Meanwhile, Stonebone and his squad are throwing hands, and On jumps straight into the brawl. Stonebone tells her to just fall back if she's feeling spooked. Already crushed the bulls once before, so there is literally zero reason to sweat this. Anne totally ignores him and charges the bulls anyway. Chen yells at Stonebone to drop it and just focus on wiping the enemies, because honestly, those girls are completely fearless. Fast forward to the evening, and the whole crew heads back to Chen's base. Maya, one of Chen's girls, greets them super hyped. She is just happy they all made it back in one piece. She quickly asks where Chen and the others are at. On explains that Chen stayed behind to hold the line. They needed time to drag their injured allies back home safely. Maya offers up the brand new houses they just built for the Coconut Grove clan girls to crash in. She breathes a massive sigh of relief. If Mia and the crew had not worked through their own injuries to speedrun building those cabins, they would literally have nowhere to stash the Coconut Grove clan right now. A bit later, On checks in with Lisa. Everyone is finally settled inside. Their food and security are totally locked down. Zero reason to stress anymore. She tells Lisa to just take a breather. Lisa hits her back with a tired thank you. On completely relaxes since things went perfectly, suddenly remembering Chen's exact words. Chen specifically told her the big brain move here was absorbing the Coconut Grove clan while spending almost zero resources, because after surviving that insane battle, they literally cannot afford a single extra casualty. But get this, they still have one absolutely crazy final phase left. Cut straight to the very next morning. Mia checks in with Heju Xiao, asking if the night shift went smoothly. Hua confirms it. He stayed on guard duty all night long, and it was dead quiet. On is pulling security outside Lisa's place when a massive shadow suddenly blocks out the sun. She looks up. It is just Mia dropping by to say what is up. On gets defensive, demanding what she wants. Mia casually drops that their king invited Lisa to his main spot. He wants to discuss something major with her today. Cut to Chen, who is glaring at his system screen, basically sweating bullets. He only has 8 days left to clear this sick mission. Suddenly, a knock interrupts him. It is Lisa. She walks right in, admitting Anne spilled the tea about his whole clan merger idea. Her answer is a hard no. She just cannot agree to it. Lisa warns Chen not to try flexing on her just because the Coconut Grove clan took a temporary L. Chen completely denies forcing anything. He claims this is just a business trade. He offers to teach her squad how to build houses, forge sick weapons, and make fire. In exchange, the Coconut Grove clan simply gets absorbed into his growing tribe. He pushes her to take the deal and just chill under his absolute protection. Chen steps directly into her personal space, whispering that pure guts will not cut it anymore. He reminds her that she knows the Bay clan's insane brutality and the Giant Stone clan's goated strength way better than he does. Right now, she is basically a wounded fawn limping around in the open. Very soon, every bloodthirsty monster out there will catch her scent and come hunting. Lisa, totally frustrated, begs him to just stop. She already knows this, but it is just not that simple. She explains there is zero way she can force the Coconut Grove clan girls to obey some random outsider, unless he steps up and defeats them in a pure 1-versus-1 duel. That is their only condition. Lisa challenges him right then and there, asking if he accepts. Chen flashes a cocky grin. Yeah, bring it on. Outside, Chen breaks it down for the Coconut Grove clan girls. Since their queen is injured and sidelined herself from the duel, he is sitting this one out to keep things fair. So Chen hypes up his main guy Stonebone to step in and fight instead. Stonebone literally just laughs and asks who wants the smoke. On steps right up and completely accepts his challenge. Stonebone smirks. He tells her to watch out and not get absolutely wrecked by him. On claps back. She tells him to stay sharp and dodge her sick eagle weapon. The fight kicks off, and On instantly yeets a bone knife at Stonebone. Stonebone laughs it off at first until he realizes Chen is standing right behind him. Dodging means Chen catches a stray, so Stonebone tanks the first knife with his axe. But out of nowhere, a second blade sneaks through and clips his helmet. Stonebone is fine but triggered. He goes rage mode and charges On. On is in major trouble. Suddenly, another Coconut Grove clan girl jumps out of the crowd and hurls another knife at his helmet in that exact same split second and sweeps him straight to the floor. Stonebone yells that somebody is ganking him, and this one-on-one duel is completely rigged. Right as Stonebone hits the dirt, On grabs a blade and lunges for Chen to finish him. But watch this. Chen does not even flinch to dodge. He already assigned Hanger for clutch crowd control. Hanger is camping on the palace roof. He drops a spear straight at On to cover Chen. Spear totally decks On. Seeing this go down, the Coconut Grove clan girls rush Tina, completely furious and screaming at Chen. They call him out for playing dirty and scheming to trap them in his territory. Stone, Bone, and On both lock up, feeling the crazy tension in the air. The girls beg Lisa to give the green light, claiming they will actually wipe everyone out. Chen starts sweating too. Getting assassinated was definitely not on his bingo card. He genuinely wonders if the Coconut Grove clan are just baiting a turf war. Chen also wonders if Lisa actually ordered this hit or if her team went completely rogue. If Queen Lisa ordered this, then grabbing her as a hostage is the ultimate Uno reverse. But plotting aside, Lisa furiously screams at her clan to stand down immediately. She snaps, asking if they thought their sus little plot would actually fool her, swearing she would never ever backstab the actual friends who helped them in such a trashy way. Lisa admits she does not even want to dig into who is behind this messy assassination plot, but they took a massive loss on this duel. She tells Chen that Anne is the absolute most loyal and goated warrior in the Coconut Grove clan, and if it was not for the queen, Anne would never toss her pride away to pull like something that dirty. Lisa then admits she knows Chen has totally insane cheat skills, capable of basically spawning miracles. She begs him to be a real one and just spare Tina's life. Do that, and the Coconut Grove clan owes him big time. Chen keeps a total stone face on the outside. Inside, though, he is so glad this isn't the worst case scenario, and that he finally has the controller back in his own hands. He suddenly remembers his super healing ointment and tells Lisa to chill out, saying he will not let On die since they are officially squad now. A girl begs Chen to hurry up because On is logging out fast. Walking over to help, Chen decides to let Tina's whole murder attempt slide for the sake of the alliance. But she still needs to touch grass and face consequences. So Chen decides to apply He gives On just enough medicine to keep her breathing, but not enough to instantly fully heal her up. Gotta stash the rest of that ointment for his own busted-up injuries. After slapping on the meds, he tells the others to carry On back home. He promises them she's gonna bounce back in a few days. The Coconut Grove clan girls start hyping Chen up, thinking he pulled off a total miracle. Chen gives Lisa a hug and asks if her squad can officially merge into his tribe now. Blushing super hard, Lisa happily hits him with a big yes. Chen smiles and tells Lisa she can totally keep leading her crew, as long as they follow his orders. But then Lisa drops that she has one final request. Chen has to become her partner, and they need a whole ceremony to make things official. Hearing that, Chen gets totally hyped and blushes. He thinks he just secured a massive W. My dude is already picturing the wedding, swapping rings, and hitting the bridal chamber. Having a little daughter together and watching her grow up right before their eyes. Going to her wedding, getting old together, and finally passing on side by side. Seeing Chen making these goofy faces, Lisa gets tense and asks, what is wrong? She starts overthinking, wondering if he is dodging the whole partner ceremony. Chen panics, saying he absolutely wants it, and pulls her into a super tight hug. Then Chen tells Lisa to go rest up and recover properly. Since he needs a minute to prep for the big ceremony, he tells everyone else to go touch grass and rest, telling them to pull up for the ceremony in a few days. Right after, his system pops up showing he officially made a tribe, asking him to lock in a name. Looking closer, Chen realizes his tribe population is sitting at exactly 46 people. He wonders why he is down 4 members. Whatever, he names it Newbie Tribe. Then Chen starts scheming. He desperately needs a way to handle the Bei clan. He thinks about taking some of them as prisoners, but he is unsure if locking up those prisoners actually counts toward his overall tribe population stat. But get this out of nowhere, Chen eavesdrops on some Coconut Grove clan girls spilling tea nearby. They are whispering about how they used to dig Chen and his cute smile. But now, he's going to end up like the past partners, getting sliced into literal pieces. The queen straight up eats them at the ceremony. Chen starts sweating, horrified by this. He suddenly realizes this is exactly why dudes are so incredibly rare in the Coconut Grove clan. Somebody sneaks up right behind him. Chen practically jumps, screaming at them not to attack him. Mia steps out, saying it is just her, and asks why he is shaking. Still rattled, Chen asks what the heck she wants now. Mia straight up asks if Chen is actually partnering with that super toxic woman, Lisa. Chen replies that he might really need to reconsider this whole decision. Admitting he rushed into this whole ceremony thing, Mia asks if he is dead serious right now. Chen says he thought he secured a wife, but Lisa is literally a terrifying praying mantis. Hearing that, Mia starts completely losing it with joy, but Ao cuts in. She demands to know why Mia snuck out instead of staying in bed. Blushing hard, Mia mumbles she just wanted to chill with Chen. Chen sadly tells Mia he just needs some alone time. He suggests the Coconut Grove clan girls can help with the camp building if they want. Ao nods and drags Mia away. Even being dragged off, Mia begs Chen to really think things through and to pick her over Lisa, leaving Chen with a choice. Next morning, Chen wakes up ready to vibe check Lisa about the situation. He notices the whole camp is totally chilling. Even the Coconut Grove squad is literally building houses. He then heads out toward the farming zone where the temporary Coconut Grove clan residents are crashing. Once he gets there, On spots him and asks if he is here to see the queen. Turns out, she is hanging by the river. On then hits up Lisa, letting her know the king arrived. Lisa instantly tells everyone to touch grass. Once alone, she asks Chen if he has some urgent tea. Chen says nah, he just swung by to check how her injury is healing up. She claims she will be totally back to normal in 2 or 3 days. Then get this, she straight up asks to fast-track their romance arc. Sweating bullets, he says nope and then asks for her actual name. She tells him to just call her Lisa, the exact name the former queen gave her. But honestly, nobody has used that name since she got exiled. Hearing this makes Chen stress hard. Comply or get absolutely booted out. He figures she might even rebrand her squad to the Praying Mantis clan. Chen nervously asks if the former queen had a partner, wondering where they are now. Lisa casually drops that they all got eaten. Standard tradition for her clan, where the queen snacks on her partners for a sick power buff. Chen is absolutely terrified now, but he catches a major break when Lisa says, that is just boomer tradition. She has zero plans to keep that creepy vibe going. Feeling way better, Chen asks if she has seriously never eaten anybody. Lisa replies she just leveled up to queen and never had a boyfriend, so she has literally had 0 chances to consume anyone yet. Chen quickly dips out, claiming he has to prep for the upcoming ceremony. Walking back, he realizes if there is no risk of becoming a literal snack, he should probably hit up Mia. Suddenly, Lisa shouts that while she skips cannibalism, crossing her means she will not hesitate to go full goblin mode on them. Later on, Chen wanders around the living zone, just checking out his people. Then it hits him he only has 7 days left to clear this mission, so he decides to speedrun capturing some prisoners and get that quest done. Chen tells Stone Bone that he is heading out for a quick bit. Meanwhile, Stone Bone is in charge of keeping everyone on their daily grind. If anything goes totally sideways, send somebody to find Chen at the South Beach. Now watch this. Down at the South Beach, Chen spots something absolutely mind-bending. How did this even happen? Did the Bei clan get completely wiped out? Dodo birds are casually chilling near the bodies, meaning Chen is safe for now. He inspects the Bei clan bodies. Their skin actually still has some stretch to it. 0 smell yet. Whatever epic brawl went down here must have wrapped up pretty recently. Chen also notices their finger claws are looking crazy sharp right now, and the fatal wounds completely match those exact claws. He wonders if the water lunatics just had some wild, toxic infighting, making it super clutch for him to track down any survivors. He finds a guy with 0 internal damage, but the dude clearly died in agony. While Chen questions this insane mystery, Sam suddenly drops in out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, some guy runs up yelling that the Bei clan is straight up wrecking their turf. Hearing that, Chen totally panics and sprints back to base. Back at the camp, Stonebone tells the crew to group up tight. He says, save your stamina and get ready to brawl. They chuck wooden spears. But those Bei clan weirdos just tank the hits perfectly. These psychos keep pushing forward, so Stonebone yells to keep it chill. He warns them to do absolutely whatever it takes to avoid getting dragged into the water. Because if they hit the river, it is basically game over against these guys. The crazies rush in, but the squad actually stalls their push by yeeting rocks at them. Right on time, Queen Lisa's backup arrives. Lisa asks Stonebone what the heck is happening and if these are Bei clan goons. She wants to know why these dudes who usually chill way down on the southern edge are suddenly rolling up on their spot. Stonebone admits he has 0 clue. He says these freaks are acting unhinged, just rushing out of the South River like madmen. The brawl pops off right there, with both squads throwing down in a crazy chaotic clash. Even Lisa throws hands alongside the newbie clan crew. She tries talking to the Bei attackers, but they straight up ghost her. That is when she realizes something is seriously sus with this entire group. While she fights one guy, this absolute unit of a psycho tries to blindside her. Chen swoops in, swinging a heavy hit straight at the beast, but the crazy giant easily tanks it, leaving Chen shook. 2 Bei dudes try jumping Chen, but Hangshir and Langwo totally shut that down. They lay those guys out cold, shouting that if anyone wants to touch their goated king, they literally have to catch hands from them first. Chen hypes up Hangshir and Langwo, telling them to handle those low-level scrubs on their own. He also asks Lisa to carry the squad and help them wipe out the extra mobs. The guy desperately needs to lock in on the massive boss right in front of him. Lisa just says bet and dives right back into the fight. Chen shouts that he's counting on all of them to hold the line until he wins. Now watch this. Chen tells the big guy he has no clue what ruined their clan, but it has absolutely 0 to do with his newbie clan. He says they probably aggroed the wrong target, but the massive psycho attacks without listening. Sweating bullets, Chen yells out, asking if this dude even knows how to talk anymore. He is totally mind-blown by the monster's insane burst damage. Even with his stats boosted way higher than a normal human, he seriously wonders how he could survive a hit like that. Compared to this brute, Chen is basically just a squishy DPS. Plus, with his team hovering nearby, he cannot just spam his axe's sick hidden skill. Because he is overthinking, he totally loses focus on the enemy's next wild swipe, and the lunatic bites his arm. Luckily, Chen yanks it away, totally saved by the heavy defense of the Bull King cloak. If he was not wearing that, those wicked teeth would have straight up ripped his hand off. The psycho gets even madder and rushes Chen with absolute max effort. Chen dodges it cleanly, but the giant rips his cloak right off him instead. Tensely, he wonders how the lunatic got so fast, thinking what if he had not slipped out of the... Without that cloak, he was completely cooked. But suddenly, Chen notices the lunatic just stops attacking. What the heck is going on? Why did these crazies pause out of absolutely nowhere? The guy starts backing up. Chen knows something is super weird here. The massive dude only ripped off the exact piece of cloak covered in Chen's own blood. He also sees On getting completely swarmed by a whole mob of Bei clan members. Boom! It hits him. These Bei clan guys are using blood scent to lock onto their targets. In this totally wild state, the lunatics are running purely on straight-up animal instinct. Watch how Chen totally cheeses this broken mechanic. Right on cue, Sam rolls back up and asks if his boss needs any backup right now. Chen tells Sam to grab 2 guys and fetch 3 little boar cubs from the piggery. Sam is mad, confused. He asks why, since those boars are supposed to be saved for later. Chen snaps at him to just follow orders. He thinks about how the stupid Bei clan is forcing him to sacrifice 3 precious baby boars. Oh, he's getting payback for this. Next up, Chen commands Lisa to carry all the injured fighters away from the front line. Sam finally pulls up with the boars. Chen tells him to drop the cubs right toward the river. The second Sam lets go, the terrified little animals sprint for the water to find safety. But Hanger is waiting with spears and instantly attacks the cubs. Soon as the blood drops, every single crazy Bei clan member out there gets totally lured in and starts ripping the animals apart. While the lunatics are distracted tearing up the boars, Chen tells everyone to coat spearheads with paralysis drug. Make sure to avoid vital organs. But surprise, surprise, Hanger points out that the Bei clan lunatics are acting super glitchy all over again. Chen looks over and is absolutely stunned. These berserkers are moving weirdly, just slowly dropping face first to the dirt. Chen furiously asks Sam if he poisoned those boars. Sam totally denies it. Chen gets even more stressed out and orders his whole crew to stay away from the knocked out enemies and keep their guard up. Right then, Chen wonders what kind of crazy bug is happening with the Bay Clan right now. Fast forward to the farmer's area, every single Bay Clan member is now locked up tight inside cages. An tells the squad to stay frosty in case any of the prisoners try pulling a fast one. Once the captives finally wake up, they start begging for help. An sends one of the girls to go notify King Chen. A bit later, Chen pulls up to check the vibes. He immediately sees that every captured member is desperately begging for water. First thing, Chen asks An, where the Bay Clan boss named Hector is locked up. An says they kept Hector separated from the rest. Chen walks over to the boss, who's also begging for a drink. So Chen just dumps a water bottle right over his head. After that brutal wake-up call, Chen asks if the guy understands him. Hector nods, yes. Chen hands the interrogation duty over to An. An starts by giving water for the boss to drink, telling him to chug down as much as he needs. Hector tells Chen that his squad is dying of thirst too, begging him to share. An tells the guy to chill, everyone is getting their hydration in a second. Now, is Hector ready to drop some lore? The boss tensely asks why Chen's crew attacked them just to run an interview. Hector admits that he has definitely heard the Giant Stone clan is pretty weird, but he never expected this much crazy. Did not expect them to be this weird. An turns to Hector, asking if he meant hearing they got jumped by the Giant Stone clan. Hector is totally shook. He says Tor never even mentioned that Chen's crew wasn't the Giant Stone clan. Au claps back, saying they are a fresh squad called the Newbie Tribe, and Chen is their king. Hector replies he has literally never heard of this Newbie Tribe, figuring the Giant Stone clan must have yeeted them out to some middle-of-nowhere spot. Au drops a harsh reality check. Hector is dead wrong. Hector got bagged because he decided to raid their turf. Plus, the Newbie Tribe has zero beef or business with the Giant Stone clan. It was only the Bay clan wilding out and attacking them like absolute beasts. Hector is stunned. He claims that is absolute cap because he remembers literally nothing Ao is saying. Ao tells Hector to just spill whatever he actually remembers. Hector shares how his tribe used to chill down south around the fish, just happily beefing with each other and having a good time. Out of nowhere, this kid from his clan runs up crying somebody snatched his pet dodo bird. Hector told the kid to man up and throw hands for his own stuff, low-key, suspecting that Scaly and his gang were the ones who swiped it. But the kid says, nope, pointing fingers at a bunch of absolute weirdos. Hector checks it out and realizes these dudes are from the Giant Stone clan. Furious, Hector demands answers. Why are they crashing his turf? The Giant Stone boss straight up ignores him, ordering his crew to go goblin mode on the Bay clan. Hector is completely shell-shocked. Now ask yourself, why would the Giant Stone clan jump them out of nowhere? He explains that he got totally knocked out cold during the brawl, and waking up, he was locked in a cage, totally bagged by the Newbie Tribe. Chen hits him with the grim news he checked out his village earlier, and nobody made it out alive. Chen adds that if they had not actively spared these last remaining Bay clan members right here, the Bay clan would be totally wiped off the map. Hearing this, Hector takes massive emotional damage, realizing he totally failed to save his squad. Then, something random drops straight off Hector. Au snags it off the ground and tells Chen to check this thing out. Chen scans the weird leaf, running it straight through his system interface. Turns out it is industrial hemp, a wild plant known for numbing pain like crazy, and gives you insane hallucinations if you actually smoke it. Chen immediately gets stressed. Could this totally sketchy setup be the Giant Stone clan pulling the strings? Fast forward a bit, the crew is handing out water to the surviving Bay clan members. While doing this, Chen secretly loots these exact same leaves off every single Bay clan guy, spotting something super sus about all this. Then it clicks. Sam had dropped some lore earlier. The Giant Stone boss supposedly unlocks some kind of crazy god tier divine power. But honestly, this god seems more like a straight-up demon. Chen figures the industrial hemp is the real culprit here. That made the Bay clan completely lose it and team kill each other. Is the Giant Stone clan playing dirty? Make no mistake, that rabid raid on the Newbie Tribe turf was definitely no accident. If the Giant Stone clan purposely sent these guys here to just grief their base and leave them completely wrecked, it means the Newbie Tribe is fully on the radar now, getting treated like a major high-level threat that needs immediate deleting. Even an absolute tank like Hector got played like a total puppet by these guys, which proves the Giant Stone clan's power level is actually terrifying. Chen isn't taking any chances and double-checks his own stats. 3 strength points? Yeah, that's not going to cut it. He seriously needs to level up. But before the real danger hits, Au pulls him aside. She says Hector is totally losing it, basically on the verge of a breakdown. If he totally snaps, they won't get any answers out of the guy. Chen straight up says they don't have time to let Hector touch grass. Enemies could be camping right outside, ready to gank them instantly. AU asks if the Giant Stone clan is literally about to raid their base. Chen says it's kind of complicated, but he firmly believes the Giant Stone clan used industrial hemp leaves. They totally used it to brainwash the Bay clan. And honestly, nobody knows what insane play comes next. So they gotta speedrun Hector's memories right now and get some intel. Chen turns to Blackstone and tells him to stop rage quitting on himself. Once you breathe in that industrial hemp leaf smoke, your OP stats don't matter at all, you are completely done. Chen then hands the leaf over and tells Hector to look. Hector takes one look and says that smell is burned into his brain. He remembers catching a whiff while throwing down with those absolute scumbags. But back then it was mixed with so much gross stuff, it just smelled like absolute trash. Hearing this, Chen instantly gets stressed. Are the Giant Stone clan spamming different kinds of toxic plants? He figures they desperately need to decode the exact debuffs of those toxic herbs. They absolutely must figure this out before launching any counterattack. Hector asks if King Chen is planning to wipe out the Giant Stone clan. He begs Chen to let the Bay clan squad join the raid. If he doesn't get payback for his fallen bros, he's going to be kicking himself for the rest of his life. The rest of the Bay clan starts yelling they are totally hyped to avenge their fallen crew too. They are down to do literally anything just to secure that sweet revenge. Chen realizes he actually needs more members to clear his main quest anyway. They are only 4 people short. Hector suddenly interrupts Chen's whole thought process. Hector points out their noses are ridiculously sensitive, and he offers Chen their tracking skills. He says they can easily sniff out and track those toxic herbs. This sounds goated, right? But Chen says that is exactly why he is so worried. Sure, they can track herbs, but their hypersensitivity to blood is a massive red flag. If the Bay clan squad loses aggro control again, the fallout would be completely disastrous. Hector yells out if it wasn't for that broken poison smoke, they could easily control themselves. Chen shuts him down, reminding him that the Giant Stone clan is their enemy. He brings up a seriously good point. What happens if the Giant Stone clan just spams that poison smoke again? If that massive debuff hits mid-fight, what are they supposed to do? Hector looks down and admits they would just flat out refuse to fight. Chen looks at Hector and says he totally gets that thirst for payback. But he makes it clear just raging out won't actually fix a single thing here. He admits he's worried Hector might completely reject his master plan if he pitches one. Hector claps back, saying they are literally the final surviving members of the Bay clan. As long as Chen secures that revenge, they will pledge their entire lives to him. Chen tells Hector he has to merge into his tribe and pledge complete loyalty to the newbie clan. In exchange, he guarantees they will get their epic revenge. But Chen drops a cliffhanger. Not every single Bay clan member is going to get that chance. So to get some personal payback, Chen asks Hector how he feels about this whole setup. Hector and the Bay clan start screaming that they are totally ready for it. But right as Chen turns to leave, Hector calls him back. Chen totally gets it, ordering IU and An to bust those guys out of their cages. They are ride or die now. Right after freeing them, Chen gets a sick notification: tribe mission accomplished. Time to claim that sweet quest reward. He scores 3 attribute points, a massive material chest, and a shiny new heritage plaque. Because he speedran this in under 7 days, the system drops a bonus surprise gift package on him. Chen lets out a massive sigh of relief, mission finally cleared. And obviously, he dumps every single attribute point straight into his strength stat. The second those points lock in, an absolutely insane power surge hits him like a truck. He can feel raw energy exploding inside. Once the glow-up finishes, he realizes his hair has grown out super long. He wonders if going full Super Saiyan is just a weird side effect. Next up is the big material chest, and he just pulls out 1 solid ton of hematite. He is ridiculously hyped about this because it lets him totally skip the Bronze Age grind. They are fast-tracking straight to the Iron Age. Next, he pops open that surprise gift package. Praying for some goated drops, he is thrilled to unbox 3 whole jars of hematic ointment. Honestly, guys, Chen is genuinely mind-blown. This loot pool is better than last time. Finally, Chen tells the system to pull up the heritage plaque. The plaque shows he just unlocked a straight-up civilization product for his tribe, but the catch is it costs 10 technology points to unlock. Without even blinking, he drops the 10 points just to see what this is. Identification clears, and Chen receives something called the Plaque of Sense of Modesty. Chen instantly realizes this is an absolute game-changer for developing his civilization. He's just glad he will not have to stress over mixed-gender baths anymore, because letting random dudes see Lisa bathing is a huge no. But right now, Chen has to brainstorm a counter for the Giant Stone clan threat. Suddenly, IU walks in and totally freezes when she sees Chen's new look. The dude got way taller and incredibly jacked. Chen just nods, asking what she needs today. IU nervously asks if he wants her to go parley with the Giant Stone clan. To clear the air, Chen says nope, there is zero misunderstanding here. Those giant stone guys have already decided to completely wipe them out. He calls them the absolute worst threat the newbie clan has ever faced. These guys literally sit back, third-party the fights, and farm easy loot from the absolute chaos. Stressing out, IU asks what their clan is even supposed to do now. Chen tells her the only viable strat right now is to heavily upgrade their base defenses. They need to hoard food and completely avoid aggroing those giants until they are fully geared. Basically, they just have to lay low, hide their actual power levels, and wait. IU then asks how to organize the 22 noobs who just joined the server. Chen tells her to split the Bay clan crew right into 3 separate squads, assigning them to construct houses, farm food, and craft defensive traps. IU gets super confused about the traps, asking what they are and why they even matter. Chen keeps it simple. Traps are literally just there to guard their turf. He adds that by rigging these defensive setups, catching live enemies or wild beasts would seriously buff their base defense. He then pulls Ao aside. He has a super urgent task for her. Their population just spiked like crazy, so they really need to figure out long-term food prep. Wasting any leftover meat is totally out of the question. His big brain move? Teaching the whole squad how to make some meat jerky. Stonebone shows up and instantly freaks out over Chen, looking absolutely shredded and taller. Chen just brushes off the crazy glow-up. He tells his buddy to focus on the mission at hand. Chen orders Stonebone to go lace the surrounding mountains with a ton of traps. Packing those traps super close together is the main priority. He already handpicked a crew to help out, and promises to personally show Stonebone the ropes, how to build the first one. But Chen makes one thing super clear. Building them is the easy part. The real challenge is memorizing exactly where every single trap is hidden. Hearing this, Stonebone completely tenses up. This whole assignment sounds boring as hell to him. Chen just taps Stonebone right on the helmet, telling him straight up. Giving him the trap map is a massive sign of absolute trust. This needs to stay totally top secret. He then lays down the ultimate ground rule. Only the 2 of them are in on this. No random third wheels allowed at all. Chen tells him to make sure the helpers constantly rotate through different zones. While setting things up, nobody else gets to see the full layout. Keep them restricted to specific areas. If they have an imposter among them, the fallout would be totally catastrophic. Chen wants a full report on every location. Once everything is placed, he even wipes away the blueprints he just drew. Wiping it clean, he strictly forbids his buddy from sketching anything out. It all has to stay locked in his brain. Stonebone admits it sounds tough. Really difficult, actually, but he absolutely refuses to let his boss down now. Chen loves the hype. He praises Stonebone for being an absolute Chad. He tells him to go chill for a bit, since they start grinding at nightfall. Chen drops a literal sense of modesty plaque right outside his front door. Perfect spot for everyone walking by to read it and hopefully touch some grass. He lets Langu know he's going away from keyboard to catch some sleep. Stonebone and the crew will link up tonight, but if things go sideways, Langu has permission to wake him up. Chen crashes hard on his bed. How much time is left? There is still way too much to handle. Leveling up different soldier units, rushing base defenses, mapping out the patrol routes, unlocking tech trees, and expanding the map. The grind is literally never ending. But for now, Chen decides to enjoy this insanely rare moment of peace. He finally passes out. When he wakes up, he is suddenly inside a bar. A bunch of gorgeous girls are having drinks. Chen asks for their names. They introduce themselves Xiaoya, Lily, and Tan. Chen is absolutely loving this vibe. He admits he had way too much to drink, but feels amazing being back. Leaving that wild survival stress behind feels great. He totally soaks up their company. Fast forward a bit, Xiaoya is right beside him, whispering that it is time to get up and work. He groans back that he is completely drained. He begs Xiaoya to stop, but then the voice says she is not Xiaoya. He guesses the others? Nope. Finally, the voice drops the bomb. It is Stonebone. Chen snaps his eyes open, utterly traumatized, screaming at the horrible twist. Thank God, it was all just a dream. Chen furiously demands why Stonebone is chilling in his room. Stonebone is super confused, claiming Chen literally told him to slide through at night. But when he showed up, Chen totally grabbed him and started flirting. Chen is absolutely shook, but Langu jumps in, saying the whole thing is a huge misunderstanding. They need to touch grass and get to work. Cut to a little while later. Chen is out here showing the squad how to craft a trap. He flexes by throwing together a gnarly spike trap as an example. You guys know these monsters are absolute units, right? So he breaks it down. These traps gotta be super deep and extra wide to actually do any damage. Next up, Chen shows them the goated strat for hiding pits with leaves. He points out you can combo these spike pits with those tripwire setups he taught them earlier. Mixing and matching your trap types is legit mandatory. He also drops a hint that Han Gei can totally teach the crew some alternative setups. Hearing his name dropped, Han Go looks completely lost and admits he has zero clue how to build traps. Chen just asks him if he remembers that moving target from their spear training. Swap the log for a net, boom. That is a top-tier trap setup. Just add a trigger and it is perfect. Chen leaves the heavy lifting to Stonebone's crew. Then he dips back home, really hoping to binge the rest of that crazy dream. But rolling up to the base, he is totally shook. It is an absolute ghost town. Normally by now, the whole squad is up and grinding. Chen goes to peek inside their cribs, but the second he tries walking in, the girls inside start screaming at him to back the hell up. Chen asks what their deal is, and they get dead serious. They are practically half naked, so they refuse to step outside. Now get this, Chen realizes something wild is happening. A modesty update from the heritage plaque. Wild. He shuts the door, yelling that they have until noon to craft some fresh fits. If they ghost him after that, do not blame him for getting salty. Chen checks out the plaque and is totally hyped. This new buff is insane. Suddenly, Stonebone comes screaming his name. Chen whips around. Stonebone says he just dug up something super crazy at the trap site. Chen lights up and tells him it is Flint, an absolutely goated discovery for the squad. With Flint in the inventory, their options are basically limitless. Smash two pieces together hard enough, and boom, instant sparks. The two of them sprint straight back to the drop zone where he found it. Stonebone points out the exact spot and mentions that his crew was digging right around that weird rock. Chen takes one look, way too little Flint. This biome is totally wrong for it. If this stuff actually spawned here naturally, there is only one crazy explanation. Chen tells his bro to take a closer look at whatever is buried in that dirt. Stonebone agrees, pointing out that the ground here is way softer, and there is definitely some weird chunky stuff mixed in. It legit does not look like rocks. Stonebone gives it a taste test, terrible mistake. Bro just ate literal crap. He instantly regrets all his life choices. Meanwhile, Chen already figured out they are standing on top of a massive underground toilet pit. He is totally baffled. Did some other primitive squad actually live out here and somehow level up their culture enough to invent actual functional plumbing, or is this just the abandoned spawn point of that giant boss? Chen tells Stonebone grab all that flint and bury the spots completely. Zero traces left behind. He also orders a bunch of new traps set up nearby. Plus, they need beacon towers up high and a rotating crew on lookout duty around the clock. Stonebone just yells in total confusion, what the heck is a beacon tower? He literally has no idea, but wait until you see the setup 4 days later. Chen takes a walk around the territory to check out their sick new housing setup. He figures this is step one toward actually living a good life. Mia suddenly sprints over, totally jump-scaring him. He practically begs Langu to help block her. Too late. Mia tackles Chen with full force, crushing him in a huge hug. She totally wrecks a house doing it. Langu frantically asks if Chen actually survived that impact. He yells at Mia to let go. Seeing him hurt, she squeezes even harder. She begs him not to die on her right after they built these goated new houses. Playtime is over. Chen wheezes out of breath, asking if the houses are actually done. Mia hypes up the work 2 full rows, making 10 houses total. Enough room for 50 people to chill. Chen is absolutely hyped hearing this. He gives her head pats for the hard work, but warns her to stop acting so reckless. Her punishment? Fixing the exact same house she just totally bodied. Next up on the list is checking their food stash and overall supply lines. Down by the river, the Bay Clan crew is having a blast just pulling in fish. Ao and a few of the girls are pitching in to dry the catch. Chen admits that compared to digging traps and doing heavy construction, the Bay Clan guys are definitely built different for river fishing. Having them on the team has massively upgraded the whole tribe's food situation in both variety and sheer amount. Langu gives Chen total props for leading them through this insane glow-up. It is basically their first time actually thriving. Chen takes the compliment, but admits out loud he feels kind of sketchy about the tricky methods he used to secure the Coconut Grove clan. He wonders how much darker his sneaky tactics might have to get later on. Langu tells Chen to stop overthinking and trust his own big brain moves. His word is literally absolute law here. Langu genuinely thinks their whole strategy was completely fine, because in this world, it is literally survival of the fittest. Tribes are constantly wiping each other off the map on a daily basis, so winning big with barely any casualties is basically true mercy for both sides involved. Chen just smiles hearing that kind of logic. He tells Langu that he already has the exact hardcore mindset they need to survive. Then Chen drags Langu along to go inspect how the new border defenses are shaping up. He bets the Bay Clan is holding on to even more wild surprises for them, like that super mysterious frogman force. We cut back to Stonebone and the guys grinding away on those traps and towers. Chen pulls up and asks him for a status update on the whole defensive layout. Stonebone reports that they followed orders perfectly. West, south, and north towers are fully up. Structures are done, but after assigning 6 people on guard duty to rotate through the shifts, They are running super low on manpower. Stonebone says they had to start grinding at dawn just to hit the deadline. Push hard on the mountain before sunset. Chen totally gets the staffing issue. Short on hands, he figures it is time to grind. From today on, him and Lang Chu are heading up the mountain. Gotta help out Stonebone. Though the guy literally tells Chen to chill, saying they have it totally covered. But Chen is not having it. This is crunch time, and they have to lock in and make every second count. Chen keeps wondering if the giant Stone Clan actually lived around here before. If so, they definitely know this map way better than his own crew does. He is stressing that if the enemy catches them lacking, they might just launch a whole other raid. Like a massive midnight ambush while everyone is busy working with Chen stuck right in the middle. Suddenly, he glances at the West Beacon Tower and gets a super sketchy vibe. Why is he getting paranoid? Maybe he just needs to touch some grass and chill. But get this, sudden screams echo all the way from the South Beacon Tower. Startled, he whips his head around. Yep, those are definitely distress signals going up. Chen yells at the top of his lungs. The South Tower is under attack. He tells everybody to hustle. Then he absolutely books it southward. His brain is going a mile a minute, even knowing the trap layouts and having an agility buff active. It is still going to take at least 5 minutes to reach the South Mountain. He just hopes things stay quiet for those 5 minutes. Meanwhile, at the South Tower, Hang Shi is patrolling when he spots sprung traps dangerously close to camp. How on earth did the bad guys sneak in this far? Hang Shi figures there might be a whole squad lurking nearby. He is sweating that they saw the firelight and are camping it for an ambush. So he decides to go full aggro, find these guys first, and strike hard. Hang Shi rushes straight at the suspicious noises, instantly thrusting out his spear. But the target is cracked. They deflect the thrust, forcing Hang Shi to dodge back. To his shock, this mysterious enemy instantly closes the gap, leaving him with zero reaction time, so he just throws up his arms in panic. Massive sigh of relief, though. The attacker stops, and it turns out to be Chen. Completely stunned, Hang Shi asks what Chen is even doing way down south. Chen cuts him off. Bro, zero time for lore right now. He demands to know exactly where the traps popped off. Hang Shi nods right away. He points out the triggered trap location, adding that he was the guy who lit up the beacon tower. Chen quickly tells Hang Shi to stay put and wait for the safe route squad. He orders him to guide them to that spot as backup. Chen pulls up to the triggered trap zone, but does not sense a single soul around. The silence is sketchy as hell, definitely no wild beast caught. Since the trap target is not yelling for help, Chen starts wondering if they really are alone. Or maybe they are just completely knocked out. Chen creeps over to check the trap, and his jaw drops. It is literally Lisa hanging there. He asks what she is even doing out here, since she is supposed to be healing up. Lisa gets absolutely tilted, demanding to know why he is just standing there yapping. Chen just smirks and decides to troll her by tickling her feet. Super frustrated, Lisa tells Chen to stop playing and get her down from this thing. Suddenly, they hear Hang Shi and his squad loudly pulling up. Lisa snaps at Chen, swearing that if anyone sees her hanging upside down like a noob, she will absolutely end them to keep it quiet. Chen instantly tenses up. He tells Lisa to hang tight while he stalls the incoming squad. Chen yells for his crew to back all the way up and stay put, warning them it was totally sketch, and they would literally drop dead getting closer. Stonebone looks totally lost, wondering if Chen just got jumped by an ambush. He asks the crew if they should rush in for a rescue. Hang is like, nah man, because based on how Chen is acting right now, the dude clearly was not taking an L at all. Hang guesses Chen is probably just hiding something he does not want them seeing. Stonebone points out he figured Chen was just chilling after that wild fight, noting that even the girls avoid them during bath time, making the vibe kinda weird, even if he cannot pinpoint why. Now watch this. Chen frees Lisa and just cracks up, teasing that he never expected her of all people to get totally caught lacking. But hey, at least the traps are goated now. Lisa just chuckles and adds that she never expected him to pull out so many weird little hacks. Chen then asks Lisa why she is out here touching grass in the dead of night. Lisa explains she was totally eavesdropping on some Bay Clan chatter earlier that evening. She caught 2 Bay Clan members hyping up the idea of how they really wanted to snag some fish, shrimp, or clams by the water to buff their stamina for the daily grind. But the path to the beach was totally walled off by this insane pack of rabid hyenas, making a fishing trip way too risky if they might just get ganked out there. Flashing back to the current moment, Lisa says she decided to sneak out and scout a safer route in the dark. Chen drops that he walks that path constantly, and there were 0 hyenas out there just 5 days ago. He bets somebody from the Bay Clan actually sneaked out recently, dragging those beasts right into their zone. Lisa immediately asks him if the Bay Clan was acting sketchy and suggests just wiping them out. Chen shuts that down, clarifying he definitely was not aiming for that. He is just stressing over the security flaws they completely missed until right now. Chen pitches setting up patrols, highlighting how critical it is to clear a path straight to the beach for safety. He says seafood is just a side quest. They absolutely need those dodo birds and eggs. He figures they could even start a salt field. You know him, the plan is locked. Come morning, they are wrecking those annoying hyenas. Lisa mentions she could easily handle organizing the patrols and hidden guards, but maybe Chen should hold off on fighting those hyenas and expanding their turf. Chen just smirks and asks if she's sweating over him. Lisa gets totally flustered and tells Chen not to gas himself up. She argues that with their low manpower, stretching the crew thin to defend two separate zones is basically throwing the game. Plus, that beach area has already been raided by the Giant Stone clan once. What if they pull up again? Chen counters that precisely because the Giant Stone clan already hit up that beach, it makes it super safe now. He explains their main base, the beach outpost, and the Giant Stone clan on the southwest mountain form this perfect triangle. Chen points out that as long as they keep the loot and intel flowing nicely between the beach spot and the main camp, they can back each other up perfectly. Lisa admits his big brain tactics go right over her head, but since he called it, so they agreed to just roll with it. Cut to a bit later. Hector, Chen, Langu, and the whole Bai clan squad are heading out. They pull up to where the kids supposedly saw the hyenas. Hector double checks. Are you sure they were right here on this path? Zero smell of blood anywhere. The kid swears up and down he saw those beasts like 2 days ago. One step forward and bam, a hyena jumps him. But Hector is basically goated. He counters instantly, saving the kid from getting totally wrecked. But hold on. They suddenly get completely boxed in by angry hyenas. But check this out. Langu tells Chen to stay frosty, but Chen just smirks, reassuring everyone that with the Bai clan backing them up, these overgrown mutts are basically zero threat. Anyway, Hector pitches a plan to Chen. He can handle the left side of the pack, leaving the entire right side to Chen. The brawl kicks off, and the Bai clan starts absolutely dunking on the hyenas. Chen figures this is the perfect time for him to see what the newbies are actually capable of. Out of nowhere, a hyena lunges, but Chen easily blocks it by just choking the beast out. Fast forward a bit, the squad completely wipes the hyenas. Hector complains that it just wasn't satisfying enough for him at all. Chen tells Hector to touch grass and keep pushing forward. Moving further, Hector mentions this was their old turf. Arriving at the exact spot, Chen tells everyone to check out the cliff, explaining that this is exactly where they are building the new outpost. He wants it super close to Cotter, the edge, and big enough for 20 people, with the main beacon tower built right on top. Chen adds that after the beacon tower is fully done, they have to set up a small salt evaporation field right by the base. He promises Hector he is sending a crew to help out, but makes it clear Hector has exactly 4 days to get it all done. Honestly, Chen totally feels like some foreman inspecting a job site, even though he is actually the one doing the heavy lifting himself. Before dipping out, Chen strictly orders them to immediately light a signal fire if things go south. We then skip ahead to 3 days later. Chen just crafted a sick wooden bow, scoring him 5 tech points in the system. Right then, Ao announces that Sam is back and has some serious news to drop. Chen hits up Sam, asking if he found any tribes to either team up with or totally conquer up north. Sam says he hiked north for over a day but saw 0 NPCs. But get this, he did find a lake and a snowy mountain pretty close by. And apparently there was some super weird creature chilling in the water. Sam admits that before he could even get a good look, the thing just sank straight to the bottom and vanished. Since that snowy mountain was even further ahead, he totally chickened out and headed right back. Chen just laughs it off, telling Sam it is all good and he still did a killer job. He jokes that he never expected Sam to be more terrified of snow mountains than the actual water monster. Literally shaking, Sam says the snow mountains are way too terrifying. He asks Chen if he seriously never heard the crazy lore. Chen asks what the big deal is. Suddenly, Ao grabs him in a hug, totally terrified. Chen asks Ao why she is so freaked out by some snow. Ao replies that the scary part is not the mountains, but the insane thing lurking right behind them. A literal giant. Chen tells Ao to chill because he is right there. Ain't no reason to sweat anything. Out of nowhere, Chen's system drops a sick new quest track down the giant. The reward? 1 free point. Chen is completely shook and wonders why he gets a point literally just for looking at it. Like, he almost died fighting off a saber-toothed tiger before just to bag 2 points. He figures the giant might honestly just be some tall dude, and creeping on it from afar should be perfectly safe, right? But then again, if these giants have a whole civilization going, they could become some goated allies. He still needs to play it safe. One dumb mistake means a team wipe. But there is zero chance he dumps this diplomacy quest on Sam and AU. Chen tells Sam to go touch grass and chill before the big banquet hits. Just kick back and vibe. Sam says thanks. Hyped, he finally gets a real break and does not have to fight a giant. Mayu chimes in too. Remember, Sam panics. Under pressure. But Chen says it is definitely not just basic nerves. Sam's danger radar is literally off the charts compared to everyone else, making him hypersensitive to bad vibes. That is why Sam can roam around freely and still come back alive. Chen then hits up IU about the party prep for the big ceremony. AU says everything is fully locked in. Chen tells AU to pack up survival gear for a 4-man squad since he is planning to drag a few guys along for a quick side quest. Hearing that, AU gets super tense, asking if the king going personally means extreme danger. Chen brushes it off. He is just exploring the neighborhood, so they need to chill and stop stressing. Just prep some snacks, water bottles, and cozy fits. He also drops a huge shout out to Skinny for cooking up those sick outfits. IU then asks when they are actually rolling out for this trip. Chen says since the ceremony drops in 2 days, they will bounce right after the afterparty. Fast forward 2 days, Chen is already flexing a brand new shield he crafted up. He explains it is made of hardwood and cowhide, keeping the weight super light. He adds that the whole squad can finally upgrade their trash gear now. Right then, AU slides in and tells Chen it is officially time for him to equip the royal fit. When Chen steps outside rocking that drip, the entire tribe goes absolutely wild celebrating. You gotta wonder though, is this partner ceremony literally just a normal wedding? Back in his old life, he was broke and grinding, but now he runs a tribe, loyal people, and an actual wife. It literally feels like a fever dream, but he finally feels like he belongs. Chen walks right up to Lisa and drops some heavy truth when he is away. From keyboard, the fate of the newbie tribe rests totally in her hands. He announces to the squad that from this second on, Lisa is officially the newbie tribe's queen. The crowd goes crazy for their royalty, and the vibe gets heavy. Mia straight up balls, saying she hates seeing anyone else stand next to the king, but the scene is just beautiful. Once the party wraps up and night falls, everybody logs off and heads to sleep. Chen breathes a massive sigh of relief that no villains crashed the day. IU walks right up to Chen with a smirk and drops the hint Queen Lisa is waiting in the palace, basically telling him, so he should probably check on her first. Chen actually blushes hearing Lisa is waiting up for him, but that warm feeling immediately drops. He remembers her literal love language involves a literal whip. Still, he heads toward the palace anyway, low-key hyped about the possibility of something spicy waiting. Mustering his courage, Chen pushes the door open and announces he's finally back home. But catching her furious glare and the heavy vibe in the room, Chen starts sweating bullets. He seriously wonders if this is exactly what impending doom feels like. Lisa glares at him. She says she will give him one single chance to explain himself. Super tense, Chen asks what she wants him to say. Lisa stands up, pulls out the whip, and asks if he is still going to play totally dumb. Completely terrified now, Chen begs Lisa to please take it easy. It is literally their wedding night. Deep down, he hardcore regrets upgrading her weapon. Lisa snaps back, asking if he was in a massive rush to ditch her by going on a road trip right after the ceremony. Hearing that, Chen actually breathes a massive sigh of relief. He tells Lisa to chill so he can explain everything. He drops his master plan. Lisa stops him, asking to confirm one detail. Is his big brain idea actually to convince the giants to fight the Giant Stone clan? Chen admits he is not totally sure about convincing those absolute units, so he wants to bring 3 extra people as his backup squad. He stresses that the actual purpose behind this whole trip must stay strictly under wraps. Plus, he is super confused about why Sam and Ian seem so terrified of the giants. Catching on, Lisa asks if it would not just be way better for her to tag along. Chen drops a hard note, explaining that one of them has to stay back and run the tribe, and besides, she has way more important stuff to handle here. Lisa immediately asks what that is. Chen pulls out a stone sling, telling her he will absolutely show her how to use it later. He explains his plan. He needs her to train an entire stone sling squad before he returns. Cut to the very next morning. Chen is already heading out toward the giant territory, rolling up with Hang Shu, Hector, and Tina. He is singing peacefully, but Ayun is glaring holes right through him. Chen gets totally spooked. He wonders if Ayun is trailing behind on purpose, trying to find the perfect opening to jump him all over again. But Chen is completely helpless here, because this was Lisa's exact demand. Now watch how this went down last night. Chen tried flirting with Lisa, but she yelled right back, telling him to quit playing games. She then asked why he ignored the Coconut Grove clan or the Bay clan, since he really needed to drag 3 people along. Chen fired back that Hector was a lock because he watched Hector absolutely dominate in combat, and the beach outpost would safely be left in Stonebone's hands. Lisa did not care about his roster, but she totally insisted Ayun had to join the party. She told him that Ayun being there was the only way she would chill. Getting super close, Lisa promised she had already taught Ayun a completely brutal lesson for that last stunt. He had nothing to stress over. Flashback to the faction the One is Men. Present time, Chen is still wildly stressed. 0% chill with Ayun stalking right behind him. Now, Chen is basically clinging to Hang Shu, praying that if things go totally sideways, only Hang Shu could save him. Hang Shu mentions feeling like someone is hardcore creeping on them, but then shrugs it off, guessing it is probably just his own paranoia. Hector then taps Chen, asking if he sees the huge lake ahead. Chen says, yep, pointing out that Sam gave him the heads up earlier. Hector cracks up, guessing Sam totally saw that giant too, because as a kid, Hector saw it swallow an entire leopard whole in one blink. Hector admits his childhood survival was just pure luck, but this time around, he is genuinely hyped for a real rematch against that massive lake beast. Chen is absolutely speechless, surviving that thing is barely lucky. He tells Hector straight up that basic mobs like that lake creature do not faze him. A boss-tier threat like giants would be way more hyped. Hang Shi instantly panics at this, desperately begging Chen to touch grass and stop jinxing them. Chen waves it off as a casual joke. Are these giant dudes actually real? Wanggu chimes in before joining the king. His tribe had over 30 members. Then a giant crashed the party, completely wrecking the clan and forcing everyone to scatter. Even though Wanggu was super young back then, that absolute nightmare fuel is burned into the memories of every single survivor. Chen finally gets why Sam and Ao are literally shaking just hearing the word giant. Hector sharply cuts their conversation off, warning the squad to stay away from those sus fruits. He ate them young and suffered heavily for that new mistake. Chen runs a quick system scan, fully confirming that these fruits are straight-up toxic plants. Chen wonders if these random unfamiliar plants are goated loot. He orders the system to scan everything. Turns out every single leaf packs massive healing buffs. He is totally shook this entire forest is basically one giant open-world pharmacy. Then he spots something totally familiar. A quick check reveals it is literal cereal grass. He is totally hyped to score grain seeds, unlocking a massive side quest to mass-produce different crops, all successfully farmed within a strict 180-day limit. Check this out. Chen realizes that the squad is finally about to step into their legendary farming era. Finding clay means they can finally cook and craft potions. Since this cereal grass is not fully mature yet, he decides to backtrack later for the harvest. Right then, Chen catches a weird vibe, definitely not Tina, projecting aggro. Hang Shi points, and Chen locks in, expecting an ambush. Instead, he just discovers this super strong fibrous leaf that is absolutely perfect for crafting ropes, fresh fabrics, or even paper. He totally hypes Hang Shi up, knowing this means massive new gear upgrades. But Hang Shi quickly clarifies he meant something else entirely. He means that sound behind the bushes. Chen glances over, completely caught off guard as a wild hyena steps out of stealth. He realizes these mobs have been tracking them since minute 1. That earlier stalker vibe was definitely from this pack. You know what this means? These beasts are totally back for pure revenge. Chen tells the crew to stop playing passive. It is officially time to wipe this threat completely off the map. The brawl kicks off, and Hector goes rage mode, absolutely ready to body these mutts today. Ao is suddenly in massive danger as 3 hyenas jump her. Hector casually flexes, swooping right in. He tells her to skip the thanks, protecting the team is his job. Out of nowhere, the pack starts retreating. Hector just laughs, calling them absolute cowards for tapping out early. But Chen yells out. He screams at them not to let the pack escape now. Sick of getting jumped on repeat, the squad decides to chase those hyenas down. But Chen instantly clocks a major problem. Even with that sweet +2 agility buff activated, he can barely match their speed. This whole pursuit is totally useless. But here is the thing about this forest silence is deadly. He whips around and totally panics seeing Ayun snatched up by some wild, unknown plant monster. Chen scans the weird thing, and the system quickly spits out an identification, a Crimson King flower. This massive weed basically spits highly toxic slime right out of its center core, hunting any local animals for a quick snack. Chen is absolutely losing it, realizing this is straight up a man-eating flower. First, they fought those goated saber-toothed tigers, then literal giants, and now this? Bro is completely stressed out, realizing they are drifting way off from whatever primitive age logic he thought he knew. Ayun struggles with her bone knife, but it slips right out of her hand, dropping into the flower's mouth, and instantly melts away. Game over. The crew is stunned. Chen yells at Hanga and Hector, "Why are you guys just standing around like statues? Get over there and save Ayun." Hanga yells back they're definitely not just refusing to help. The creepy plant actually has those two completely locked down. Chen frantically starts hacking at those thick vines, screaming at Ayun to just hang on, until he can actually reach her. Ayun yells back, begging Chen to totally forget about her. She wants him to save Hector and Hanga and just run for it. But before Chen gets close, that man eating flour completely swallows her up. Chen goes into full rage mode, deciding he at least has to rescue Hector and Hanga right now. Think it couldn't get worse? Wrong. Hyenas ambush them. Hector actually comes in clutch here, tossing something massive to physically knock the pack back. He screams at Chen to stay away, warning him this is a literal trap by the hyenas. Hanga tells Chen to bolt, swearing he can make it out solo, and they will totally stall these wild hyenas for him for as long as possible. Meanwhile, Chen just keeps fighting those crazy thick vines, realizing they are actually pretty slow, but the hyenas are totally exploiting his divided attention right now. Suddenly, he notices they are near some dead trees. Taking a massive gamble, Chen whips out his flint and sparks it against the wood, lighting a fire. Because honestly, there is no monster out there that a good old barbecue cannot fix. The vines instantly catch fire, and Chen somehow rips Ayun right out of the mouth of that horrific man-eating plant. Once Ayun is free, Chen frantically asks if she's okay and if she can still walk, stressing that their time is completely running out since they still gotta rescue Hanga. Ayun's outfit got totally wrecked from the chaos of the fight, so Chen lends her his royal robes to cover up. With everyone finally safe, the squad starts sprinting away. Chen keeps tossing flintstones at the trees, lighting them all up instantly, ensuring they won't have to stress about hyenas sneaking up from behind. Suddenly, Chen spots a river ahead. He hypes everyone up to keep pushing forward and just dive into the water for safety. But one super persistent hyena is still tracking Ayun and is about to strike. Seeing Ayun in extreme danger again, Chen yells at her to watch her back and sprints over to pull off a save. He takes the hyena's aggro head-on but actually manages to block its vicious lunge. Hector and Hanga are completely panicking now. Chen frantically barks orders at the team to run away because the flames are spreading fast. He promises he is right behind them, though he is low-key sweating about outlasting this wild hyena. Right before the flames catch them, an arrow flies out of nowhere and absolutely snipes the hyena. Instant knockout. Chen whips around to see who exactly hit that crazy shot. Plot twist, it is Tina. Her archery talent literally just popped off and activated. Chen asks Ayun if she knows how to use a bow, and she replies that she straight up learned just by watching him. Then she explains that she rolled her ankle hard. Her stamina is totally drained, and she cannot escape alone, telling the squad to just ditch her. Chen yells at her, totally dismissing that absolute garbage idea. He tosses her onto his back and starts booking it. Hector tells Chen to step on it because they are basically cooked. He asks Hangu if he wants to move faster, suggesting the big guy could just carry him with his strength. Hangu hits him with a hard no. While Chen is sprinting, Ayun suddenly drops that she was totally planning to accuse him right now, asking if he actually orchestrated the wild bull attack on the Coconut Grove clan. Chen asks why she would even think that. Ayun fires back that she already knew he was going to play dumb. She points out that on the exact day those bulls invaded their turf, they were somehow already injured, but their clan weapons could not even scratch that thick bull hide. So who did the damage? Chen's crew looks super goated at handling those bulls, which made him look incredibly sus, but she knows just having a gut feeling is not going to convince the queen, hence her low-key attempt to assassinate him. Ayun presses her bone knife right to Chen's throat, asking if she strikes now, he is completely defenseless, right? Or he could just dump her in the roaring fire and cancel out his problem permanently. Chen just tells her to hold on tight since they are finally nearing the edge, promising she can deal with him later, however she wants. Ayun agrees to bench the beef for now, but promises to watch him like a hawk. She warns that if he ever backstabs Lisa or the Coconut Grove clan, she will end him. Chen asks if they are good, then takes the deal. Ayun gets super salty that Chen is acting this stubborn and still denying everything. They finally leap into the water, escaping the literal firewall. Right at that exact moment, Chen realizes that with two of his party members completely out of commission, they have to put a pin in their giant hunt. He tells the whole squad to fall back to the spot where they found those plants, because they are definitely going to need more medicinal herbs. Fast forward a bit and we see Hanga looking super relieved after applying the healing herbs, feeling zero pain at all. Chen tells Hangu and Ayun to chill and recover, while he and Hector go grind for more plants. While they are out there farming for herbs, Hector suddenly catches the strong scent of hyenas and wonders if it rubbed off on him during the brawl. Out of nowhere, Chen spots these baby hyenas right in front of them. It suddenly clicks the adults were not out for revenge, they were just guarding their pups. Instead of stressing, Chen spots a crazy opportunity to tame these beasts into hunting dogs and happily takes the quest. As they are packing up to leave, a massive roar absolutely jump scares them. Ayun asks what on earth that noise is. Chen recognizes it immediately and freezes, thinking, their RNG cannot possibly be this bad. A massive bear stomps out from the trees, prompting Hanggu to scream that it is a literal man-eating bear. Chen quickly calculates their options. With 2 injured teammates, outrunning this thing is basically impossible. He tells everyone to fan out and fall back while he draws the aggro. Hector and Anne try to push back, but Chen barks at them to fall in line. He tells them straight up they're just dead weight right now. This is a one-shot survival deal. They need to do exactly what he says. Chen orders Hector to drag On and Hangshir to a safe zone. While the squad totally bails, Chen squares up with the bear. Just him and the absolute beast. He throws the first crazy punch. The bear claps back hard, launching Chen backward and dealing some decent chip damage. Hector starts totally freaking out. He tells Hangshir and On to grab the little hyenas and dip. He wants to jump in and back up the king, but Hangshir yells, "Do not interfere." He already knows Chen is totally goated. Nobody is taking down their guy that easily. Sticking around just nerfs Chen. Hangshir says they should actually follow orders and run away. Chen realizes that previous hit definitely pulled all the bear aggro. Time to kite this absolute unit away and then ghost it. Chen totally taunts the huge animal into charging. The second it takes the bait, he sprints off completely fast, leading it far from his whole squad. Once he builds decent spacing, Chen sees Hector and the crew are finally clear. Now he just needs to lose the bear and totally bounce. Out of nowhere, something violently jumps him from behind. Chen perfectly dodges the strike and wonders who is trying to totally grief him now. Maybe some oversized rat monster? Major plot twist. Check this out. It is the exact same saber-toothed tiger he fought on day 1 of this crazy world. Even the giant cat looks completely shook to see him again. This awkward reunion gets totally ruined when the bear crashes the party. Chen is caught in a seriously sick trap. Taking on both these heavyweights at once is practically a guaranteed wipe. He seriously debates popping his huge Pangu power-up, but using that ultimate move basically drains his energy bar. He could literally black out for days from the cooldown. Plus, even if he somehow clutches up against both the tiger and the bear, the huge stone clan could totally third-party him while he is vulnerable. That means instant death. Both beasts lunge for the kill, and Chen desperately tries to juke them both, hoping they actually pull aggro on each other instead. Suddenly, his system screen flashes red and triggers emergency escape mode. This sick buff grants 20 extra agility points, converting pure strength into hardcore stamina for 600 seconds. The real catch here? Watch closely. Once it ends, 33% of his core stats get permanently nerfed forever. The exact second it activates, Chen feels a completely different, insane energy spike. He instantly launches straight up into the sky, totally dodging both hits, making the massive bear and tiger crash right into each other perfectly. Chen is absolutely hyped over this weightless feeling and insane explosive speed, but the two wild monsters stay totally locked on. Chen starts sweating and hits the gas immediately. Seriously, why are they not just fighting each other right now? He eventually drops their aggro completely. Chen actually feels a bit bummed out. That escape hack was super overpowered, but the permanent stat penalty is way too brutal. Chen notices he actually sprinted all the way up the whole snowy mountain. He might as well use the rest of his buff timer to hunt for the giant. He completely clears massive ground with just a single heavily busted leap. Honestly glad this wild system hack saved him from trekking through that miserable deep snow. Hitting the very peak, he spots a figure wondering if this is the legendary giant. After spotting that massive figure, his system chimes in task totally cleared, free loot acquired. But hold up, now he gets slapped with phase 2 of this quest, attack the actual giant for 10 stat points. Catching sight of that insane prompt, Chen absolutely loses it. Is this system completely bugged out? Out of nowhere, one of the giant's pets catches his scent, forcing Chen into hiding. Still, those 10 stat points look incredibly juicy. He figures he might as well risk it. Sprinting at top speed, he scoops up a random rock and chucks it at the behemoth. The tiny rock eventually connects, but it does absolutely 0 damage. The giant boss monster literally does not feel a thing, but the pet definitely spots it. It starts growling, knowing something incredibly sus is happening. Chen gets super hyped as the task actually completes, and he bags those 10 sweet attribute points. But wait for it, the system immediately drops phase 3 on him. Solo the actual giant boss by himself to score a massive 100 attribute points. Chen is so conflicted right now, that kind of insane reward is just totally tempting, literally a total game changer. He seriously debates going for it. But while he's weighing his odds, the boss gets super annoyed by its pets aggressively growling. It slams the ground hard, ordering them all to shut up. That impact sends snow flying everywhere, totally burying our guy. The shockwave knocks his senses out completely. A brutal reality check about this monster's sick power. He mutters under his breath, even 10,000 points would not be worth throwing his life away for. Fast forward a couple days to the evening, back at the newbie clan base. Lisa checks in with her Coconut Grove clan girls, asking if they spotted anything on their night watch. The girls apologize, admitting they came up totally empty. Lisa orders the Coconut Grove squad to widen their search grid and keep looking. On suggests bracing for the worst, guessing Chen is already dead. That sets Lisa off. She snaps at On to shut it, reminding her Chen risked everything for them. Right then, a Bay Clan kid runs up, screaming that their king is finally back. The second Chen hits the territory, the whole crowd swarms him, totally stressed out. Mia rushes over and spots him with Aun. She demands to know why she never lit the beacon, to ping them earlier, so the squad could have pulled off a rescue way sooner. On shoots back that King Chen literally ordered them to keep his return super low-key. Right on cue, Lisa pushes through, yelling at the mob to stop suffocating Chen and let the man get some actual rest. She grabs a hold of him, ordering the entire crowd to get back to their stations. She flat out claims she will be looking after Chen for now, but drops a heavy threat. If anyone leaks this intel, they are totally done for. The crowd immediately backs down. Inside the house, Chen mentions how hyped he is that Sam made it back alive. Completely shocked, they managed to score some wild hyena cubs too. He tells Lisa to let Sam raise those cubs, since that dude is definitely gonna need some serious backup for his solo runs later on. Lisa gets heated, telling Chen to just worry about himself. Being a goated fighter does not mean he can ignore his own health. Chen brushes it off, saying his injuries are super minor and he just needs to crash for a bit. But first, he has to handle clan business. Lisa props her leg right on his stomach and slowly slides it down. She says, fine, she will let Sam know. But she reminds Chen he is the absolute king of this tribe and seriously needs to stop soloing every single task. Plus, she definitely does not want to lose her man. Then she aggressively stomps right on his sensitive zone, making Chen tense up and beg her to back off. Lisa finally moves her leg, telling him to just chill out and rest. Chen is completely shook, realizing right then that his girl is getting way too dominating. Walking outside, Lang Gu immediately asks her about a Polish Chen and his health. Lisa shoots back that he is totally fine but needs downtime, so she bans anyone from bothering him. Back inside, Chen pulls up his glowing system screen. He is absolutely hyped to see a net gain of 10 attribute points after losing 4. Totally goated trip in his book. But here's the thing, rocking high strength with 0 agility is a death sentence in clutch moments, so boosting agility is his top priority for survival. He dumps points into agility first, and the system flashes agility hits 5 points, locking in at a major threshold. Now, 2. Push it any higher, the cost literally doubles. Chen sits back and starts wondering if dropping double points to push agility up to 10 would just trigger another crazy threshold. If the required cost doubles again, and then just keeps quadruple, you do the math, hitting 22 points in agility is going to be incredibly tough. He starts guessing there might be a hard cap for everything. To test it, he decides to max out everything to its threshold first. Chen pumps up his strength stat and immediately feels an insane rush, like his body is about to explode. His shoes and pants literally rip apart as his muscles get ridiculously huge. He realizes he only has 2 attributes left to max out before hitting their absolute limits. Totally wiped, Chen crashes on the bed. He figures he should drop his next points, right into stamina, bumping it up to the threshold. After that, he passes out. Fast forward a bit. Everything in the newbie territory is running super smoothly. Out in the field, Lisa is schooling everyone on how to use a basic slingshot. She flexes with a trial run, hitting 6 targets, grazing 1 and only missing a single shot. Out of nowhere, Chen strolls up, hyping their sick progress, despite it literally being their first try. Seeing him, Lisa gets furious, demanding what he's doing outside when she strictly ordered him to rest. Chen claims he is 100% fit and fine, but catch this, Lisa clocks his brand new pants, instantly assuming he was with another girl, getting ready to absolutely wreck him. Chen panics, explaining that it was just his massive stat boost tearing up his old clothes, literally begging her to let the whole thing slide. Lisa cools off and reports the Slinger team is officially formed, but it will take a minute for them to actually get good. Chen asks how Hang Shu and An are holding up, wondering if they bounced back from their injuries yet. Lisa shares that Hang Shu hated resting and feeling like dead weight to the tribe, so he actually headed down to the south post to guard the beacon. She also sent An to run food and water to him, meaning Hang Shu is totally covered. Lisa then admits she is honestly way more worried about An right now. Her injuries were not as bad, but maybe because she yelled at her earlier. An has been extremely salty all day. Chen tells Lisa straight up that An cares about her a ton and silently tanks all that stress, so Lisa really should treat her a little better. Chen then announces he's going back to snooze, because in a Few days, he has to trek north and harvest all those precious millet plants. Meanwhile, Chen keeps cooking up fresh inventions. The scene flashes forward exactly 4 days. The guy preps a number chart from 1 to 9, completely ready to teach his. Try basic addition and subtraction. This gets him 20 attribute points, just for inventing written language and numbers. Now look, his system. It's a total of 100 tech points, instantly unlocking a brand new shop feature. This new store lets him trade those points for seriously useful tools and heritage plaques, but 0 refunds allowed. Choose wisely. A massive list of sick items and rare resources pops up. He can buy all this with tech points. Honestly, he is hyped out of his mind. Chen carefully scans through absolutely everything on the screen and finally locks in his very first purchase. What exactly is he going to cop first with his hard-earned points? Plus, with major beef brewing against the Giant Stone clan and rising tension with Tina, things are definitely about to get super wild real soon. We will definitely see how all that crazy drama ends up playing out on the battlefield. Anyway, back to the shop. Chen checks the massive inventory and drops 30 tech points on a standard iron cauldron. Absolute steal. Honestly, not only is this thing literally perfect for cooking up some really massive meals, but it is made of solid iron. Just strap that bad boy to your back, instant armor. Tie it to your forearm, you get a solid shield. But wait, the absolute best part, you can smack enemies with it during clutch moments. Our boy is so hyped about his purchase, he completely ignores the loud clanging noises. Hearing the insane racket, Lang gets low-key worried about his king's safety, deciding to immediately rush inside and check things out. There, he spots the most bizarre happy dance he has ever seen, totally baffling the poor guy. Panicking hard, our guy Chen quickly claims he is just communicating with the ancient gods and spirits. Yeah, sure, bro. Anyway, time to actually use this giant pot properly. He digs a fire pit entirely by hand, setting up a proper smoke vent and a secure spot for firewood. Right now, he just needs to light the whole thing up and boil some water. Wildly enough, the system counts this basic setup as major progress, handing over 10 more tech points. Absolute W. Back in his old life, Chen actually learned a ton of stuff from his favorite university professor. Except, he never expected to actually use that specific knowledge out here in the wild. With water boiling, Chen tosses in the main ingredients, basically fresh seafood pulled straight out of the nearby ocean. Time for fish soup. While he stirs the pot, the system drops another 10 points for inventing a brand new cooking method. Today, this meal is about to hit completely different. Suddenly, Stonebone runs in with some pretty awesome news. They finally extracted pure salt by evaporating seawater out on the new salt fields. More points secured. Adding that fresh seasoning makes a massive difference, literally leveling up the soup flavor immensely. As a reward, Chen generously lets him be the very first guy to officially taste test it before sending him right back to his daily grind. Those 100 points he blew on the shop early on already earned back. Honestly, this is the most goated return on investment he's ever made in a hot minute. After tasting it, Chen orders Liu Tang to grab the entire tribe BYOB style, bring your own bowls. For them, it is officially the very first time eating a fish dish this sick, leaving the whole squad absolutely mind-blown. Mind-blowing new flavors. Luckily, the food supply was absolutely stacked, so everyone copped a second serving. Take Mia, for example. Homegirl already demolished 2 massive bowls of soup and was still craving more. But Ao started low-key stressing that some people might actually go hungry tonight. Chen stepped in to chill her out. Trust me, he promised there was plenty of grub. Even if they ran out, he could just whip up another batch. He had to cook more anyway. The night shift guards and patrol crew needed a hot meal too. Those boys at the outpost definitely deserved a decent bite. So he planned on delivering a massive bowl of that epic fish soup to them himself later this week. He honestly loved dropping new knowledge on the tribe. Seeing them totally hyped made his day. That is exactly why he made a vow to teach them all how to rock wooden chopsticks. Time to eat that roast beef like actual civilized legends. Meanwhile, while the whole crew was busy destroying their plates, Chen popped open the tech shop menu to find something completely broken. He was sitting on a clean 100 tech points. Totally the right time to cash out for an upgrade. Math and farming stoves were useless right now. He instantly wiped those trash options straight off his wish list. But to actually get crops growing, he desperately needed some high-tier seeds. Something his squad had 0 luck finding out in the wild. Of course, right then he got interrupted. A scout pulled up saying a trap just snapped up north. 0 footprints or signs of enemy players anywhere near it. So the most logical bet was a random wild beast, and it might still be kicking. Lisa popping up out of nowhere startled our boy, but her savage energy immediately handled the situation. She barked at the guards to stop bothering the king with noob quests and just execute the animal. She was low-key salty that Chen was too busy grinding to pay attention to her, so she crashed the meeting. Right now, he had to focus on base building. He swore he would discover some insane new upgrades this time, taking the whole tribe to the next level. He kissed her just to prove his absolute loyalty. That left her completely flustered. Then he instantly pivoted his attention back to that trapped mob. Killing it was a waste of XP. Taming it was the real meta. He dumped the busy work on Lisa. The nettles Hanger gathered the other day were already gone. They seriously needed to farm up another batch. But the ultimate goal was finding that precious millet. Those grains were the literal key to starting their farming empire. Walking over to the trap zone, Chen kept his eyes peeled for seeds. But his loot drop was 0. They finally rolled up to the spot. But the area around the snared beast was just way too quiet. Now get this, looking down inside the pit, they were completely stunned. A minute ago, this thing was screaming its lungs out for backup. Now it was just growling through the pain. A spike went straight through its leg. It was just another hyena out here looking for an easy snack. Taking a closer look, she had the heavy build of a mother pig. Sam had an insanely sharp nose for milk. One sniff and he knew right away she was actively nursing cubs. 10 to 1, this was the mom of those exact hyena pups. Feeling bad for the little guys, Chen actually tried climbing down into the pit, completely ignoring those razor-sharp claws waiting at the bottom. They lassoed her up with a thick rope and yanked her right out. That nasty wound zapped all her fight. She basically turned into a chill pet dog. Now Sam was on babysitting duty. Our main guy ordered Sam to keep her alive and properly fed. That was not going to be easy. Those other captured cubs were already straight up refusing to touch his cooked meat. So yeah, figuring out mom's diet was a total bust. Sam tried feeding them everything, but these pups just got skinnier and weaker every single day. Exactly like Chen guessed, raising literal wild hyena babies was definitely not some walk in the park. But catching their mom in a trap, that is totally their lifesaver right here. Once they hit base, our guy ordered them to tie up the adult hyena tight, feed her meat, then drop her with the babies. That alone should totally clutch up and save them. With that done, Sam bounced straight back home. Our hero was just hoping these wild beasts would chill out, not wreck their home, and actually let themselves get tamed. Next up, Chen sent his warrior off to check on all the remaining traps. Meanwhile, he and the rest of the squad pushed way further up north. Moving deeper meant dodging more wild animals, but luckily, his big brain plan actually worked. They scored a fat patch of wild millet that was perfectly ripe and ready. If they slacked off for another couple days, they would have completely missed the entire harvest. Talk about god-tier RNG. Plus, they still had a ton of daylight left on the clock before heading back home, so our MC decided to start farming some rare medicinal herbs. Watch closely, this was literally shaping up to be their most cracked loot run ever, bagging tons of resources right before nightfall. But here is the catch: once dusk hits, the heavy hitters wake up. Chen instantly recognized that deafening bear roar, so he ordered the entire squad to dive into the bushes. The whole crew shut up real fast, trying desperately to stay stealthy. But this absolute unit was just way too fast, closing the gap in a split second. Sure, things were looking totally sketchy right now. They could have just dumped all that heavy millet and herbs to make a quick getaway, but Chen hard vetoed that. No way he was trashing all that god-tier loot, so he ordered everyone to just camp out. Nobody dared to argue with his call on this, but they all crouched into positions ready to book it at maximum speed if things went south. For these guys, survival was literally the only thing that mattered. Our MC found their awkward stances hilarious and almost burst out laughing. But let us not forget, this massive bear roaming around their turf might just be an old enemy of theirs. Too bad the squad let their guard down the second that roaring finally chilled out. They started yapping and asking super dumb questions, annoying Chen. To shut them up, the boss literally threatened to chuck them into the raging bear's jaws himself if it spun around because of their noise. Sadly, the beast actually heard his threat. It whipped right back toward them. The thing was completely raging out, smashing into trees left and right, totally staggering on its paws and wiping out constantly. It looked like it took some massive damage earlier and was just absolutely losing its mind. So Stonebone just casually suggested they grab it for a free dinner. Turns out, they were not the only squad with that exact same idea. Hearing some wild shouting, the bear suddenly snapped up and started booking it away from the hunters in the opposite direction. And guess what? The ones chasing it were Mountain Tribe guys. The exact same dudes Hector was desperate to fold. Seeing red, he leaped straight out the bushes and charged right at them. Going total aggro like that, Hector basically almost exposed their whole stealth operation, but Chen instantly yanked him back into the heavy brush. A huge rustle gave them away as they of those Mountain Tribe guys. Lucky for them, those dudes did not sweat the small stuff, ignoring the noise to focus on their prey. Hector, though, he was still completely tilted. You've got to understand Chen's logic here. He had a perfect opening for payback, but he had to hold back. Right here, he absolutely cannot afford to let pure rage hijack his brain. The enemy numbers are totally overwhelming, so rushing in is basically suicide. Chen's only real edge right now is that the enemy is sitting wide open while our guys hide. Even if Hector is completely hyped up to fight, he has to wait for the perfect opening. So for now, he just follows whatever Chen says. Meanwhile, the bear is completely gassed out and collapses right in the dirt. The guy chasing it, zero hesitation. He starts trash-talking the beast. This guy keeps shoving the poor thing, forcing it to stand up over and over. But the mountain tribe leader isn't having this clown behavior. This bear ate tainted meat spiked with toxic white flowers, plus a nasty gut wound. Honestly, it is wild that the thing managed to run this far at all. So it totally earned a clean death. Tormenting it is just a super garbage move. So the bully gets slammed straight into a tree. The chief orders everyone back away from the center. He decides to give the bear a fast but absolutely brutal finish. To get it done, he pulls out this sick obsidian blade crafted straight out of volcanic glass. Meanwhile, this whole setup gives Chen a huge clue. Most primitive guys wouldn't even think about slipping poison into bait, so their big brain energy actually surprises him. But the system totally vetoes the execution. It orders Chen to rescue the beast, forcing our guy to risk everything and literally declare war on the mountain tribe. Saving a bear that just tried to pack him up seems completely insane. However, the system knew Chen would be salty. Skipping a super rare quest like this, it would vanish forever. The system makes absolutely sure Chen cannot even second-guess this. He clicks accept, taking a massive, reckless gamble. He mentally drops every swear word in the book as he rushes the target. All that pure rage actually gives him the burst to block that obsidian blade just by dropping in. Dude completely ruins the flex the leader was trying to pull on his guys. Chen's squad just flat-out steals their path kill. Huge mistake. Puts a massive target on their backs. Chen decides to trust the crazy system logic, praying this furry tank is actually worth the headache. Right after he clicks yes, a side quest pops up. The beast is drugged up on cheap poison and bleeding out fast. All Chen has to do right now is patch the gut wound and flush out the condor. Toxins within 10 minutes. Otherwise, game over. Chen honestly forgot the poison detail when he grabbed the quest. Trying to process this mess, he realizes the goal is just saving the bear, not starting a full-on war with these mountain dudes. He knows throwing hands right now is an awful idea against this many guys, but he has zero time to sit down and talk out a peaceful trade. Meanwhile, the enemy chief totally recognizes our boy who was just hanging with the Sea tribe. The chief's massive disrespect completely triggers Hector, a guy whose name the leader totally forgot. Hector is basically grinding his teeth here, just begging for the green light to swing. But Chen completely ignores their whole argument. He's way too busy stressing over system pop-ups, which are spamming massive penalty warnings if he fails. Certain parts of his body, the parts responsible for reproduction, would straight up shrink by half. Totally brutal. Even for a goated system, that is foul. Chen immediately pictured Lisa ditching him, leaving him totally alone with all this harvested millet. Bro refused to end his legendary run like that, so he just snapped. Flexing his insane stats on the haters, our boy Chen was totally ready to risk it all to save this giant beast, but he refused to drag his squad down, telling them to just stay safe. With that said, the whole squad jumped into the brawl. Everyone guarded Chen while he frantically healed the bear. Miraculously, he actually stopped the massive bleeding in under 60 seconds, but the real madness was only just kicking off. Next up was clearing out a poison he had literally never seen before. The beast's survival was entirely on his shoulders, and without him out there throwing hands, his crew started taking massive L's. This clash could easily turn fatal for someone. Everyone was already rocking heavy damage that totally nerfed their attack power, but they were completely locked in, holding the line so Chen could do his thing. Out of nowhere, the mountain tribe leader called off the assault. The dude was actually vibing with Chen's squad. For some random homeless players who just partied up, they held their own. As a reward for not folding, he offered to play nice and spare them on one condition: just walk away. But Hector was not about to take an L. He was absolutely thirsting for payback and wanted to settle the beef right then and there. He talked big, saying they were barely warmed up, and despite the late hour, their stamina was maxed. They hyped themselves up to bluff the enemy and keep Chen focused on the detox. The system timer for this crazy heal quest was dropping way too fast. Chen only had 6 minutes left on the clock, completely clueless about curing this weird venom. No matter their trash talk, our MC noticed even Stonebone was practically falling over. If they kept pushing, this quest was going to totally flop. Deep down, he swore the system was basically trolling him right now, but to survive this mess, he was willing to look like an absolute clown. Meanwhile, the enemy boss took the rejection like a champ and dramatically dropped his knee. He packed some serious kinetic energy into it, and when his foot slammed down, he spawned an AoE shockwave that was off the charts. Nobody expected a move that broken, so the whole squad just froze up, totally paralyzed on how to counter it. Thankfully, Chen tanked the hit, completely destroying his own weapon to save them. He aggressively shattered the force and kicked up a massive smokescreen of dust. He really did not want smoke with these guys, but stepping up was his only play right now. This completely grabbed the chief's attention. Now the boss demanded to know which clan was actually crazy enough to stand their ground. He had totally written them off as some random noobs, but bro was dead wrong about that. Ganging up on a tiny squad with a whole army just was not his style, so the second he got his answer, he backed off and told them to walk. Instead, he promised to run it back with Chen later, strictly keeping the team sizes completely even for a fair fight. Right now, the mountain boss was actually super hyped, they crossed paths, so he honorably dipped out, dragging all his injured fighters along. Even that one idiot he literally launched into a tree for trash-talking the bear. That guy was completely wrecked, forcing the others to carry him. So our squad of total rookies, led by our MC, miraculously dodged a complete wipeout. Now they just had to figure out this final issue here is just getting that nasty poison out of the bear. The poor thing is going through absolute agony. While Chen patches up the beast, the mountain tribe is completely lost. Why did their chief just give up the loot? His vibe was way off, but lacking ginseng perfectly explains the sudden retreat. They rely on that plant to heavily buff up. Plus, the magic buff from their sorcerer is completely running on fumes. Chen is no joke, since he easily blocked a punch carrying 70% of the chief's max attack power. Checking out our boy looking totally chill, the leader knows Chen is hiding something crazy. Not to mention, his weapons look sick and way too high level for a rookie squad. Staring at that obsidian blade, the chief swears to go totally all out next time. Back at the camp, Chen checks in with his squad. Tough luck though, nobody knows how to cure this specific toxin, so they just watch. A few guys finally speak up. Why even bother saving this wild animal? To them, this thing is literally just free experience they just risked their necks for. There is zero time for a lore dump right now. All they need to grasp is that this bear is literally at death's door. The game system gives him one final try. Chen spams honeysuckle and burdock right away. Both of these basic items clearly hold a detox effect, but nobody knows if they can actually cure this dope toxin. Going full unga bunga, they pry the jaws open and just yeet every herb inside. Our main guy literally holds his breath for the rest of the timer, stressing out, just praying for a crazy random miracle. Time heavily drags, and at the literal last second, the system takes pity on the poor mob, flashing a prompt that the beast is stabilized. Now that the bear is finally out of danger, the whole squad can finally touch grass and chill. Hector is the one dude constantly begging to rush the mountain tribe right this second, knowing they are close. But get this, our guy is a goated king. He breaks down their total lack of enemy intel. Rushing in blind would literally just wipe half their party. Even if they manage to clutch a win somehow, the massive health drop is completely worthless. He absolutely refuses to sacrifice his boys for petty revenge, especially since the tribe will aggro anyway. Dude really just needs to scheme up a solid strat and grind up total combat power. So he gets this logic through their skulls, sending the crew safely to the safe zone while he stays to babysit the bear. Meanwhile, Stonebone is ordered to tell the queen to send out some serious backup and to heavily beef up the guards before those guests arrive. Trust me, being alone with the beast makes the night drag. Random mobs just keep spawning, drawn by the bear's scent, forcing our guy to grind out defensive battles all night. He spent hours swatting wild beasts, absolutely stunned at how insane the roasted meat actually tastes. Bro is happily binge-eating prime steak. Around dawn, the massive bear finally snaps awake, turning its head toward that god-tier barbecue smell. Our hero casually offers a bite while it is possible, sliding over a huge cooked slab. Since Chen has zero clue if mobs like well-done food, he leaves a separate pile of raw rabbits on the side just to be totally safe. By the time the campfire totally dies, Chen is just chilling with this absolute unit. Both are totally stuffed and resting, right before a system notification suddenly pings him. It confirmed the mission W, dropping the bear's 6 sympathy points, offering to distribute them. He allocates those points right on spec. Following his master plan, Chen dumps basically every point straight into physical strength. Hitting that critical cap instantly turns him into an absolute unit of a man. Chen is hyped, and while totally celebrating, the wild bear actually hands over some of its food as a gift. It's his way of swearing loyalty, so our guy totally accepts the peace offering and shares it right back. Now fully healed, Chen figures it's finally time they part ways and just touch grass separately. He hopes they'll meet again, but this animal totally refuses to leave. The furry dude straight up grabs Chen's clothes. He seriously wants to crash the settlement together. He puts in maximum effort pulling on him, just begging for a yes. Feeding a beast this huge is going to drain his resources, but honestly, having a bear for a pet is an incredibly goated flex. Even though the big guy is kind of a clumsy goofball, Chen decides to take him along. He officially names him Shunda, stamping him as a real member of the tribe. Hyped about his new name, Shunda happily tackles our hero for a massive, slobbery bear hug. Then he faithfully follows along. With this tanky new sidekick, Chen can easily track the hostile mountain tribe's scouting path. Riding right on top of Shunda, they easily spot the sloppy tracks those enemies carelessly left behind. But get this, the deeper they ride into the wild, the more obvious things become. There's a massive bamboo forest ahead, and bamboo isn't just a top-tier building material. It's totally goated for crafting firecrackers. All he needs is nitrate, sulfur, and charcoal mixed up. Get those ratios right, pack it tight in a bamboo tube, and you've got the perfect explosive shell. If they actually pull off this totally insane craft, they can completely blindside their enemies in the upcoming decisive boss fight. Even if the damage is low, that deafening bang will definitely scare the enemy tribe into rage quitting. Chen already bagged some saltpeter, and he just figured out how to farm charcoal using a kiln. But securing sulfur is a grind. That stuff usually only spawns near active volcanoes. So Chen uses his system map to just cheese the search. Just like he guessed, the nearest volcano sits right next to the glaciated giant. As long as he doesn't aggro anything, he can sneak in and scout out the sulfur drops. Last time he was here, Chen was busy speedrunning for his life and totally ignored the loot. But with Shunda watching his back, farming this zone is easy. After completely theory crafting his route, he finally points his massive bear straight toward the north. Promises to show him something wild. They sprint off at absolute full speed until they hit the exact lake where Hector and Sam were camping out. Taking in the sick view, Chen tells Shunda he's already explored this part of the map. He wasn't exactly in the mood to clear the zone back then, but today they're finally getting that sweet 100% completion. Creeping up to the water, they stay totally quiet, waiting for that legendary sea monster they were so incredibly hyped about, but the beast is in zero hurry to actually surface. Chen is just about ready to bail, but Shunda suddenly gets completely spooked and backs away. And here's the cliffhanger. Massive air bubbles start boiling up right on the surface. Massive bubbles pop. A gigantic head suddenly breaches the water, roaring with pure rage as its massive body finally hits the surface. It is a literal T-Rex scanning the area for a quick snack. A snapped rope hanging off its neck is the only sign this beast actually belongs to someone. This T-Rex is definitely not the raid boss Chen was expecting to find out here. Chen goes full stealth mode beside the bear, crouching in the tall grass to eyeball this absolute unit. That massive collar around its neck is a dead giveaway this thing is the giant's personal pet. It probably booked it while he was snoozing. You guys remember that wild monster that completely spooked the saber-toothed tiger earlier and left those massive footprints in the forest? Yeah, definitely a T-Rex like this one. If that math checks out, the giant up on the mountain has been knocked out for at least 15 straight days. Whatever the case, sitting around is a huge throw they cannot waste this goated escape window. The second that beast turns away, Chen gives Shunda the green light time to sprint toward the mountain. Shunda follows perfectly, trekking way deeper into this freezing snowy biome. But the snow just keeps piling up with every single step, eventually forcing them to hit the brakes. If things go south and an avalanche triggers, there is literally zero chance they make it out alive. Playing it safe, our guy hops off Shunda, which absolutely stresses the poor bear out. Chen actually plans to watch his back, walking right behind the beast to protect him if danger pops off. Trying to chill him out, Chen tells the bear to stay sharp and keep his eyes peeled for sketchy vibes. Having the bear tag along was a big brain play. His massive paws just sweep the snow away, sending it flying in literally every single direction, clearing the ground entirely. Right away, Chen's sharp nose picks up this insanely funky smell. He knows that nasty scent anywhere, so he immediately starts digging around to find where it is coming from. The deeper they dig into the snow, the harder that smell of burnt matches hits them. It drained his stamina, but he actually strikes gold, uncovering a massive deposit of pure sulfur. This stuff is the ultimate game changer for beating that annoying mountain tribe. Our guy is completely hyped about this insane loot. With this crazy stash, firecracker production can easily kick off tomorrow. Maxing out his inventory with all these essential resources, Chen loads everything onto Shunda's back and points them right toward home. Hitting the outskirts of the settlement, Sam rushes out to greet him, super hyped that he made it back alive. But literally nobody was ready for him to pull up with a bear. Before anyone starts freaking out, our guy introduces Shunda to the squad, telling them to stand down and just chill. Having a literal wild beast in the base felt sketchy as hell at first, but soon enough, every villager is begging for a quick joyride. Shunda probably would have let them, but Chen isn't about to let his new tank get bullied. He promises to find another beast to ride. After offloading all the loot, Chen tasks all with drying the bamboo, keeping its true purpose a total secret. Then he catches Lisa just staring down the bear from up close, completely fearless. She is loving this massive tank and totally proud of her guy, but that good vibe gets killed super fast. Barely a minute after hitting the village, Chen gets hit with some bad news. A giant sea monster just spawned near the shore, completely raging out and griefing all the fishermen trying to work. This massive beast is splashing waves so huge they are washing away all the salt farmed on the beach, completely ruining the fishermen's grind. After soaking in all these major headaches from the village, our hero tells the messenger to chill out, stepping up to check out this beach disaster himself. Hopping back on Shunda, he hits the coast in record time, only to find busted crates floating in the ruined surf. It is an ichthyosaur, a huge predatory marine reptile that looks just like a freaky fish. It is hyper-aggressive and lays eggs, and right at this exact moment, this thing is growing fast and wants to absolutely wipe out any living creature getting close. This 7-meter beast is acting straight up wild, putting even Chen on high alert, but nobody is backing down. Letting it loose is out of the question. Unchecked, this huge ichthyosaur is just going to keep endlessly rampaging. It is causing insane damage. To actually secure a win, they gotta drag it ashore. That instantly cuts the reptile's power level in half. Chen shouts out the crazy game plan. He points Junda toward the ocean, diving straight at that brainless ichthyosaur. First hit sends the bear flying right back to the beach, leaving the monster's belly totally wide open. Prime target. Right at the very last second, our boy manages to bail off the heavy bear. Then he completely sinks his battle axe deep into the reptile's flesh. That just makes the creature mad salty, twisting around to literally snatch Chen right in its jaws, dragging him straight down into the deep end. This ichthyosaur is speedrunning Chen right to the bottom, cutting off his fresh air supply completely. Our guy quickly realizes that at this pace, he is totally going to drown before getting chewed up, so he tries prying the monster's jaws apart with everything he has. Meanwhile, Junda is desperately chasing them. Before the reptile gets too deep, the bear yanks it toward the beach by holding its tail back. Junda is pretty smart and sticks to Chen's game plan, but he is still struggling big time. Brutal struggle. Those clamped jaws and having zero oxygen are just way too much. For any normal dude anyway. Honestly, no shocker that our main character is about to tap out. But luckily, a woman rises from the dark water and totally saves his life. Dual-wielding daggers, she lands a sick combo straight along the ichthyosaur's massive body. Forcing that thing to drop Chen, bright red blood instantly paints all the clear water around them, turning everything into a murky crimson cloud, completely blocking the girl from view. With absolutely zero oxygen left, our guy's arms and legs just start going totally numb on him, making swimming back to the shore physically impossible. He spends his final moments of consciousness just thinking about that badass girl just effortlessly gliding through the rough ocean. Watch this. When Chen wakes up, he spots Junda on the yellow sand, totally stressing over him, along with the tribe. After violently hacking up half the ocean from his lungs, our boy spots his rescuer chilling on a rock, so he asks Alana to come over. She is officially the most goated swimmer in the sea tribe. She hunts in the ocean constantly, perfectly knowing the reptile's weak spots for a quick KO. Now everyone knows the sea tribe definitely isn't winning any awards for being super big-brained, but Alana honestly looks totally clueless compared to everyone else. Since she literally just saved his life though, Chen ignores the completely dumb vibes and gives her a massive, sincere thank you instead. Right now, he just wants to know where she snagged those sick obsidian daggers. Turns out, she looted them off some toxic dude who tried invading her tribe's turf. Fast answer. Alana clears it up immediately. When her brain lags, she suddenly thinks they want to steal her precious loot and almost starts throwing hands. Thankfully, it never actually comes to that. Someone explains Chen's VIP status in the settlement, and she finally decides to completely chill out. Processing all that complex hero lore is a bit much for her, but she clearly understands that he genuinely wants to help her tribe. Once she realizes he is actually a real one, Alana finally spills the tea. She talks about the day the mountain tribe randomly invaded their land. She got knocked out super fast during the fight, and by the time she woke up, her brother Fang and the others were locked inside a cave, getting heavily exploited and basically forced to do all the grimmiest, dirtiest work imaginable. When they finally had enough, Brother Fang pitched a prison break. He is planning to jump a guard and escape. He hands his weapon straight to Alana so she can slice the rope and just yeet herself off the cliff into the river. Fang knew this crazy stunt was literally the only way to keep her alive, so he tells her to follow his instructions perfectly without asking questions. If they actually pull this off, her first mission is finding Hector, a guy completely goated for his insane luck and survival skills. With her totally aggressive vibe, she would never last in a cell, let alone cook up a big brain escape plan. So Fang sends her straight to his most trusted bro. Right on cue, a guard spots them acting super sus and walks over to dish out some harsh punishment for breaking the rules. But rushing in like that was a massive mistake, because right then, Fang completely blindsides the guy, bashing him with the dead prey they were supposed to drag to the warehouse. With the guard totally knocked out, Alana easily snatches up his weapon. Then she straight up dives into the water and swims downstream. And that is exactly how she ran into the massive monster trying to snack on Chen, plus her buddies from the Sea Tribe. After hearing out her wild story, our boy Chen suggests she head to the lodge, since her brother Fang planned for her to meet Hector there anyway. But there was absolutely zero chance she was showing up empty-handed. I mean, there's a giant dead dinosaur right there in the water, so they obviously gotta take it. They hook the reptile onto Zunda and drag it across the sand, leaving this massively obvious trail behind them. Out of nowhere mid-trip, they bump into Hector and Stone Bone, who were actually on their way to meet the king. But seeing Alana rolling up with them was not on their bingo card. Explaining how they all linked up took a hot minute. But the main takeaway for Hector is that about 10 more Sea Tribe members are still locked up. They desperately need a rescue before the Mountain Tribe starts getting brutal with them. But rushing in there blind without a strategy is basically suicide. Chen tries to get him to chill out, but then he suddenly spots smoke rising up on the mountain and completely loses focus. It is a massive signal fire screaming that things are going sideways on the western peak, because absolutely no animal, no matter how smart, is out here sparking fires. So Chen is instantly on high alert, which makes total sense. Remember when the Mountain Tribe boss left them with the loot earlier? He promised some serious payback they would not forget. It is pretty much guaranteed the Mountain Tribe just pulled up for a rematch. But to know for sure, our MC has to go touch grass and physically check the border defenses himself. Without skipping a beat, he orders Stonebone to evacuate the rest of the settlement straight to the fortress. Meanwhile, all the fighters group up and buff their defenses, so these invaders cannot just waltz right in. Hector and Alana get deployed to the western mountain to link up with the active patrol squad. Their job is setting up a stealthy ambush spot. They literally just have to camp next to the traps and hold the line until Chen brings backup. The whole sprint back to camp, Chen is just praying to the gods that someone accidentally lit that fire and it is a false alarm. Luckily, Lisa is already pacing outside waiting for him. She was stressing hard about that insane monster fight going down over by the shore. She could not even sit still, overthinking every single worst-case scenario. The second she sees he's completely uninjured, she finally breathes a massive sigh of relief. She offers to let him chill while she scouts out the situation. But he absolutely does not have time to chill. Chen appreciates the thought, though. That blazing signal fire is still seriously stressing him. Even if she rolled up there with the whole squad, there is no way she could keep Hector from losing it. Since the dude could absolutely snap and attack the mountain boss unprovoked, Chen has to handle this mess personally. So Chen rolls up with Hanger, Luchu, Sam, and a Yu straight-up goated battle vets. Meanwhile, he leaves the absolute chore of defending their home base entirely to Lisa. She is stuck healing the wounded. Sam actually scoped out a sick observation hill. From up there, she can monitor the whole vibe and send backup if things go sideways. Chen wanted a small squad, but Mia was totally hyped and demanded to tag along. They always sidelined her. She straight up threatened to shadow them if they said no. With the squad locked in, our boy puts Liang on full-time queen protection duty. Then they immediately head west. By the time they finally regroup with the others, the sun is setting, which honestly gives Chen a massive tactical advantage. Low light makes spotting traps and ambush spots way harder for anyone touching grass out there. But the Mountain Tribe completely read them like an open book. They roll up to the border holding torches, literally zero effort to hide their spawn point. Like his spider sense is tingling, the chief halts his crew right outside the kill zone. He totally knows Chen is already camping the border, waiting for the drop, so he demands a fair one-on-one duel. The squad is completely clueless why. He is so certain our guy is lurking, but nobody breaks cover just yet. Instead, the boss flexes his massive brain and explains exactly how he sensed them. The zone was dead quiet. No birds, no bugs scratching, no frogs croaking. Animals only dip out of their burrows when a huge raid group sits there forever, basically leaking the trap location. But even with that call-out, Chen's squad stays entirely hidden. So the chief gets toxic and drops threats. He honestly hates burning his chi energy, but playing a lame game of hide-and-seek sounds way worse to him. Watch closely now, our boy finally drops the stealth, stepping right up. It turns out the Mountain Tribe is completely boxed in from every single angle, putting them at a huge disadvantage. But seeing perfectly balanced team numbers actually hypes the chief. Pointing his sick obsidian blade forward, he eagerly drops a challenge. for Chen to duel. Hyped, he can finally fight freely without stressing about honor. But Hector, doing exactly what Chen expected, totally jumps the gun to avenge the Sea Tribe and just full sends an attack instantly. The dude had zero pride, zero morals. He goes straight for a cheap shot to the back. Only a few meters stand between them and an absolute bloodbath, but a mountain tribe warrior completely denies him. Moody steps up and blocks the path, throwing his entire weight against the raging Hector. Like two absolute meatheads locking horns, they match each other blow for blow, dragging a literal trench through the dirt. At first glance, Moody looks like he is losing the stat check due to his smaller hitbox, but he is way more agile. The chief loves this energy, praising Moody for the save and telling him to just toy with Hector. Eventually, Moody channels his raw strength and completely yeets Hector into a massive rock, sending insane shockwaves rippling straight across the ground. That wild damage actually rattles Chen. Until now, Hector had literally never lost a fight, making our guy seriously sweat about this entire matchup. Right then, an enemy mob walks directly under one of their hidden traps, and IU triggers a massive cabled log right onto his head. The impact is so heavy, it should have easily flatlined him, but the dude just swats the log away like it is nothing. This second mountain warrior is built totally different, flexing some crazy brute strength that makes our protagonist completely forget about the trap plan in motion. After Hector gets chucked into a boulder a few times, he is coughing up serious blood. Moody wants to wrap up this one-on-one fast, not wanting to take a loss from some noob, but Hector just ducks the hit. Hector is built different though, clinging to his health bar till the very end. Now, he locks the dude in a death grip and drags him straight toward the water. Home court advantage right there, and Moody totally knows it. He kicks the solid dirt, with zero chill, trying to break out, but he just gets himself completely stuck. Right on cue, Alana leaps out of the river and goes for the backstab. With him locked down like that, scoring a free critical hit on him would be ridiculously easy. But the enemy squad says nope. They straight up yeet their comrade at Alana like a dodgeball, dunking her right back into the river. The mountain tribe is absolutely feral. They do not care about fighting in a bad biome. No touching grass for them, so she has to brawl this rando. And while they scrap, the twin bros are totally flaming their boss for promising them a good time, since Moody and Shohao are hogging the action. They do not care who catches hands, so they lock eyes on our goated main character, just standing there watching his squad take massive losses. The twins instantly full sprint his way to just delete him from the server as fast as possible. But Hangshur and Langu totally step up to body block. You gotta clear the mob enemies before you get to fight the actual boss. So their hype gets put on pause. The twins quickly split up their targets, betting that whoever loses is going to get clowned on forever. Literally risking their lives, they jump right into the brawl, grinning like psychos, wanting to absolutely splash in the enemy squad's blood. Over on the side, Shuhao watches this sick battle royale, totally paralyzed on who to back up. Dude is basically hardwired just to throw punches. So to help secure this epic win against the noobs, he goes hunting for loot. He does not even have to look far, spotting a massive log right up ahead. He casually snaps the rope and hoists it up, totally wrecking the trap setup. Rocking this giant new weapon, he charges the boss who is currently beefing with Chen. Honestly, the boss is super salty about Shohao crashing his one-on-one, so he tells him to go find his own match. Catching a slight vibe check, he actually listens and goes to tag in with Moody, but he is fighting Hector. Our goated hero totally realizes Hector is about to get washed if he has to, solo two sweaty players in that condition, and zooms over to carry him. But the mountain boss completely gatekeeps his path. He aggressively slashes his sick blade with insane power right at his face, forcing our boy to seriously backpedal and actually focus on the fight. The chief is incredibly triggered that Chen is disrespecting him and basically zoning out in his mind, forcing him to keep spamming attacks over and over. That obsidian blade inches right near his neck, about to score a clean headshot. But Chen totally blocks the sweaty combo. The boss flashes this unhinged smile, swinging his weapon like an absolute madman, and tells him to stay dialed into the fight. Watch this, he really just wants to witness Chen's fully maxed stats for a real clash of kings. Sadly, our hero realizes this dude is not going to quit griefing him, and there is zero he can do to carry Hector right now. So Chen switches to heavy tactics and demands someone to go aggro on Xiaohao. Right as that absolute unit drags his log in, tearing up the ground and leaving a whole ditch behind. Every second, he closes in on Hector, forcing Hector to tense up hard. But suddenly, Shuhao's massive log gets so ridiculously heavy he literally cannot lift it, so he actually has to look back. Just like she promised, Mia only jumped into this massive brawl right after the king gave the green light. Now she is fully gripping Shu Hao's weapon. When it comes to pure, goated brute force, absolutely nobody is catching up to her. Shu Hao gives her a quick vibe check, sizes Mia up, and swings those beefy arms right at her. He tries to straight up grab her throat and yank her in, but out of nowhere, an arrow snipes his arm, piercing right through the top layer of skin. That first shot gets immediately followed by a second, aimed dead at his face. Trying to keep his eyes from getting wrecked, he covers up with that same tanky arm, blocking hits like absolute top-tier armor. The dude is actually hyped about this whole setup. He finally gets two playmates at once. Seeing that completely psycho smile, his leader just lets him keep running the duel, even though this matchup is completely unbalanced. But hey, if Shu Hao is cool with it, then let the guy have his sick fun. Honestly, whenever he heads back up the mountain, he is going to be fully alone again. Meanwhile, Sam and Ao try covering the backs of their squad by sniping the enemy's weak spots, while Chen and the rest of the warriors sweat it out in an absolutely brutal clash. They are giving it everything. But that insane trap Ao used on the bears, total flop against Shu Hao. This absolute tank just stands there like literally nothing even happened and straight up yanks her off the rope. You want to fight a boss like this? You need raw brute force, but dodging this ambush is pretty much impossible. The only valid play they have left is pulling aggro while Sam runs back to camp to grab some heavy backup. Now watch this. While AU desperately tries to flip this whole war with whatever is handy, Hector keeps absolutely hammering Muti. The guy is struggling hard to break out of the grip, pounding Hector on the back with his fists, but nope. Every single punch forces this crazy heavy bass sound straight out of his battered lungs, echoing like crazy. But man, these wild hits are so incredibly heavy that Hector starts bleeding from the mouth. He doesn't even blink though, and keeps shoving the dude right toward the water. Trying to speedrun this whole fight, he hoists Moody straight off the ground and sprints right for the raging river, ready to test if this mountain tribe dude can actually swim. Hector is literally inches from a massive W, but Alana popping up out of nowhere stops him cold. She yells at him, "Do not hit the water, it is way too sketchy." That crazy dude who just got thrown at her is still lurking down there, aggroing on absolutely everything. Right on cue, massive hands grab her head and yank her straight down to the murky bottom, which seriously spikes Hector's anxiety. But spacing out for even a second costs him some fresh bruises. Moody keeps spamming hits on his blind spots, leaving ugly red marks all over his gray skin. Targeting the exact same spot triggers internal bleeding, and finally, Hector completely wipes out. But even taking this massive L, he keeps Moody completely locked down. Channeling every single drop of his remaining strength, he abruptly hoists the guy up and body slams him right over his back, making absolutely sure his skull connects with the dirt. Taking a straight-up critical hit, blood instantly starts pouring out of Moody's severely busted forehead right before he fully blacks out and eats the dirt. Hector is honestly not doing any better. He drops right down next to him, trying to focus up, but his vision just keeps blurring out, feeling completely wrecked. Hurt pretty bad, he taps out and leaves the brawl to his tribe, hoping they clutched up. Meanwhile, Lang Chu and Hang Shure are throwing hands with those twins. They totally prepped this sick new combo move they just cooked up, and they definitely did not mind testing it out on the mountain boys. They circle up around the twins, from completely opposite sides, rushing them down in perfect sync. Xiao just laughs like a total maniac, genuinely mind-blown they actually tried attacking. He was loving this goofy new behavior, but he quickly realizes that Lang Chu is actually way slower than Hang Shure. The twins double-team him instantly, totally trying to correct their whole setup. These dudes do not hold back on the dirty hits, so in just seconds, Lang Chu is clutching his blinded eyes. Hang Shure is absolutely not letting that slide, so he totally rushes in to help. Instead of jumping a blind guy, he tells them to pick a fight with someone who can actually throw down. Zero hesitation. He just yeets his hunting axe straight ahead, absolutely nailing one of the able twins right in the shoulder. Boom. Now it is a perfectly fair fight with wounded squadmates. Totally weaponless now. Hang Shure knows he cannot straight up out-damage a guy swinging a literal obsidian blade, so he brings up this tiny shield to tank it. He pulls 100% of the aggro, but that is honestly just step one of the big brain strat. While brawling, he is literally counting out loud, dropping cues that would let Lang Chu know exactly when to strike, but that tiny shield does absolutely nothing. The enemy easily closes the gap and violently shanks him in the gut, leaving him just 2 steps from dying. Obviously, the twins are super confused about the weird counting out loud stuff, but the second they hit step 1, they realize they just got hard played. Hang Shure grabs the twins' arms with absolute monkey grip and pins him down. Lang Chu kicks off phase 2. One solid swing of that battle axe is strong enough to drop a bear, so they know it is game over. Xiao doesn't even clock what is happening at first, but once he sees Lang Chu looming right overhead, he absolutely panics and starts ripping away with everything he has got. It is right then that his twin bro swoops in and shoves him out of the way, taking the axe blade himself. The green grass gets completely drenched red as Xiao just watches in pure horror. Meanwhile, Yu is doing everything she can to help Mia. Xiao is basically a walking tank, so her arrows are connecting perfectly every single time. The big issue is, he is so insanely armored he just ignores the damage. His whole arm looks exactly like a porcupine with the crazy arrow spam, but realistically, they only pierce through a few centimeters of flesh. Total scratch damage. Mia is hardcore struggling to just stay on her own 2 feet without fumbling, that massive log getting violently whipped all over the place. Watch closely here. Yu knows they need a totally new approach. Super lucky for them, the rope they used to rip the log off is chilling right next to the brawl. Yu knows Mia will totally catch her drift, so she starts spamming arrows right at it. The whole tribe knows her aim is literally goated in an actual bloodbath. Mia gets it instantly and sprints straight for the rope. Right then, Xiao actually gets kinda sad when he stops feeling any pushback. He literally thinks they are bored and do not want to play anymore, but that gets shut down real quick. She basically treats him like an oversized toddler, hyping him up from behind, all while she secretly speed wraps his ankles in a crazy tight knot. Honestly, he thinks her running circles is peak entertainment. Bro was spacing out, but a brutal headshot straight to the dirt totally wakes him up. Mia goes all out, trying to completely sweep him in one single hit. Now she is high-key flexing, celebrating her massive W. A few other matchups are already wrapped up, but Hector is still struggling. Zero time for him to catch a breather. Muti just respawns from the dirt way too ridiculously fast. Dude was totally full of himself. He knows he underestimated Hector, who straight up almost flatlined him, but he refuses to rage quit. And seriously guys, nobody could have predicted this next absolutely wild moment. That massive log Hao was just swinging around, it flies straight into Muti's head, sending him right back to sleep mode instantly. Hector is finally buying into his brother Fang's crazy theories about his insane luck, admitting the guy was totally right. But hold up, this fight is not done yet. The leaders keep going off for their squads, constantly shoving each other back and forth. This heavy brawl drags on way too long, and their arms are literally going numb. Chen knows he cannot tank another hit, but honestly, his enemy is looking just as cooked. Seeing the mountain tribe leader totally struggling, the witch's servant rolls up with some red leaves. Boss orders say he has to use this plant even if he seriously hates playing dirty. Lighting these leaves up means the chief gets a free fast travel ticket home. Meanwhile, the servant ducks into the water to dodge the smoke, ready to watch the newcomers suffer. Before the war, the witch totally warned him about the heavy fallout, so the servant tells him to play it smart and avoid catching a massive L, and instantly realizes he wants to throw all logic straight out the window right now, ready to beef up his own stats with that crazy red ginseng, and tap into Pangu's power to fight this mountain tribe on totally even footing. That red ginseng would be a clutch power-up against these new invaders. But the mountain tribe leader is low-key doubting if he even needs to pop it. The witch probably already read this guy like an open book, so she told her minion to sneak him the plant whenever things got too sketchy. But get this right now, nobody is actually rushing to spark that thing up. Chen refuses to let things drag out until the enemy finds a cheap opening to exploit. He swings his axe with insane force, blasting a shockwave that flattens trees behind the chief. The servant only survives because he somehow spots this insane attack coming right at his face. He barely dodges. Feeling Chen staring a hole through him, he knows he cannot stall anymore. If the boss is too stubborn to light the ginseng, he will just do it himself. Grabbing a torch, he snatches up the leaves he just dropped in pure panic. He shoves them toward the flame, already hyping up how this fight is going to end. But the chief shuts that down hard. With one clean swipe of his massive blade, he chops the stick and kills the fire, fully knowing this might totally trigger the witch. The servant demands an explanation for this crazy behavior, but the chief says he smells cap. There is zero chance the witch actually gave him a shady order like that, so he tells the guy to bounce and deliver his message, gripping the leaves in rage. The servant is fully shocked he is getting disrespected this hard. The trip back to the witch is pretty short, so he warns the chief to prepare for getting cooked. Chen just quietly watches this whole mess happen. His damage output is still spiking despite the marathon fight. Realistically though, bro can barely even stay on his feet after fighting that eyesore. He had zero time to heal up since he immediately rushed back. He books it to the border. His Pangu power is totally running on fumes right now, making his vision entirely blurry. Chen knows he is totally cooked if this drags out. He will be lucky to land even one solid hit on this absolute unit, but after that, he is taking a forced nap. Plus, his squad looks rough. The whole front line is gassed, completely out of stamina, zero backup for the king. Chen just has to solo this and carry the whole team all by himself and pray this next hit actually lands. Otherwise, the Mountain Tribe boss will wipe their whole base off the map with zero effort. A total server wipe. But honestly, his squad being low on HP is not his only problem. If that boss just burned the ginseng, it would be an automatic W for him. Instead, he just beefs with his minion and chucks the leaves in the trash. Dude is acting completely unhinged. Chen racks his brain trying to figure out this crazy logic. But nothing makes sense. When in doubt, it is honestly better to just let your fists do the talking. Way better than overthinking it. As long as there is a single drop of mana left, you have to lock in, take the shot, and pack this boss up as fast as possible. Chen spams attacks, trying to secure the knockout, but this dude just totally tanks everything. The chief is hyped. He is literally having the time of his life fighting a goated warrior, so he keeps taunting Chen to go all out and pop his ultimate. But seriously, it is only when they are both basically exhausted that the boss notices Chen's busted arm. He knows for a fact he did not cause that damage, so he figures Chen used some crazy blood ritual to buff his stats. Knowing that, this matchup just got 10 times more sick. But everyone knows the timer is ticking. The boss himself is basically running on empty too, because that divine buff he got from the witch is totally wearing off. He cannot dodge the next hit, so he decides to full send it and strike first. Dude just wants to settle this one-on-one like a real Chad. He even promises to leave the tribe alone if Chen takes the L. Respect, unfathomably based behavior, and our boy gives him props for it. But Chen does not need pity. Screaming his lungs out, these two massive forces completely collide, and the impact is so insane it literally leaves a giant crater behind. Right now, nobody has a clue who is actually winning this crazy war, so they just wait for the dust to settle. Then the squad finally spots it. The Mountain Tribe boss is absolutely folded into the side of a rock. Nobody can even speak, but everyone knows the rookie squad just pulled it off. They got their turf back. But right on cue, the rope's wrapping up, Chen's arm just snapped, hitting him with the most insane wave of pain. If that nerf hit even a second earlier, he would have totally lost this fight. Sure, the Pangu power was an absolute clutch buff during the brawl, but the recoil damage is unreal. His legs totally give out on him, and he crashes into Ao, who is absolutely not letting the king drop after that W. Right then, they hear the queen yelling her lungs out for help. The witch's minion might be back. Sadly, Chen is completely out of HP, and he is in no shape to shot call for the squad. So he passes the admin rights to Lisa right before he completely blacks out. His last thought is about Alana, who had passed out in the water and told AU to help her no matter what. While Chen was knocked out cold, his pre-assigned squad was stuck on strict babysitting duty. Lisa hard carried the entire tribe while he was offline, only dropping by his spot at night in the main crib. But today, when our guy finally woke up, he caught her half undressed. Naturally, he faked being asleep. Bro really did not want to make it awkward by looking. But the second she sat down on his bed, he was struggling to keep his cool. She traced her fingers over him forever, testing his reaction. When she finally got bored, she straight up told him she knew he was faking it. Lisa was totally down to mess with him a little bit, which had Chen sweating bullets. He snapped awake and desperately tried changing the subject, acting all stressed about the tribe. Too bad even bringing up Alana did not stop Lisa. She just leaned right into his face and told him this was definitely not the time for questions. Mocking him, she playfully guessed that our dude was practically paralyzed, so she threatened to go all out and see exactly what he could handle like this. Honestly, Chen had been super ready for a moment like this forever, but he definitely pictured it going way differently. He thought he would go absolute goblin mode one day and show off his insane stamina. But thanks to Lisa being totally stubborn, everything crashed. He just accepted she was taking charge, totally trashing his whole Alpha King vibe. And honestly, you guys gotta see this. The system dropped a wild quest literally called 7 times in one night, basically saying the boss needs to be absolutely goated at everything. Plus, on top of that, one round had to last at least an end hour to score 5 nuggets as a prize. The loot itself was definitely top tier, but that penalty would make anyone want to touch grass immediately. If our guy completely botches this, the system forces him to switch up his preferences. Rereading that prompt, bro literally could not fathom how to pull this off. He was still totally wrecked from throwing hands with that Mountain Tribe boss, not to mention his busted arm. He figured he would literally die before during this quest. The requirements were so absolutely unhinged, it felt like a final boss fight where you just rage quit right before the very last hit. After sweating over the options, he realized the system actually let him pick. So he chose to totally ghost the prompt until it magically timed out and vanished. What he did not realize was that going radio silent counted as direct consent, Screaming out and desperately trying to push Lisa away from him, Chen totally cursed out the system and its trash quests. This was shaping up to be the most cursed day ever, because bro could not even sleep. His only play was praying for an insane save or hoping Lisa would chill out and get back to her actual job. Right on cue, like an absolute clutch play, Shunda showed up, wrecking half the crib and snatching Chen. He had never been more hyped for a kidnapping in his life. He didn't even have to cancel that crazy system quest himself. But when our guy told the giant bear to chill, the beast completely ignored his commands. Shunda dragged Chen way deeper into the woods, leaving him totally convinced he was about to be a snack. If he knew this was the endgame, he would have just stayed with Lisa. Totally giving up, he tanked the pain of Shunda's teeth until getting yeeted right outside a random cave. He had absolutely zero clue why. Dragged out into the middle of nowhere, our guy cautiously scopes out the area for any sketchiness. But right after the bear howls, these tiny cubs stumble out and hype up their returning mom. Up until right now, our boy had absolutely zero clue that Shunda was a girl. Dude is straight up shook. She even has the free time to raise kids. Right on cue, the system drops a totally sick quest. Thanks to their mom, those two cubs are ready to join his village. So now he has to figure out if he actually wants them. Without even thinking twice about it, he easily takes them under his wing, securing some totally goated protection for the village. Give them a few years, and these little guys are going to be absolute beasts defending the tribe. He confirms the prompt and immediately checks his total villager count, noting a jump of 20 before doing some quick combat math, throwing the cubs in two. Out of 98 folks, the base power sits at 68, and the other 30 is literally 3 man-eating bears. Hitting that 90 milestone, the system hits Chen with a major quest to expand his turf to 10 square kilometers and recruit 300 people in 6 months. Talk about a crazy grind, right? It has been ages since his last main quest, and if the system did not remind him, he definitely would have forgotten. Seeing that insane loot drop, our guy is completely hyped. But who cares when the grind is this sweaty? Either way, he has zero choice here. Time to speedrun those combat preps for the raid and force the rest of the clan to touch grass and farm. Backed up by those 3 absolute units of man-eating bears, Chen can finally chill out, knowing the whole base has some wildly reliable security. Riding on Shunda, our guy watches the little fuzzballs with major interest and decides to just brainstorm some sick names to kill the boredom. Mama Bear totally loves the idea, immediately perking her furry ears up, ready for Chen's pitch. Most of his dumb ideas totally flop for these future monsters, who will literally shred enemies later on, so he finally locks in the most goated options. He dubs the brown bear cub Jun and the red one Zunin. They have zero clue what those words mean, but sensing Mom is totally vibing, they happily cuddle up right next to her. Regardless of that, this chill vibe is ending soon, and he has to buckle down to handle a massive pile of administrative headaches. Glancing over at the system map, Chen gets hyped reading all the fresh intel on the local neighboring tribes and drafting up a slick invasion plan. Honestly, this map feature is stupidly overpowered right now. He has not even walked near that western camp yet, but he already has the scoop on their local layout, guard rotations, and nasty traps. Over the next 2 days, Chen plans to teach the noobs how to actually farm some crops, then hit up a scouting mission stress-free. But right now, the man just wants food. Ever since that heavy clash with the mountain tribe boss, he has not even tried the Iosa meat, so he is really praying they saved him a solid cut. Shockingly enough, nobody even poked that reptile without the boss giving the green light. The entire camp knows Chen is straight up the top-tier chef around here, and they just patiently waited for his recovery. 3 full days fly right by. His downtime is officially up, meaning our guy has to pack up his survival gear to go visit that neighboring faction. For this trip, he actually brings a bear, testing her out as his personal mount. Finally, Ao and Lisa step outside, ready to... Everyone sees him off, wishing the guy a totally sick expedition. He leaves the little ones with Hang Sure, since they already handle the hyena cubs anyway. He also begs Lisa to watch the warriors, just so they do not accidentally team kill with that new catapult. Alana gets put in charge of AU. Sadly, the poor girl still has amnesia about everything that just happened. She definitely needs some heavy supervision. Chen stresses over all these tiny details so much that Lisa actually gets completely fed up. She just shoos him right out the front door. Still, he cannot stop stressing over how Ao has been acting lately. She planted the millet exactly how he asked, meaning the farmland is perfectly safe and good to go, but she still looks totally bummed out. Honestly, she hates the idea of him going on this trip and practically begs him to send her to the foolish mountain tribe instead. Lisa hears her out, smoothly assuring her that no matter what enemies show up, a giant bear is backing Chen up. Stressing out right now is just absolutely pointless. Thanks to the queen holding it down, our boy finally heads out without any extra drama, leaving Lisa in charge. But right after he leaves, she starts keeping a very close eye on Ao. Ao is way too obsessed with Chen. Lisa watches her super weird behavior 24/7 now. But hey, Lisa is no pushover herself. The absolute second she says goodbye to our guy, she calls up her trusted spies and immediately orders them to tail him. Because last time, that bear totally stole her husband away from her. So now she needs the real tea, making absolutely sure he is actually just doing a normal scouting run. Honestly though, it is way better for everyone if she never finds out about his secret forest cabin. Meanwhile, out in the wild, Chen starts sneezing like an absolute maniac. The chill hits his bare skin, and he just cannot figure out where this freezing draft is coming from. So he just chalks it up to his old wound not being totally healed yet. Pushing forward, he hits this massively steep mountain and has to hike around it, wasting totally precious time. But while the bear scouts for a path up, Chen takes a good hard look at the area. If he got the chance to build a base up here, he would absolutely copy the mountain tribe, locking down a perfectly goated defense. You see, there are a few distinct ways to the peak, meaning you could send the main squad straight ahead, then completely flank them from behind. But watch this. While he plots this raid, some border guards spot the giant bear and march right out to confront him. Trying to chill these guys out, Chen drops his name and demands they take him straight to their boss. Last time that guy brought the war to them, so now it is 100% our hero's turn. But they flat out reject him. They tell him to take a hike, claiming their boss is too busy, warning him they will attack if he stays. Up until now, Chen was actually trying to play nice. But clearly, these absolute savages need to go touch grass. Gripping his axe tight, Chen debates if he should just body them right here. But then, the prisoners hanging in the background catch his eye. He remembers hearing that their prisoners wore chains, but these guys look completely different. Looking past the randoms, our boy actually recognizes the mountain tribe chief and Mati. They are clearly not carrying heavy loads. This weird setup leaves Chen totally confused, so he sends Junda charging in, scattering those guards right out of the way. He honestly has no idea how a proud chief could sink to such a pathetic level. But once explained, the wild rules finally make sense. Turns out, this tribe has a witch who actually drains the divine power from any losers, instantly turning them into powerless slaves. Now he is no longer the... Jui lost his alpha status because a way stronger dude just walked in and took it. And now, Chen is stuck trying to negotiate with this absolute unit. Right on cue, the second Chen hears about the new management, this boss spawns at the very peak. He stares down at our guy with total disrespect, acting way too goated to dirty his own hands today. So he sends his mob of grunts to clear the trespasser. These tribe members look completely feral, but insanely enough, they are already packing legit harpoons. They scale that steep cliff face like nothing, totally adapted to the jagged rock under their feet. This gives them a massive tactical edge. Hitting the halfway mark, they unleash an absolute rain of spears, locking down every single escape route Chen has. Keeping Zunda safe means going sweat mode, slashing every single incoming harpoon right down the middle. But collateral damage definitely happens. The attackers do not care about friendly fire, brutally turning on their own former squad. Only a handful of guys like Jui and Muddy manage to survive using heavy cargo bags as makeshift shields, but then they are brutally forced to jump Chen. Jui knows exactly how completely broken our main character's stats actually are. Still, he is definitely not volunteering to be a sacrificial pawn today. Cornered by the guards, they swallow their fear, grab their weapons, and rush him all at once. With the mountain tribe closing the net, Chen has to fall back. He is insanely mad the new boss refuses to 1v1, but he just has to hold the L. Sure, he could pop his Pangu buff, wipe the whole server, and climb up there himself. But there is a massive risk his mana bar empties out halfway up the cliff. He needs time to cook up a smarter strat. Refusing to go home empty-handed, Chen decides to touch grass and camp out deep inside enemy territory. While Shunda splashes around grabbing fish for dinner, Chen keeps a hardcore watch on the tribe patrols. These guards literally never rest, sweeping the pitch-black forest with torches, just hoping to catch him slipping. Seeing this sweat-level defense, he realizes stealthing his way in is rough. But check this out, the actual boss is a shadow witch just lurking off-screen. She's the one pulling every single puppet string. If Chen drops the current leader, she will just spawn a fresh pawn to replace him. They could infinitely respawn bosses until Chen burns out, completely ruining the newcomer's chances at a real settlement. Knowing that, he has to lock in and figure out exactly where this witch is actually camping out. Taking out the puppeteer is priority 1, but right nearby, a totally different hunt just kicked off. Across the river, Shun Da's ears twitch at a heavy rustling sound coming from the thick brush. She instantly drops low and growls at the noise. Chen signals her to get down and just observe the madness from the shadows. A massive dust cloud erupts as a terrified Varan monster bursts out of the tree line. Dozens of shadowy figures are just clinging to its scales, crawling around like bugs and viciously biting it. Our guy has literally never seen a wild swarm tactic like this before. They basically turn the giant reptile into Swiss cheese, and it instantly collapses hard into the dirt. Totally stunned by their crazy speed, Chen barely twitches. But he brushes a dead branch, snapping it with a painfully loud crunch. That whole mob of strangers snaps their heads right toward his hiding spot in the dark. But they have absolutely zero time to investigate. They just turn and bolt. Honestly, it is purely an absolute miracle. Chen dodged a totally pointless fight, breathing a massive sigh of relief when they finally dipped. Still, he never actually saw the dudes, and his curiosity starts eating him alive. Our guy tells his bear to just chill. He crosses over to double-check they actually packed up and left. He tries moving fast and staying low-key, but for some wild reason, he just cannot catch them. Considering how stubby those goblins are, he has zero clue how they managed to travel that crazy fast. Their base is probably super close by, and they must have stashed the beast inside. But he gets zero time to investigate, because right here he gets ambushed out of absolutely nowhere. Some girl suddenly attacks him, tickling him with a massive fluffy tail. Her animal ears are twitching like crazy in every direction. She cheerfully calls Chen a naughty boy, but spoiler alert, she is attacking the completely wrong dude. One look at his face, and she realizes she has been hunting a totally random guy. Since he is clearly not from the werewolf tribe, this girl is absolutely mind-blown by his movement. Usually only werewolves can speedrun like that, but she has no idea how goated his agility is. His speed definitely does not come from some furry genetics. He tries to play it cool and explain this massive misunderstanding to her, but spotting some women in camo outfits, rushing them puts him on high alert. They break cover and rush straight at Chen, making the furry stranger instantly jump off. Dodging her pursuers, she springs right up onto the nearest tree branch to take cover. She starts yelling in pure frustration, even though she literally just realized our guy is chill. That definitely does not justify jumping him. Honestly, invading random territory and sprinting around is a massive L. She is trespassing on foreign turf, but she actually has a legit reason. She finally drops a warning about the insane dangers lurking on this side of the river. She tells them they need to pack up and run immediately. Just like that, she vanishes into thin air, leaving our guy alone to face these stalkers. Turns out, these are the exact same spies Lisa forced onto his squad earlier. At first, he thinks about grilling them for intel on those random werewolves. But when they basically shrug, he completely pivots to a way more important question. He wants to know how Feng ended up stalking him in this exact forest. So he grabs her chin, forcing her to look him dead in the eyes. For her, this eye contact feels like literal torture right now. She is ready to die of cringe and nearly spills every single piece of classified intel. But here is the funny part, he is totally trolling her, knowing exactly who sent them. That little jump scare is payback for her stalking him, and then he heads for the water. It is honestly tough for this squad to accept their stats get completely nerfed underwater. The current is way too insane even for Junda, so Chen tells them to reroute. Time to finally link back up with his bear. Fang and her squad somehow cross without sweating. Before dawn hits, they pull up to the mountain trail where night patrols always spawn. Chen drops all the lore he just gathered and asks the team to scout it out. He needs to figure out if there is a secret path up this mountain to maintain absolute stealth. That whole weird situation with the werewolf girl? Officially pushed to the back burner for now. Right now, they need to cook up a rock-solid battle plan. Somebody has to camp the main road just to keep tabs on those annoying patrols. Chen barks out some quick orders and immediately heads west along the riverbank. He promises to group back up by sunset tomorrow. Going downstream seems like a totally big brain move since the river ends at a massive waterfall. This is definitely the exact spot where Alana recently dipped out and made a run for the ocean. Staring up at this massive waterfall, Chen is thinking there is zero chance anyone survives yeeting themselves off that drop. But since he is on the clock, he might try scaling its stealth mode. The one thing living rent-free in his head, enemies camping at the top, plus that crazy current down below. Either way, there is no backing out now, because failing means catching a permanent game over. Brainstorming how to finesse past the guards, Chen decides to play it safe and take a totally different route. Pushing through these wild thickets, he is literally praying to the RNG gods for some luck, hoping the patrol guys do not spot him. But honestly, his luck is totally cooked today. Right in the middle of the brush, he bumps into a random squad of dudes just creeping around in dead silence. Unluckily, in this dark, he cannot ID them at all. Still, Chen rolls the dice and starts tailing them. Camping in the bushes, he actually manages to eavesdrop on their chat. Half the squad thinks their guide is totally sus, but they are following him anyway. Getting dragged into this mess blind, their only real option is to just let this bro cook and lead them. He clears his name by claiming he officially quit the tribe of newcomers, totally cutting ties. And this time around, even with the insane risks, he is down to play tour guide. Bro somehow managed to secretly log the exact spawn points of every trap. Honestly, they should be super hyped he is the guy they ran into on this run. To Chen, this whole setup looks sketchy as hell, especially considering the fact they are definitely pulling some shady undercover op. Plus, that guide's voice sounds crazy familiar. It is only when they step into a completely open, moonlit clearing that our guy realizes it is Liang, the same dude who guided the ex-members of the mountain tribe right through those traps. Watching him flex, Chen gets super suspicious that Liang is absolutely pulling a double agent move. But these clueless tribesmen have zero clue what that means. Now Chen is just mind-blown over how Liang found out about the traps they just recently planted in the woods. Instead of rushing them in the cover of dark, Chen decides to ghost them and see how this whole crazy mess plays out. Soon enough, morning finally hits, and these mountain tribe dropouts are forced to keep grinding out their brutal hike. Right under the absolute glaring sun, half the squad is out of HP and wants a break. But Liang straight up bans resting, hyping them up by saying the mountain is just a few steps away. He literally yanks the twins to their feet and forces them to keep moving. You would think their major beef with our hero would be enough motivation, but nope, it is not. They actually speedran the trek, crushing a route that usually takes 24 hours in literally just half a single day. If they had some goated divine powers, this would be a total breeze. But right now, they gotta hoof it to the tribe of newcomers on their own. Pointing at the watchtower, Liang reminds everyone that the guards will definitely spawn from there, and will absolutely spot them. There is zero chance they can use stealth in an open zone, especially since that massive tower is ridiculously huge and visible from several kilometers away. Nobody wants to get caught slacking in the bushes, so Liang sends the whole crew back to the mountains to basically do NPC prisoner work. Pulling off some absolute top-tier gaslighting, he flexes hard to bait them right back to the tribe of newcomers. This time around, he hypes them up, claiming a trap zone is just up ahead. Once again, he boosts their morale by insisting that another trap zone is super close. From that spot, they could totally speedrun straight to the settlement. Jui has been hyping up the squad since day one. Taking out Chen was completely his brainchild, leaving the rest of the crew to actually pull it off. But let's be real, anyone wanting to just tap out and go home totally could. He promised that once he rolled up to the witch with Chen's severed head, he would absolutely put in a good word for them. But nah, the whole squad wanted to snatch that divine power back themselves, so they all locked in and marched forward. Even Xiao, who really wanted to bounce with his brother, tagged along, totally convinced that Jui needed his backup today more than ever. Meanwhile, over on the next mountain, Hanger was playing scout. At first, he just thought some starving randoms were pulling up, but then he spotted Liang. He immediately started yelling. He had zero clue why they were casually strolling into the trap zone, so he started aggressively waving his arms around. Hanger screamed at the top of his lungs, trying to give them the safe route back, but got basically left on red. By trying to be the nice guy, he completely wrecked Liang's goated plan, a scheme he had just barely started. If they ran into anyone else, that person wouldn't have tried saving them at all, and probably just snitched to a patrol to arrest everyone. Now Liang could only pray those traps were actually reliable, because he had to trigger them no matter what. Right on cue, Lu Tang conveniently bumped into the tripwire. Boom, trap activated. The ground underneath them instantly started violently shaking, and the whole squad fell screaming into a massive pit full of spikes. Liang honestly did not care how badly they got wrecked. He just needed a single witness to survive this mess, so Chen could use them to slide into the mountain tribe leader's DMs. Now get this, everything came down to Hanger being fast enough. Right before passing out, Liang prayed the patrol guys would deliver our hero before they all just straight up flatlined. But Chen actually spawned in way earlier. He yanked everyone out of the pit and patched them up while waiting for Lisa's backup crew. He definitely half-baked the healing process, which basically meant he didn't even need to tie them up with ropes. Even if they woke up right this second, they were way too nerfed to fight healthy soldiers. Lisa was completely on board with his logic, even offering to make them her personal servants. The only exception was Liang, the guy who backstabbed her, actually asked to stay totally nerfed and broken down. Lisa fully intended to punish the snake herself with her own whip, but Chen blocked her. They couldn't just jump to wild conclusions about him yet, because everything was on pause until Liang finally woke up. The tribe backed her up, though. A few prisoners were plenty for interrogation. No point keeping them all alive anyway. Plus, their medicine supply was literally vanishing right before his eyes, so wasting top-tier loot on total randoms was a bad play. Thinking about Jui's stubborn personality, everyone knew he wouldn't just casually sell out his own community. Even when he was getting treated like absolute trash, he never stopped grinding to rejoin the warrior ranks and prove he was loyal. He had some serious ties to the tribe and a soft spot for the twins, Muti and Ando, who he completely cherished. He swore to Chen earlier that he wasn't going to team kill his own people, so Chen wanted to return the solid. Even with Lisa yapping at him nonstop to end them, our guy decided to drop a heel, hoping Jui would eventually come around. But honestly, dude just wanted to hear a simple thank you because he already blew crazy amounts of money and meds on these guys. So thanks to one super chill decision, Lu Tang gets moved into the house. Then they start grilling Jui right as he finally wakes up. Chen immediately starts barking orders at the whole squad, and he drags the guy to the absolute middle of nowhere in the village, totally making sure nobody eavesdrops on this sick intel. Jui spills the tea. Turns out literally nobody has ever laid eyes on this witch, and all her shady orders get passed down through some little girl. Even the Major League sacrifices are totally handled by her. She flexes as the witch's personal messenger, completely immune to the cursed energy. According to this kid, the witch is covered head to toe in cursed symbols, and step too close and you just die. Since the Mountain Tribe actually saw this insane divine power in action, nobody even thinks about calling cap on her story. They are so terrified of her vibe that the witch's cave is left totally unguarded. With this goated intel, storming the village is looking like a total walk in the park compared to what Chen expected. But dealing with Collapse, the new Mountain Tribe leader, is definitely not going to be chill. Everyone knows his power level is busted, especially after he snagged that divine strength buff. But Jui drops a massive hint. He only gets that buff from a daily sacrifice, where they just have to light a sacred fire. So if it rains or gets super windy, the ritual gets cancelled, and nobody gets that sweet divine power-up. On bad weather days, the chief and his whole crew basically get nerfed into oblivion. The Mountain Tribe actually has massive weak points that their enemies somehow have zero clue about, mostly because trying to hike those sketchy mountain trails during a storm is actual torture. Even the absolute pros who know the map perfectly refuse to touch grass in bad weather. Plus, crazy heavy winds basically always bring a massive downpour, so covering up those nasty weak spots takes forever. Every piece of intel Jui just dumped on Chen has to stay extremely low-key. Absolutely nobody else can find out. Chen can seriously pat the guy on the back now. Jui officially betrayed his entire tribe, and they will absolutely never take him back. Instead, Chen invites him to join the squad. It sounds super hyped, but Jui instantly declines. No matter who presses him or how bad it gets, he never leaks top-secret info. But chatting with our main guy here, he just drops the whole firewall and willingly spilled every single detail. Jui literally thanks Chen for hyping him up as a top-tier traitor, but still hard passes the invite. But nobody forces the issue at all. Instead, they just hand his gear right back and give him a chill spot to wait while the squad fully heals up. Now that they finally talked it out like two smart dudes, Chen really hopes they are not throwing hands next time they cross paths. Then 5 whole days pass by completely chill. While hanging out, the newcomer crew preps every single thing they need for crafting firecrackers, and they start stuffing the bags with raw materials. Lung jumps in to help out. Get this though, Ao was stressing over Chen, totally mind-blown they let a literal traitor roam the village. So the absolute second they get some privacy, she confronts him about the massive risk. But honestly, the only thing the guy cannot be forgiven for is that grimy traitor look that he faked just to mine data out of the Mountain Tribe. Dude basically put his whole life on the line for Chen, so the trust is solidly earned. Plus, Jui and the rest of the squad bounced from camp this morning. They packed food, water, weapons, and all the basic survival gear. We figured they would be touching grass in foreign lands for a minute. I hooked them up with as much loot as possible. The rest is on them. With the goodbyes finished, my newbie tribe started prepping for the main raid. Weapons, shields, armor, poison, snacks, and literal firecrackers all practically good to go. Now we just had to wait for the storm to hit and pray for a lucky break. On the final day before the big assault, my rookie squad was grinding harder than ever. While everyone else was passing out the hoarded loot and getting hyped for a win, I was busy raging at my system. It actually wanted me to drop 70 tech points on just 3 little hemostats. Absolute scam. Up until now, I seriously thought the item shop prices were going to stay completely locked. But nope, the cost literally doubled after every single purchase. I had zero choice though. I just had to take the L and pay the system tax. Then I just waited around for all my squad commanders to finally show up. I was cursing it out loud, but I kept buying anyway. Finally, the queen rolled up with Stonebone, Hector, Liang, and the gang to strategize the raid. Step 1 was splitting the entire army into 4 separate units. I told Hector to pick 3 reliable troops and head up the mountain with Feng. A couple of days back, she actually managed to track down the hidden slave camp, so she could easily point them in the exact right direction when it was time to move. Stonebone got put in charge of the main assault group. They were going to rush the Mountain Tribe's front lines and pull all the aggro, and the rest of the crew would hold down the base. When the sun came up, I ran the whole game plan by Lisa for her take. She was chill with Stonebone being the tank, but hard passed on my idea for Liang. She basically said leaving a known traitor at base with all the valuable loot and kids was an epic fail. But to be fair, she did not have a better strat. I was taking the whole squad to war, meaning the women, kids, and elders desperately needed protection. Plus, Liang's injuries were still way too messed up for him to try pulling an inside job anyway. Most importantly, half the camp is still super salty at him, and the dude definitely knows it. Trust me, I just set up the absolute perfect conditions for Liang to finally clear his name by actually guarding the residents. No matter how this plays out, our real ops are those mountain tribe guys. Forcing a half-crippled dude to fight his own people would be way too toxic. While Lisa and I were chatting, the massive hurricane we had been waiting for finally spawned. We stepped outside and saw the wind was getting absolutely wild, but the air felt super heavy. If it rained early, it would totally ruin our whole vibe. So I ordered the squad to instantly rally outside the village. Once we hit the waterfall, which was a total blind spot for the enemy, I told Feng to hold the line right there, with Alana camping nearby in ambush. That way, if anybody fell in the water, they were completely on rescue duty. I also dragged Shunda along to watch our six and ping us if enemies pulled up. The rest of the warriors had to cross the river first and scale the cliff face. While I climbed all the way to the top, up on the mountain, Chen is deadass carrying this whole mission, tasked with finding and wrecking the witch. Sticking to the game plan, the second everyone is perfectly in position, Stonebone lights a firecracker and yeets it straight at the guards. The crazy loud pop stuns them cold and signals the ambush. Every single warrior hearing that blast rushes the mountain tribe, folding them like literal laundry. Meanwhile, Collapse pulls up, triggered by those wild explosions and screams, and he barks out the order to start blasting. Trying to dodge the heat, Stonebone tells his boys to tank up, forming a shield wall against those sharp harpoons. Their one job is grounding Collapse, and backing down is off the table until then. The mountain tribe quickly figures out that fighting this massive crowd is just completely chalked, so they just stall for backup. Collapse is severely lacking his divine buffs today, forcing him to let prisoners exhaust Stonebone's squad, after which his other fighters will finally jump in. Now pay attention here. While the main squad is completely holding all the mountain tribes aggro, Hector is chilling right atop the waterfall. He's camping in stealth mode for a sneak attack on the guards shackling the Sea tribe, and aggressively forcing them over to the other side of the mountain. This hardcore brawl is absolute life and death. Collapse genuinely respects their stubborn choice, but why no prisoners yet? He is super confused. With every single minute, this hyped newcomer tribe pushes further, deep into the mountain center, which means he seriously just cannot wait any longer. Under Collapse's frantic screaming, the rest of the troops finally enter the chat and start shoving Stonebone straight back toward the exit. Getting that fresh backup makes handling this massive crowd way easier for them, and Stonebone literally has to body block for his wounded teammates so they can hit a safe distance. But their hits are insane. His shield simply cannot block all that heavy damage, so after eating another massive hit, Stonebone is coughing up serious blood again. He tanks damage like a total punching bag until he sees the wounded are out of range, then he snags a health potion and totally dips after them. Luckily, Lisa and the rest of the girls are holding down the second defense line, and the second the main group passes, they launch 12 firecrackers up into the air. This huge move perfectly blocks off the path to their position, giving the soldiers totally solid defense. Stonebone immediately chugs his medicine and starts resetting the squad formation, knowing the next clash is going to be the finale. While all that goes down, Chen actually reaches the witch's rumored hiding spot and heads down into the cave. Just like Jui warned, it is covered in sick glowing runes, plus creepy wooden stakes that nobody dares to even touch. But the second our boy hits the entrance, he catches this crazy sweet scent drifting up from the deep dark. Rolling inside, he spots tons of barrels filled with honey, and a loud echoing voice rings out from them, telling Chen to drop his donation and go touch grass before the witch comes out and curses him. With this vibe, our hero totally assumes the loud voice is just a little girl, so he speeds straight toward the noise, but she is definitely not giving up without a fight. The kid is cleverly hiding right there between the barrels, constantly shifting positions, but then she suddenly gets completely losing her mind. She starts screaming and roasting Chen for being an absolute idiot, mostly because she has never met a dude crazy enough to literally ignore her curse. Seeing her act this unhinged, Chen figures she is actually the witch who has been scamming everyone. He zeroes in fast, trying to shut her up before she completely blows his cover. One quick bonk to the head, and he fireman carries her out of the cave at warp speed. The mountain tribe actually has zero clue what their witch looks like. So even if our boy literally ends her here, they would never buy that she is dead. But since they are completely clueless, he can absolutely finesse the whole situation. Right on cue, the sky just totally opens up and starts dumping heavy rain, turning the entire solid ground into a disgusting, slippery mud pit. The brawl is going down to the wire. Stonebone desperately hypes up the squad. He swears Chen is coming back, but instead, a whole mob of sea tribesmen just pulls up. Turns out, Hector actually managed to bust these guys out. Freshly unleashed, they have massive beef with Collapse, so they sprint headfirst into the meat grinder. Time to collect on that trauma and hand out some absolute karma to their former bosses. They totally box in the enemies, jumping anyone who dares swing at the newcomer tribe. They stubbornly hold the line right until a random body gets straight up yeeted off a cliff. Classic Chen move to grab the spotlight and basically declare game over. Their goated witch is allegedly cooked, and nobody is coming to save them now. Chen basically grabs a random mountain tribe dude and slaps a witch mask on him, then just casually tosses him into the dirt. The tribe vibe completely crashes, since they are absolutely terrified of her famous curse. Screaming their lungs out, they completely scatter like roaches in every direction, leaving Collapse totally stranded with the ops. His entire crew literally dipped, so yeah, he is seeing red. He lunges at Lisa, trying to at least body the queen. Totally ignoring her whip, Collapse chucks his mace at her and books it after his fleeing squad. Luckily, Stonebone spots the danger and instantly body blocks for her, barely keeping her standing. Even running on empty, Lisa is hardcore set on capturing Collapse, because without their boss and the witch, that enemy tribe is basically doomed anyway. But Chen hits the brakes on the chase. Most of their guys are banged up and completely out of gas. So our guy claims the dub and leads the exhausted troops home. He actually had to burn through his very last bottle of emergency healing ointment for this. Totally worth it if it means keeping his people breathing, though. But honestly, a massive clash like this never happens without real casualties. 5 of his own guys and 4 prisoners straight up did not make it. So Chen has them buried with absolute respect out in the northern forest by the mountain. Despite taking those heavy hits, the newcomer population actually levels up by 20 people today. Only 25 guys from the mountain tribes switch sides, which is honestly pretty weak. And trust me, these upcoming turf wars are going to get extremely toxic. The actual body count is absolutely guaranteed to multiply fast. The system forced him into this insane gamble, but the payout was totally real. While he is nerding out over village stats, his new prisoner is straight up roasting the entire camp. Literally tied to a tree, the little witch threatens to body anyone who touches her, Chen included. Watching her flail around and throw an absolute tantrum, Chen calls for EU. He has real experience handling unhinged kids. Luckily, his hunch is right, and some sweet snacks were totally enough to chill this girl out. Al grabbed up some wild licorice root growing around the camp and completely offered to help supply more. Now Chen could actually walk up to this hype witch. Holding onto those leaves from AU gave him major confidence that she would finally hear him out. He figured all his questions were solved, but he definitely never expected that stepping up too close would backfire. She straight up lunged and chomped his hand, just a little petty payback for him bonking her head earlier. No way some basic grass would trick her, so she demanded a literal mountain of honey just to start talking. Honestly though, despite all her loud yelling, Chen felt zero threat level. He flat out promised to keep her stacked with honey for life. With the deal locked in, our main guy untied her hands and casually sat down nearby. This new camp setup was not exactly premium tier, but she could vibe with it over time. The biggest win for her was absolutely not having to drag herself back to her old man, who ran with a hardcore werewolf tribe. She picked up magic just by watching his insane rituals. The guy was so goated he could literally mutate a normal human into an actual wolf. Way back in the day, he and the rest of the pack were just basic everyday dudes, until some older alpha gifted them that crazy power. Just standard werewolf initiation stuff, you know? But she and a few other girls somehow dodged that sick fate. They got drafted to serve the alpha, but Yu totally refused to live in that stinky camp and just booked it to another crew entirely. Nobody saw that wild backstory coming. Now Chen finally understood the exact danger that Stranger mentioned, deciding not to poke such an overpowered squad and saving them for last. Time completely flew by while binging Yu's life lore, and evening rolled in fast, meaning it was finally time to feed her a legit meal. Chilling in a circle around a massive fire, he cooked up a super juicy steak for her, and suggested she go catch some Z's while she could. Ever since the kids showed up, he started spending way more time with Lisa, making her incredibly hyped about the whole situation. Meanwhile, over on the other side of the fire, Mia was chatting with Awu, who had totally glammed up in a gorgeous dress and flower crown. She was low-key prepping for a late-night meetup with Chen, and Mia instantly caught on. But honestly, the real winner here isn't going to be whoever rocks the best fit, but the one who physically speedruns to our hero first. Mia basically dashed through the actual fire at crazy speed, jump-scaring Chen, who was just calmly chatting with Yu and completely missed this wild plot twist. If you are hyped to see what goes down next, smash that subscribe button and drop a like right now.